said.
Yeah, that could have been.
Okay, so we are at 105 North 4th Street in Gunner for the City Council workshop on Saturday, February 1st, 2025. It is 10:16 a.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. So we're going to open session, mid-year review workshop. This is just preliminary budget discussions. We're not changing anything or doing any of that today. We will come back in March because we really do need to, usually between February and March each year, you need to do that anyway, kind of look at where you are, see what needs to be amended until you get into when we start, like probably June-ish, we're gonna start looking at next year's budget. So we're gonna open this up. We'll also talk about, obviously staffing comes into this discussion, and then planning. William, you asked me to put planning in there, so I'm sure you have some ideas you can explain that. So I'm just gonna open this up. We will start with going through our financial statement. This is all of through January 31st. So obviously this is for end of year, 1 month down, and well, new year, annual year, but it's our fiscal year started in October 1st. So what, 10, 11, 12, 1, 4 months in. A couple more months and we'll definitely know where we need to be. So when we come in March, we'll know where we need to adjust. So. Okay, I'm gonna open this up. For anybody that wants to kind of start, this is relaxed. We can start talking about budget. Obviously, we talked about an administrator position last Thursday at our meeting to create that position so that somebody's operating the day-to-day functions that need to be done. Obviously, I mean, that's not really the mayor's role to do these things, and we do need somebody full-time doing this work because it is a full-time job. When we changed our form of government, we put the power back into the mayor's office, but it didn't put all the roles and responsibilities on the mayor. Somebody still needs to do the day-to-day work. So I do want to make sure that people understand that when we came and when we changed our form of government from city manager to mayor council, all that did was just put our decisions back in our hands and the mayor's role for oversight and to be involved in all of those discussions. And when we do add that position, that administrative position, whatever we end up calling it, that person is simply just going to do what we've asked them to do and implement the policies that we set, work with our attorneys on, ordinances, resolutions, all those things behind the scene until they're ready for us. And then I would oversee. And that way, future, we're set up until we get a charter. That's, this is how it's going to work. The mayor's going to oversee all positions. This person would be a lateral peer. It wouldn't be in charge of any of our officers or any of our department heads. It would be somebody that everybody works together. Mayor would still have the oversight day to day, would bring any issues to you guys to make decisions. If we have to, correct, add a position, remove a position, do evaluations like we've been doing, things like that. So, okay. This is just discussion, so where do we want to start with thoughts? Let's start with the administrative position. We did talk a lot about what that person's going to do, and I guess we really just need to kind of figure out what we want in that position in more clarity. So.
Do we have a copy of the job description?
I can get it for you
Do
real
you
quick.
mind?
Not at all.
Deidre, do you have an extra highlighter?
I do.
Would you mind grabbing it?
Absolutely. You got your financial package? You open it yet?
See again? Your
Open
financial.
up your financial package. We printed for you.
This one?
Yeah. Okay.
So are we gonna make this post, can we post this monthly?
We do.
We do post it monthly?
This has been in our council packets. This has been posted in the agendas every single month.
No, I mean on the website. so if people wanna go in and see where how the budget's going.
How we're doing after 4 months.
Okay, well, we've been doing that when we send out the agenda packet, it's all in there, but do you
Okay.
want me to make a page?
I think maybe,
Might be easier.
might be easier, but, cause some people may struggle to scroll through the agenda package if there was just something on.
For sure.
Or even
Budget
just a
versus-
summary of
Yeah.
where we're at departments, whether we're in the positive, where we're in the, the red or the
Just
black.
to remove some of the
Yeah, red, black, or
subjectivity
green.
that's out there, you know
We
what
can
I'm
do
saying?
But not,
Yeah.
not all 70 pages.
But
No,
an
no,
executive,
same
an
thing.
executive summary, basically?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
We can do that. We can do that. Yeah, because this is what we put in every single month. When we have a meeting, we put this in the packet.
Right.
For the agenda packet, so that everybody sees what you guys see.
Well, and I just wanna,
Dumb it down for me.
What if we did this?
I wanna
like-
make it dumb enough that I can just go, okay, there's the budget, how are we tracking for the month?
Yeah,
Yes.
and then when we have a
Yeah.
question like on general funds and administrative and we're in the red, oh, why?
Yeah.
Let's go
Right.
look into that and let's go
Yeah.
deep
Yeah.
dive.
I mean, I noticed right through, right immediately, it was, okay, we got $10,000 for council and we spent nothing. What the hell would we spend the money on anyway?
Well, generally in October of each year, or like at the end of the year, we pay like in August or September for TML flights. If
Yeah, you guys
we
do
do
TML.
flights
No,
or
you guys are on your
hotels.
own.
Because TML's always, usually the
It would have been more
First.
if I went, because
Second
I
week of
saved,
Oc- second
I
week of
saved the
October.
city some money by not going.
Yeah.
Well,
Wade-
they
Wade
did
and I-
too, because they
And
put
did,
in a
yeah.
teaser.
You did not pick up the margarita bill.
We're
like
being
that.
good stewards.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
So, that's why. So we won't use that until probably August, September, when we're booking our training and workshops and stuff. And this next year, is it in San Antonio?
No, unfortunately, I think it's in
Oh,
Fort
Austin.
Worth.
Oh, it's in
Yeah.
Fort Worth, yeah.
Oh, it is in Fort Worth, that's right. We did
Okay,
So
so
our
we
Dallas,
eat
travel
better on
expenses
travel.
would be
and now
less.
it's Fort
Yeah.
Worth.
Yes.
Well, we're staying.
Yeah, we would
it's
have-
an hour and 20 minutes one way.
I'm
No,
staying
but
at
like flights.
Eric's house, let's just crash it, even if it's in
Let's
the
all stay at
garage.
Eric's house.
Let's all
It's
stay
a, it's
there.
a, it's a 6-bedroom house, so if you want to. I
Oh,
mean,
there you go.
It's only 6,000
We just
square
need
feet,
the
but I'm sure we can
garage.
find
Only
space.
6,000
You can just open up the
Yeah.
garage door and
I'll
tell us
still
all to
bring my
keep it
table.
down.
I would, I mean, just like on those numbers where you see something that's just kind of sitting out there, why do we have that? It's just sitting there forever. And conversely, you could see something that's in the negative because something else hasn't caught up
Yep.
Caught up
to
with
pay
it.
it yet
Yeah.
either. So you don't,
Right.
you can't overreact on a budgetary item because things will adjust or we'll wait for something to come in that will cover it because it's been projected. It's just not that point yet.
Yeah, so we did start putting this in since we approved our new budget, we said we're gonna start putting this in, we do that, but what I would like to see is a variance report every single month, like where you are, okay, so you went more than 200 over in this category, why? Or, maybe this, we're still not using it, and we're 4 or 5 months in, and maybe it's the council, it's the TML training or something like that, and we can just kind of put to the side, here's the description of why this hasn't been used yet, because it will be in, in August or September, we'll start looking stuff.
So Deidre wasn't in here. Let's back up just a little bit. That they want to have like an executive summary of the budget. I know we put it in the agenda every month,
Yeah.
but they want something that's more slimmed down, that's a standalone on the website every month.
Instead of the
To look
7
at.
pages of it. And then if someone has a problem or a question, then we can go into that deep dive.
Okay.
Because I know when we first talked about budget, it was like the opposite. We were like, what's all this? And you were like, oh, I just put it in the standard category.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to
Saying
simplify?
he wants more category,
Yeah.
spread
Okay.
More
out.
information.
Now we're saying it the
Yeah.
opposite, but just only for
Or is
the,
it- if
I'm
somebody's
not saying that.
overspending.
not you,
in the
no,
budget, that's what it's
not you.
Never.
Yeah, it should be,
I mean,
Saying
if
it,
there's
now, if
nothing's
it's dumb it
going
down,
on
then
with
we're
the
gonna.
budget.
We got to quit using
Exactly.
dumb it down. We need to say simplify.
Yeah.
Let's
Al-
take,
David weighted
Alan
down.
said what I'm,
You know.
what I'm thinking.
let's
So-
take a little bit,
Yeah.
let's take a little bit of the burden off of Deidre and what we're not asking for every line item or category.
Okay.
Basically, if somebody's going in the red, that's the only one that gets listed.
Like variances. Okay. Like, why is this?
So that way you're only
Up or
looking,
down?
you're only looking for
Yes, yes.
the downside. If a department's doing what they're doing, spending what they're supposed to be spending, it's
Okay.
just,
And then, so.
All right, so what are you saying about variances being in the red?
So we're not adding more to your plate, you and I,
Right.
we'll do
we'll
this.
only do overspending, not,
Because
Flying by.
you've got to think now, when it comes to the development side, there's some of those numbers are going to be like this until it's all put together because they have to bring us money and then we have to divvy it
Yeah,
up.
right.
Okay,
And I think it's more of an education for all of us.
okay.
But if it's that variance, and like for instance, personnel services is off 10 grand
Okay.
over budget. You're out of scope there. We may be waiting on something to come, so the description line is gonna say, waiting on a check. or
Pending
whatever.
something.
Yeah, pending whatever.
Right, you're
Okay.
gonna say exactly why you're over or under.
Okay,
And
and
give
so
us
you
the-
want this report given to y'all at your council meeting coming up? Okay,
Not every
Well,
council.
this-
We do two a month, we only meet
Let's
it
do
once
the
a month.
third one, because that would be toward the end of the
Yeah.
Right.
month. And what
like
we could
every
do-
quarter?
Yeah.
Or
Well, if
actually,
we do the
maybe better
first,
to do the
because
first
then-
one, and it
right.
will be the entire full previous month.
And that
So
way you can plan
continue to
ahead
put this
for
in the
month
packet.
coming.
When we go
Okay.
through,
But
We overdid it
then
here,
on the
so what are we
website,
gonna
we'll have a
do?
separate
Right.
page.
What
when we go through
Maybe
budget in
somewhere
October,
the
we can look
announcements
back
or
on the
whatever where
footnotes
you
of what has
post,
happened
like this
every month for the
recap or
last
whatever.
Okay,
Exactly.
For
8
the,
months, and it
for,
gives us more of an idea of where
citizen
we need to
consumption.
actually
okay.
adjust the budget based on how the performance.
and so Wade and Dave can understand it.
Yeah.
Yes, that,
And William.
so.
Dave and Wade.
And
are down.
William.
If you
It
could
was
put
funny
some
though,
pictures.
she threw you
and
under the
maybe
bus, and I
colors
was the
that
first
would-
one to say it. is-
Really?
Yeah,
You
the
could have
worst
made
thing
me
coming
do
down in here
that?
is like, you don't need to say
Is
that
this
word.
to make sure we actually
Simplify.
looked
I
at
don't know.
Yes.
That was from her.
Make a little unicorn
in there.
pointing at the things.
And then this,
Put that in
this,
there to make y'all laugh and nobody
this is
laugh.
gonna be one of those tasks,
thought
I
it was
believe, would
funny.
transfer over from Deidre to the city administrator or CFO person
Yeah.
eventually.
Well, technically, the finance is supposed to be handling this, but ours is contract, so this is a conversation that does need to come. I think we're at that stage of getting someone else that has a little bit more of a broad scope to help take some more of this off
It's
of
a
me.
report that
Yeah.
we can run, and then somebody needs to take the time to look through all this and look and say, okay, where are we over, where are we under? If it's more than a certain amount of money, depending on, the department,
Right.
then you want to highlight that, and then over to the right, just say why we're over or under.
Okay,
So that you guys understand, you can look at it at a glance, you see it highlighted where we're out of balance, so to speak, then maybe you say why we're out of balance. Oh, well, here's why water went up so much, we had a busted pipe in the park, and or it was on our end, or whatever. By the way, speaking of busted pipes and things on our end, just so y'all know, we had one right out here in front of the fire.
right here in the
department,
front
right here in
parking
the
lot,
parking lot.
it was a bad
So
one.
on our side, it would have been very costly. Mustang took care of that for us. Because Captain Cameron and Chief Logan have been amazing with coordination and communication. They're having that good level of communication now. And Mustang did cover that for us, labor and all, at no additional cost to us. So, gotta give kudos where
Nice.
kudos are done.
And they
But
literally
things like
use the
that.
terminology that's the least they can do for what the
To
fire
help
department
us.
does for them.
For lack of
So-
communication, all these weird issues that we were like, hey guys, you gotta do better. Well, they just kinda helped us out to do better. And it would have been very expensive. So if we would have seen all of a sudden water and all this maintenance and repair went up in this category, I would have highlighted that, or somebody needs to highlight that and say, here's what happened. We had a bust at our fire departments on our side of the meter. We had to fix it. So that's the kind of.
Is
Do we
this-
know why we had a
Deidre,
bust, though?
is this in Excel?
Terrible.
It is.
Terrible
I
maintenance
can-
over
I guarantee I
many,
can,
many, many
because
years.
you've got a budget variance
A lot of
column.
corrosive pipes. Yeah.
We can,
From
We can go in there and
Mustang's pipe to
we
type
can build
it
a
in.
pivot table,
is what you're talking about.
and it,
Well, the
you
Those
don't
are-
have to do
original
anything.
were, they're Mustangs
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
But
But
it
like
was
up
on
in
our
the-
side of the meter,
This,
so we
and
have to
it'll,
pay for it.
we can
just like
build
at
it
your
where it
home.
just
Yeah.
spits out the variance.
You're on this.
Can you
side.
export this
That's
in
what I'm
Excel?
wondering, like,
Yeah.
are we doing
Oh,
something?
good.
You know what I'm
And it
talking
was
about?
gonna hurt.
To make it,
Yeah.
to make it a
Easy.
slippery report, yes,
Yeah.
it was just over time.
Yes. Oh, it
I've
just-
never done it, so
we're
you'll
gonna
just
see
have to
more
show
of
me.
that, too.
It's,
But-
once
Yeah,
I
but
show
we see
you,
too
you're
much
gonna be like.
Okay.
It's odd that
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
happened.
Because there's some of that, I'm not gonna lie to you,
Yes.
I've never been the one to say it's not my job, but there's some of this he should be
Yes.
doing.
Well, that's what I just said, it's not. And I'll help you, because really that is an administrator thing. That's what an administrator should be doing. Somebody who's in that role needs to be looking at this on a day-to-day basis and going, hold up, hey, Eric, why is this? Or hey, Deidre, why are we doing this? Or what happened over here at fire? They're about to blow through their budget. We can't give them more money, or do we need to adjust because they need more equipment? Those are the things that you want to find out, not at budget time, right?
Well, yeah, and it's like,
As you go.
if you've got a problem that's kind of burning, slow burn,
Yes,
it's better to kind of know that as it's kind of smoldering, because
Right.
then it's not a godsmack when you've got to fix it.
Right.
And there may be,
Yeah.
if you're looking at it early on, there may be ways to mitigate it before it turns into a big giant turd.
Exactly. You take care of the small things, the big things take care of themselves.
Okay.
So, I think a variance report for you guys would be amazing. We just haven't had time to do it, so we will. We'll get it done, someone will get it done.
So back to the city administrator, I think we're all in alignment, I think, that's.
That we need it.
That we need it.
Yeah.
I think we owe it to the, I think we owe it to.
I want to stop before we put any words in anybody's mouth. I think we need something.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know where it goes.
That's
I don't know how
what-
it plugs into the staff, and I don't know how we pay for it. I think we need something.
yeah.
There are things that aren't, maybe not getting looked after, that need to get looked after. There are things maybe that Karen's doing that she shouldn't be doing because it's actually staff work that she's doing. So I'll agree to that, but I want to be extra crystal clear so that nothing happens like last time where somebody says I was behind something that I'm not. I'm not behind this at all.
As written, I'm not
It needs
either.
to be looked at
Yeah.
very carefully. It needs to, we need a hierarchy for staffing. We need to see what the organizational chart looks like when this thing is finished. We need to know where it plugs in. So I'm behind the idea that there is work that needs to get done that's not getting done, and there's another person that needs to do it, but that's as far as I am behind. I want to be extra crystal clear. So nobody thinks I said, it's fire and forget and just go on and do it. Okay, because I want to talk about procedures on this stuff too. This thing came about because somebody thinks we've got a smart missile, we can just aim it and shoot it and forget about it. That's not how city councils work. And while we're on that topic, I don't know who wrote this, but I want to be real clear on terminology. There's no such thing as city council and mayor. City council includes the mayor. It is a tautology to say
We are all
city
council
council
members.
and
That's
mayor.
my mistake.
You either say city council and stop, or you say alderman and mayor.
Yeah.
So this thing is replete with that.
That's my fault.
Okay,
I was just trying to clarify.
so in the future, what I would like to see is if we have motions to make, we write them down.
But real quick,
So there's no question about what we agreed on.
can you explain where you were going in this? When you say city council, where in it in here is it?
Oh, it's all over the place, city council and mayor. City
Yeah,
I
council.
did
the
that.
mayor.
I did that
Oh,
just
and
to
the
Okay, I
clarify.
got you.
I did it just to clarify.
Okay, yeah, because that is
So,
so confusing.
city
And
council is actually,
it's
actually,
not-
the proper term is governing body, which is what we ought to use in every official document, is governing body.
Yeah.
If we specifically mean only the alderman or
It needs to
only the
say
mayor,
alderman,
then we should
absolutely.
say that.
Because we're all council members.
Yes.
All 6 of us. Yeah.
Yes.
I was just trying to differentiate between the city manager, which reports to no one basically, and, well, you know what I mean, and where the mayor's not really
How we
included.
were before, the city
Right.
manager form of government, city
Right.
manager was the COO, right, Chief Operations Officer. Never replaced the CEO, which is the mayor.
Right.
But the COO is literally in charge with all of operations, does not have to come back to any of us at a
Right.
meeting within the boundaries that that ordinance created.
Right.
So for example, when Rick Chapin was here, he could go spend up to $50,000 and not have to come and ask anybody.
Right,
As long as he's using it somewhere, obviously within the department, the money has to be there. Each department, right? Because you can move things in within the department. You just can't take from police to go over here and put
Right.
it in development or whatever.
Yeah.
Without council. But within the department, $50,000, you could go spend a brand new website and break it into 2 parts and actually spend 75.
Yeah, truck and trailer, yeah.
So a truck and
From
yeah,
a
things
cousin,
like that.
you know.
They could do that. But now that we've changed our form of government back to a mayor council, the policy's set in place. If something has to change, I have to get it all together and bring it to you guys, right? Mommy, daddy. 2 yeses, 1 no. We all say yes, or if it's a no on your side or my side, it ain't ready yet. It's not ready yet. So we still have this, which we dodged a huge bullet, because now us collectively as a team are responsible for everything that happens. Nobody can do anything without bringing it to you guys. And I have to get all the information together first to bring to you guys. I have to anticipate all your questions.
Right.
So this is the form of government that needs to be in existence
Right.
until we have a rule book, which is a charter.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So this is good.
So this is good. This is good that we're having this
Yes.
workshop, and this
Yes.
is what I think I walked away from last city council meeting that we would do before we kind of press forward. So I'm
Yeah,
in
publish
agreement,
the
I'm in agreement with,
job
because it was kind of fluffy, miscommunication.
It was.
Mea culpa, whatever,
Right.
but here we are. So let's do it now.
Yeah,
And I
let's get it done.
I think, I think the org chart, that's the starting point. And, because listen, I have no confusion over what that guy right there does and what he's brought to the table.
Do you want a copy of the one that I have, the most current?
That would be great.
The board chart.
I have no
I do.
question at all what Dietrich's doing and
Yeah.
what that looks like. And I can see the work that she's getting done. But we need that completely like defined, because the biggest problem we have in government at large is just the lack of accountability.
Yeah,
I
I can
agree.
go push to any
And
person.
If you don't
never
have
know.
like defined roles,
Right,
then you're
right.
kind of just living out there in the ether.
Yeah.
And if we're getting ready to add another top line item to the budget, it needs to be like crystal clear that at any given moment, Cindy could give an elevator speech. This is what this person does. This is what they're accountable for, and this is what they do.
Right.
Here's what they've done.
Yeah. And all of our positions do have a very specific roles and responsibilities
Yeah.
that, that was done actually right before I came in. And I'll get all of those to you, just so that you have every single position, what their roles and
Well, and
responsibilities are.
it's important for me, but it would be important to me if I wasn't on city council.
Of course it would.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Where's your
The-
money going?
The org
Yeah.
chart
Yeah.
Right.
is something that should be easy for everybody in town. Well, what the hell who's that?
Well, and I think that was,
That
Dude,
person
the
do?
perp,
Yeah.
What does he do?
and that was the big problem that we
He
had
looks
when we were
pretty.
going
That
from
big
Prop A
dollar.
to Prop B, and people were for Prop A or against it, and B and A. They didn't know that, like,
Yeah.
look, the city manager was on their own silo
The mayor
over
was blocked
here.
out. I didn't get
And
any
then
information.
the mayor and council were over here, but the city
Yes.
manager could still do what they wanted to up until a certain
Yeah.
dollar amount.
Yeah, and
And-
you could certainly rebuild that kind of structure if you wanted
Yeah.
to with ordinances.
But you just knock that person down like we're doing. The administrator is not in the silo, it's right there.
Is this microphone working?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You can hear me?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you need it a little bit closer like mine is.
But I can hear it.
Is it working now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're recording. Okay. Thank you.
So, Deidre, just based on this,
This
hadn't
is.
been updated
It
in
has
a
not been
while.
updated because this is inaccurate. This is actually the city
This is
manager.
the one that even
I know.
Jeff was going by as well, except we had not
Yes.
come back and changed the name, so.
So can we whiteboard what it looks like
Yeah,
now?
hey, get up there and do it.
You've
I'll
got
do
good
it.
handwriting.
I'll do it. Okay, we'll have Cindy do
You
it.
got good
So,
penmanship?
I have
Can you do
beautiful
it, can you do it
This
with your
is
shoulder?
massively out of date.
Okay.
Where are you
Well,
going?
yeah.
Oh,
But
that's.
still,
It's not that much different.
The only thing that's out of date is some names and the public works part.
The organizational chart, see how this top mayor, city council, but let's put it on the board.
Yeah.
At the very top is still mayor council.
Again, though, you said
It's
that you don't want
mayor
mayor and city council.
It's
It
the
should be
governing
governing body.
It's all of us. Okay,
Am I in your way, Cindy? Because I can move.
If anything, when
just
we
put
put,
governing
see, I
body,
don't know.
because this is gonna be
Mayor
on
and council, that's,
recorded. Just put
we're
governing
letting the
body.
people know, it's mayor and council, not governing body, because they may think that you're governing body.
Is there a
Because you're employees.
There's a race.
I see his point, but at the same
We are
time,
all rural council.
for the Daves and Wades out there.
Yeah, you're right. Just put city
City
council or
council,
governing body.
yeah, council
We
and,
all,
Statute.
I'm moving over here because Alan's
oh,
not.
governing
I know.
body.
But see, like I said,
Governing
if
body.
I wasn't sitting here right
City
now,
council,
That's
city
what I'm
council
saying.
equals governing
That
body.
you smell good?
I know.
They're interchangeable.
I'm just saying, if I was
Now-
sitting, if I wasn't sitting here,
On
I would
this
think
chart-
Used to be
governing
big.
body is everyone that's sitting up
If
here,
it's being brought up.
even the city manager.
On this chart,
Because you didn't get enough civics.
we
Exactly.
have three
Elect-
officers. These are
elected.
officers.
Yes.
So now we're actually only going to have two. So you're gonna
Currently
have,
have two.
you're gonna have the city secretary, yes.
Mhm.
She's an officer. Nobody can come in and tell her what to do
Yeah.
except for us.
Mhm.
And let's break that down. The mayor is active as far as authority and power, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Council members that are not the mayor, aldermen, your power is active when you're sitting at this dais.
So Cindy,
Okay.
it would be attorney leaving the center.
When we close a
open.
meeting and you walk out from
City
here, your
secretary
power
leave it
has
blank and
been
then put-
suspended. Does that
There you
make
go.
sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You guys have power when we come together in a quorum.
Right.
Then you can, you got all kinds of power, but it has to be here. So, you've got, yes, so governing body, who reports to us directly is the city secretary, because she's an officer, city attorney, engineer technically.
Yeah,
Engineer
city-
reports to us, not
City
anybody
engineer,
else.
Marshal, city treasurer, those are all
Yeah.
officers, although we've never filled the treasurer position.
Exactly.
I
So
have-
these are the ones we
I,
have.
the engineer reporting directly to the governing body does not make sense to me because I'm responsible for their
I agree with
actions and their
that.
comments and
Yeah, it
stuff.
goes
So
to him,
if
then
they,
he comes.
I agree
It
with
just
that.
means, yes, you work together, just like you're gonna work together.
But an
with
engineer is
Courtney.
not an officer of
But-
this,
but that
is not an
the
officer.
engineer reports to me because they are the ones that are on DRC and have come through me and I'm responsible for their actions and their comments and their bills are approved by me
You
and
work with
Deidre.
them,
So
but you can't fire an engineer.
I, well,
He can hire different ones.
No, you can't. He can't. You guys can do that. I can't even do it.
He makes his recommendation.
I can't do it
to us.
aside, but my recommendation would
Yeah.
be strong
Come
enough
to
because
me and say, hey, we got a problem. I need you to take this to council, and I can't even do it. I have to bring it to them.
well, if we're going that direction, then I would be up there as planning development because I have a contract with you all and not the new city administrator, whatever that position might be too.
I'm
Then.
about to go there. I'm gonna correct that.
So that whole line's going to be
Yeah.
long.
Hold on a
Okay.
minute. I'm gonna put you right where you need to be.
It's gonna put you in
Okay.
your
I'm
bad
gonna
place.
put you right where you need. So the governing body is the authority over the officers, city secretary, attorney, and yes, our engineer, because they are the only ones who can hire and fire. You can kind of look at it that way. Now, underneath is you've got all your department heads. So put development, because that's Eric. The next department would be Parks and Streets, because that's one department head. You got police, and you got fire.
So do we need to change our ordinance then?
No, by state law, these are officers. Look at code, we pull it up, chapter 20.
Statute says these are officers.
Okay.
Yeah, these are officers. It's either chapter 22 or 3, I can't remember, I'm
I'm
looking so
not
long.
totally
And then
confident
also
on it.
No, it's either chapter 21 or 22 of local government
So
code.
admin would be here, right?
I think still an admission even though.
What's
No, no,
that?
no, hold on. Okay, so you've got your officers first, we control them. Now, governing body also, underneath, these three are just totally separate, but they're side by sides, okay? So city secretary is not telling Eric what to do. Attorney's not telling police what to do.
Right.
These are your officers. So governing body comes down to, instead of one line, see how the mayor, council, governing body goes straight down to the city manager, but not the city secretary and attorney?
Right.
Okay, so now governing body goes straight over development, parks, police, fire. Instead of a city manager going to development, parks, streets, police, fire, it's all of us go to them because there's nobody in between us and the department heads.
Like that?
Yep,
Okay.
each one. So,
More space.
I know, it's kind of,
Come
yeah.
on, man, I
Look,
couldn't
she's-
get
this is almost like when
any
you're
bigger
blind
than that,
and you're
it'll
telling
fall off
somebody
the
what
wall.
to do, and she's doing a good job. So, right, governing body, all the officers, we have authority over them. They don't have authority over anybody else, but we have authority over all the department heads instead of the city administrator doing it. We're not planning to give the city administrator, I think we've all said that in our conversations, the authority over Eric Adam, Deetra, Danny, or Chief Logan.
We don't want them to have power over everyone.
Exactly.
Right.
And
We're the only ones that can
got
hire
So,
and fire them.
what you need
or
to
do
do
their
is
employment reviews.
scoop Parks and Streets over and then put city administrator right where Parks and Streets is, because they're gonna be in line with us.
They would be. So you add another one.
Or you put everyone going into the city administrator.
No.
No, because we
Two
don't,
down.
you guys
Admin.
have authority over all four of those.
Well, I know. But you would go to the city administrator and say, hey, here's this.
Yeah, so that's lateral.
Yeah,
And
but they're
Parks and
not,
Street.
they don't
So see
have the
how
same
they're
muscles as you all do.
they all
They're
answer
kind of
to us
just a little
directly. We
right
hire
below
fire.
Okay.
type of thing.
We tell them what their roles and responsibilities are. Now, Eric has to work with Deetra, but he didn't have authority over her. He can't tell her what to do, right?
Well, that's not true, because she tells me what to do all the time, but
Well,
there's a paradox though.
That's why
Tell
we
me what to
said-
do,
that's why we
and
said
actually,
Eric
if
is
you
not
don't do it, I'm
allowed
gonna
to
fire
tell
you.
Yes,
what to do. We didn't say
exactly.
Deetra's not allowed to
Yeah.
tell you what to do.
I know,
We got
that's-
there
I just
yet.
wanted to get that
Hold on,
clarification.
Eric, there's
Okay.
more.
But you know why Deetra has to do that sometimes? Because there's a void.
Yes.
There's not an admin person. I'm not always here, although this week's been very long, very long. That admin person is supposed to be the partner for Eric. When Eric goes, hey, what do you think about this? What's council gonna wanna do? Should we do this? What do we need? Is this ready for them? Let's talk about it. That's what the admin's gonna do. He's not telling Eric what to do, but the admin is that sounding board. That's what I am right now. Now, does the mayor need to be pulled into those conversations? Yes, because executive branch is gonna bring policy. I can't implement it. Y'all implement it, right? But I have to anticipate all your questions, anything you can think of. We have to all three work together. Right now, it's just the two of us to make sure we bring you everything we can when a decision needs to be made.
Do we
And
want
if we
to-
don't, that's on us.
Do we want to add finance and,
So-
SED there?
Right now, finance is contracted, and it probably will need to be for a while. We can talk about that when it comes to budget time for sure.
But it needs
But
to be
we'll
on this
briefly
one.
tell you, yes, finance would also answer to us. Not Deetra, not Courtney, not Eric, but finance would be here. Whether it's contracted or in-house, in the next
Yeah.
year or two, it'll probably need to
Statute has
come
a treasurer.
Yeah,
in-house.
the org chart, I mean, this isn't like,
Yes.
this
There you
isn't,
go.
yeah.
Anything
then
else
also-
we add as a department would be side-by-sides
Mhm.
with,
MDD is not a,
Well,
they're
that's
not,
not-
they're
it's
the,
not a-
they're,
that's a-
that's like putting P and Z up
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why, if you have finance, who's a contract consultant at this point, would you have engineering up there above all the department heads?
because the statute is weird and old,
Does
and
the
the
statute-
statute says the engineer is an officer,
But the
not
statute
us.
says that finance is an officer too.
Yes, it does. It's a treasurer. And
That's
I
why
keep
I'm-
saying that. We need
Yeah,
a
but we're not
treasurer.
truly, what we're having finance do is not truly a treasurer.
What do you mean not?
Well, they're a treasurer slash finance director, they're budget
What do
finance,
you
which
think
is a treasurer.
is?
So, well, the treasurer obviously makes sure that the money that's going in and out, somebody's checking to make sure it's not going somewhere else. But they're not necessarily, okay, first of all, I'm just gonna say this is a person who is, well, could be elected or appointed, right? Like our city attorney, we appointed her. Deetra, we hired her, but there's no ordinance of any of our officers. We should have appointed Deetra, not opened it up for election.
Well,
We got a certified city
every
secretary.
officer in local government code that is, if it's not under chapter 25, which we are no longer under chapter 25,
Right.
every one of them are elected. Unless the city
It says
passes an
or
ordinance.
appointed, but we have to appoint
Unless the city
an
passes
ordinance, I
an
know,
ordinance that says it's appointed.
that they're appointed. We've
And
never
I
done that.
Don't believe, so she ought to be elected.
Once we
Unless
become
we
a
put an
charter.
ordinance
Unless we put
to,
an ordinance.
Once
into
we
appoint
become a
her.
charter, then you have the choice
We don't have
of
a charter
electing
right now.
or appointing.
Yeah, but right
But right
Before.
now, in the general aid
Charter-
law, I can be appointed.
But
you
the
can
charter
be,
is,
you
charter's
can
not
be,
relevant at the
but we
moment.
should have
We
done
don't
that by
have-
ordinance. It's just never been done. There's a lot of things in the city
We're
that's just
in
never been
general
done.
law.
All right, so what I'm
I
wanting
don't
to do with
think
this
it's
org
working.
chart
I think it
Mm-hmm.
was hearing me.
is
Hold on a
replace
minute.
this. Not necessarily for what we have right now, but
Right.
for what
Like
we,
right now, I don't hear myself. myself.
what we represent with this form of
That'd be
government.
worse.
And what we can afford.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily even have to be what we afford.
No, they don't have, they can be vacant.
I mean, yeah, so whatever officer's supposed to be up there based on what kind of government we have, let's put it up there on the board, because right now, we're not gonna go get a treasurer.
Right.
But 2 years from now, we might, because what I'm wanting to do is, whenever we finish this, is to create this, and then it's on our website, and anybody can look at it. Because if somebody went on our website right now and said, well, I thought Rick Chafin was in jail.
Well, that's down, but yeah, it hasn't been, look, y'all, a lot happened since November 14th, when Jeff Gibson was gone.
Yeah,
And now, for 5 months, we didn't even have a body.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Thank God for you guys. I'm so happy I have you. But, and then May, and we had a lot of cleanup together.
mhm.
BNSF has been the priority because it was a raging fire we had to deal with. Everything else was kind of put to the sidelines because we had to do with what we had to do with, right? So now, though, we are getting everything cleaned up. We got through our audit. Dieter and I panicked yesterday because, hello, it's time to start the next one. And we only have until March 31st. By statute, we have to have it before April 1st. So we're about to hit that again. But, William, you just said nobody's hearing you, so I want you to.
No, I don't think it works. I physically don't think that thing works.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking and like, we're not listening to you, so. William.
That too, yes, that too.
Well, that too. He
Where
said
is-
nobody's hearing me.
Oh, there's engineering way down here.
Do you want to say something before we keep going, before you lose your thought?
Yeah, that admin needs to go up between city secretary and attorney.
You want to create,
It doesn't make sense where you've got it.
You want
What's
the
point?
you want everybody to
That's-
report to the
That's
admin?
just an extra undefined person doing stuff that has no particular job.
no, we can define
But the
roles and
admin
responsibilities. I'm saying you
will
want to,
be-
you want to make this person an officer?
Yes.
Okay?
But with no power.
Well, with the power that's given to him.
Well, that's what we're saying.
The
The
city
power to hire,
administrator has
fire.
an admin,
Okay.
so you want to give the
Municipal
power to the
officers.
city administrator.
I think the
Okay.
city administrator, which, look, it's not a city administrator. Let's be clear, what I'm for is not a city manager or city administrator, whatever we call it, public relations officer, liaison.
That's the only reason I brought the
Chief of
language in
staff.
as chief of staff.
Whatever,
Right.
but
Okay,
that
even if
person
he's chief
needs,
of staff, he still goes in that spot between city secretary and attorney.
the way I.
I don't really like the terminology because it suggests that he's over other
Yeah.
staff.
All right, let's go back to the first question y'all asked me though, so I have it now.
Okay.
City officers are the secretary,
Mhm.
the treasurer, the assessor and collector,
Mhm.
the municipal attorney, the marshal, we don't have one, the municipal engineer, and other officers or agents
That we
authorized
decide on
by the
others.
governing
That's right.
body.
So we
which
can
would
create an
be-
officer.
Which would be that chief of staff or whatever you want to call it. That is the fill-in, leftover, we didn't get this job lined out, realized we gotta have it, now somebody's gotta do it, it's not his job or her job, that's the guy that does it. He's the
You
one
don't,
that gets
you
the
don't want to
money.
just create a
Why would they
position, you
be-
want to actually make them an officer, is what you're
Well, they
saying.
have to be, what's the point
Why?
of them having them otherwise, they're just an extra clerk.
What's the point of having Eric? He's not an officer.
Is Monty an officer?
Yes.
By creating an,
But he's,
by creating an officer, you're
But
sounding
he's
like
been
a
given authority
manager form
over
of
the
government,
staff.
because they can make all the decisions.
Over development, yes. And how?
You
Yes.
could, you could
But
fall, you
he's-
could fall into the
Monty is an
classification of being a
administrator
city
who functions
manager if
as a
they're
manager. They
considered
just
an
haven't
officer.
changed their form of
so,
government.
but he's like, he's wearing a bunch of hats. That's one guy doing the parks and roads and streets and development and everything else. They don't have separate buckets for this.
They
So,
have some
William-
separate
They
buckets,
do
but Ronnie
have
does
some.
all the ones that they don't have.
So William and I are talking about this.
And that's a budget problem for them. That's why he does all that.
By moving admin up there as an officer, it would give the appearance of being a city manager.
It would give the appearance
I
of
don't,
him
I
being.
don't like
Well,
it,
it would
I don't
give the
like it
appearance
being
of
an
being a
officer.
city administrator.
Well, here's an example. You said
Well,
the
that's
assessor
why we need
collector.
to
Yeah.
Okay.
downplay the city administrator
Yeah.
so that they're not running a
Look.
managerial position,
Based
but
on
they're
what I
actually.
heard and what I read and what I've been listening to, we don't need another officer. We need somebody that is a quarterback.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's a peer, not a,
Okay, but officers work, there's no question about that. I mean, don't tell me Deidre doesn't work, she does a whole hell of a lot of work. The question about officers is really, what, if if they have the authority to sign on behalf of the city or
No,
not.
do they?
No.
Yeah.
No, because, no.
Officers have certain legal duties that they can perform that non-officers cannot perform.
I don't want another officer that is buying tractors that don't have a trailer and like the fifth wheel
And
black
I'm,
mold
Let me give you an
trailers.
example.
and I'm perfectly
People
fine with the city secretary
That work
giving that.
on, that work with
admin.
you, like Detroit.
Well, your finance
100%.
director
Bethany
and your
gets
admin director
directly
will
with me
not
all
be
the time
signers
now.
on the bank
And
account.
stuff like
And then
that.
permits with
Okay.
Jamie.
Your city
Okay.
secretary
And they're here.
in a
So
position
then
Right.
I'll
of.
put.
Because I'm acting, what's not shown is there is I act as
Over the
inspections and building
performance
official
that is
too.
us, that
Right,
You're
right.
putting a
Eric works with
huge
teachers
burden on
too,
Hardy,
and
I don't think y'all realize what you're
admin.
saying. Well, let me give you an
Work with
example on
details.
officers, I'm gonna talk about this.
Well, first example is your city admin will not be able to
Police and
sign
fire.
titles, that's
Admin's
me.
down here.
They can't sign bonds, that's
That's
me.
right.
I don't
They can't
want-
be on the
I
bank
don't want
account,
this-
that's me.
That's
I don't want this person out
Fire,
spending
police,
money. We've
their
done
own
enough of
teams.
that.
Or having
Admin's
the
kinda like on
ability
their
to
own.
You're not, and
make
you're not going to
decisions.
because our form of
I don't know,
government
like,
doesn't even
what
allow
is he
that.
gonna do?
And unless we made an ordinance, can't. I can't go spend money without you guys.
City administrator.
Right,
I can't.
That's a clerk.
Neither can anybody underneath me. You know why? Because the form of government is me bringing it to y'all for
Expected
permission.
to be a city administrator.
But let me give you an example of what you're saying, William. Officers. It also says that the assessor collector is an officer, right?
Correct.
But we contract that out. We give that back to the county. I'm not gonna make the county an officer, though we do contract that work. In the same way, Eddie is in charge of finance, but we're contracting that out. He's a vendor, we're not making him an officer, right? So our assessor collector, our finance, right now, these, you know,
Okay.
technically,
That's fine, but we're not
Carl
contracting out
Finley,
the
we
city
don't have an
administration.
in-house engineer. What,
Yeah.
they're only officers if they're in-house.
So explain,
They're in-house.
That's not
William,
true. The
if
city
you're-
attorney's an officer.
Well, no,
Is
well,
it just
think
a
of-
name that we're
but
kind
think
of hung
about
up
this.
on?
William, if
No,
I
I
go
think
hire
it's-
an
I
attorney.
don't-
The ability to delegate.
Why do they need
That's
to
what I'm
be an
saying, so
officer?
I just literally was doing my simple thing, and like I was telling him, he's like, well, that's not an administrator, and I get that. So, like, I can't hire and fire a police person, right? That's up to Dan.
Right, I can't either.
Okay.
You guys have to do it.
So we just want to make sure that it's not, we're not putting another Danny or fire chief or Deetra up there to where it's like, if they need to hire someone or do something, they still have to report to
Right.
someone. And it all still
And
comes
the
up to us.
administrator, all these
Right.
people
Yeah.
report to us.
So the
Everybody
administrator,
on
we're
here
calling it
yes,
an administrator
yes.
right now,
Right.
but we're not wanting to do the full,
I don't think we need the full-on, because.
That's why I don't want to move the admin.
I don't either.
I don't want to
Because,
move administrator.
look,
I don't
back
either.
when we had folks like, and I'm dropping people in the grease, so God forgive me, but we don't have a NOAA anymore.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
needed constant hand-holding and never got
Mhm.
anything done. We got Eric. Eric
Yeah.
gets a lot done,
Yes.
but there's things that this role can help support Eric
Yes.
in. But Eric doesn't need to
Yes.
report to that person.
which
No,
I think we're still
absolutely.
looking at it as
Absolutely.
if it was this type of org chart,
Yeah.
when we don't have this type of employees or volunteers
right.
anymore.
I mean, if you
We're
look
on a
at,
If you
whole
look
new
at
thing
this,
to where.
if you look
The
at this
city
one,
manager
literally
controlled
is.
everything.
yeah, but if you look at this,
And
like
Detroit didn't want to spell your
Eric
name out, so I just said
has
DEP.
Zero
economic
five.
development, planning and zoning, engineering,
There's
planning.
3 ways I could go with
and
spelling it, even though it's right in front of us.
That's
so I'll
all
just
under
spell it.
Eric.
Yes, because that's the economic development director. Everything falls under his department. He would be in control of, like he has to guide Bethany. He has some authority over Bethany because she works for him.
Right.
It's different though with Deetra. The two of them can't delegate something to the other without the other one going, hey, I'd be happy to do this for you. In our staffing now, we all do that. Every one of us take out the trash.
Well,
We all help each other.
and
But
that's,
she can't
and that's
define his
good,
role.
but what we've also got going on is we've got people working well outside of their purview,
Mhm. Many
without a
hands.
whole lot of direction,
Right.
and they need to find, this is what I do, this is what I'm responsible
Right.
for. If Eric needs help, I'll help, but I'm not
Yes,
just going
yes.
off on my own doing shit that doesn't matter.
And I agree on that, but I think what's happening is we're still such a small town to where they're gonna have, some of their team might have multiple hats.
Sure.
That they don't have to take, and thank goodness that they are taking those
That they
multiple
do.
hats and helping out and doing all this stuff.
Right.
It's one person's position is what we're basically really getting at. And we don't want to give them too much power, but not give them enough credit, but yet not whatever. That's where I'm seeing it in a
So I'll tell you on an administrative role, here's a perfect example. How does that work with development? Eric and I have meetings. I attend as many of his meetings as he has. And a lot of times, just like this past week, you know, in the email, he's like, hey, I'm waiting on Mayor, I need her to be at this one. Because we're getting something ready to come to you guys. Well, and that's good. And the mayor should always try to be engaged in all of those developments to anticipate what you guys need to make a really good decision. But the administrator person needs to be that person to come in, not to tell Eric what to do, but to say, when Eric says, hey, what do you think about this? This is where we are. We got this, they gave in on this, and here we are financially. I think this is a better deal. Are we ready? It's not fair to put all that on Eric. He needs that person who's going to maybe even coordinate the bonds people, Hilltop Securities. We have to bring some people together sometimes. That should not be on Eric, right? He can gather the engineer, but an administrator Eric may need to say, hey, can you go get the financial aspect part of this done? Can you get in touch with Jason, you know, with Hilltop, and make sure he can attend this meeting? Hey, can you get in touch with Mary and see if she can take on this project? Can you get in touch? There's a lot of moving parts to development. He already has a ton to do with just looking at zoning, land use, and then, well, what do the people actually want? What can they do? Because I better work with them, because we might not like what they can do if we don't work with them and give a little bit. They might just go rogue and go do something.
So let's do this. Let's go through this essential
Are we done with the org
duty.
chart?
William, you okay with the admin being equal, not an officer?
Well,
Officers also have to
Do
be.
you want a city manager?
Have to be
This,
the paper
this
bonds.
does not look like that.
that's what,
This,
We're
this
thinking
is
Right.
that guy up
Yeah.
there where I
Right.
said.
Yeah, if I see
So this
city
is-
admin up there, I'm
this
thinking
is
they can
no
hire and
joke.
fire someone.
This,
unless
let's
it's
go
cheap.
through and
So-
let's talk about what we want this person to do.
and let's discuss who's doing it today. So
We done?
let's-
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go with the board right now, and you guys,
Thank
this
you,
is
Cindy.
where
Thank
something
you,
that
Cindy.
I feel is just like what my everyday, you've got employees, right, David, that work underneath you.
Huh?
Don't
Alan,
forget
he
your
owns his
program.
own company, he's got
Yes.
employees.
No.
This is literally, you gotta think of it as like a pyramid.
what's going
So
on
this,
here?
this falls right into what I do. So my job at my company is I got PMs, I got software engineers, I got architects, I got hardware engineers, I got all these things. But at the end, I'm in the control of, hey, engineer or software engineer, I don't like these people you brought on that are Microsoft experts.
Right.
Can we get some different people in there? I can help that. They
Right.
can't come in and tell that person that then reports to me what they want to do. So I guess what I'm
You're
trying to
kind
get
of
at
the
is,
glue between all those
Yeah.
departments.
You're talking project manager with Matrix, with a Matrix
So-
employee chart, so.
when I bring my team into my customers,
Right.
I can switch PMs, I can switch architects, I can switch software engineers, I can do everything.
Right.
But they have their team underneath them that they bring into a
Yeah.
data, AI
Yes.
migration,
Yes.
all
Yes.
that stuff. Now, if I don't like them or they don't jive with the customer,
Mm-hmm.
I can say, hey, to that person's lead, hey, they don't really jive with
It's
the
not
customer,
working.
let's get them out of there.
Right.
We just need that assistant that is what I would call my client ops person.
There you go.
That when we get our, hey, okay, great, the customer likes this SOW,
Mm-hmm.
great, client ops person, go write it up, let's get it. Quote for
Yeah.
hardware, quote for
Client ops.
software, they do,
Right.
I hate to say it like this, they kind of do the dirty work and they get everything to where they're helping out everyone. But yet,
Mm-hmm.
yes, top of the spear is mayor, council,
Ops
and
manager.
then police,
Right.
Deetra, Eric, Adam, fire, finance, whatever. And then they have their own team, but that
That's
city
essentially what it
admin
is. It's not-
basically helps out
Yeah.
And you
everyone.
need that
Is
because
the
you
middle
don't want
person.
somebody coming to you guys for everything. You gotta be able to
Yeah.
coordinate and help each department head. Everybody works together.
What do you mean by you don't
But
want
they're
us-
not gonna
you don't
go
want people coming
fire
to us
somebody.
for everything?
Like what Deetra and Eric and Adam sometimes do, they don't need to come to us, and they don't, which is great, because then it bogs us down.
I promise
They're
you,
here
you don't
for
want
what they
everything.
want, they're here for their position.
Oh, I
So
don't
this
have time.
admin
You
helps
don't have
out
time for it,
to
Eric doesn't have time.
You actually-
Nobody has time for it.
do things.
Well, where are they gonna go
Wade,
to from here?
you actually came up with the perfect.
We take your guidance and we make the decision
Ops
on our
manager.
own.
Within the policies
that's what it
set,
Not
is.
administrator,
They have to go
not
do their
chief of
job.
staff, ops manager.
So
Yeah.
That's what it
they
is.
can't come to
Yeah.
you and go,
It's a
okay,
support
present.
function of of that line.
That's really the perfect name for it.
So-
Ops manager.
Right.
I want to go, and look, I'm not throwing rocks at this job
No,
description,
you're fine.
but I want to understand,
Okay, let's go.
in our essential duties and responsibilities, assist the mayor, council, and city staff with agenda preparation and review. Who does that today?
Karen?
All of us. So I put the agenda together. You guys asked me for stuff, Eric asked me for stuff, Adam asked me for stuff that within their departments they need, Danny, but you know what I asked them to do? Because I need to, I'm
You
gonna look
physically
at
build the agenda. You-
I say what's on the agenda, except when Eric needs something, I'll tell him, hey, go let Lisa know to put it in the folder. She keeps a folder of everything I want on an agenda
Right?
and any accompanying documents. And before every agenda, Deidre and I sit down and we go, is this ready? Is this ready? We have that meeting. We decide together what goes on that
So
agenda.
that will
And how
then
the
come
format
off
is.
of Dietrich's plate and it will be on this person's plate.
Well, it'll be me and an administrator, mayor
Ops
administrator,
manager.
ops man, whatever y'all wanna call it. I think we have to we have to broadcast to other cities and entities that this is really that kind of, they don't understand what an ops manager is. They're looking for a city manager, administrator, you see what I'm saying?
I don't want another
If you
Rick
call it
Chapin.
that-
I don't want
We're not
another
gonna
Rick
get
Chapin.
another,
And if we.
Rick Chapin will be Rick
That's-
Chapin no
that's
matter
kind
what
of-
his title was.
And actually, I
Well, I know, but a
disagree,
city manager,
because
like
the
any city manager.
the administrator is not the one that puts the agenda
So,
together. It's the
that needs to
city
come off
secretary,
the
the city
essential
secretary has the final and
Exactly.
signs it.
That's why.
It's
that's
not
why
the
I'm saying.
administrator, so they can't,
It shouldn't
the
be
mayor and the
an
city
essential
administrator
duty.
can't go together and start putting this all
Yeah.
together and
No,
leave
no,
me
no,
completely
yes,
out.
Okay,
Come to
let me
you.
say, can I
Because
say something?
95% of it ends up on my desk first,
it does.
and then we
Right.
go and
Let
sit
me-
down and we talk about
Let me explain
it.
something about how this
But
was
at the end of the day, it's also my agenda.
right.
Yes,
Okay, so really it's me and Deidre who would still, at the end of the day, the administrator absolutely would not be sitting down and
Well,
reading
then
with
it's
me.
not an
That's what I just
essential-
said.
Right.
It's not an essential duty and responsibility of this role.
Okay, let me explain this. This is way too many essential duties, right?
For
No, no,
real.
no.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Well, let me
define them,
finish.
but I need that person coming in
Okay.
to know they're gonna do all these
Okay,
things.
let me finish. Okay, when this was put together, I had a long talk with Adam. This was put together, this is everything,
Where did Adam get it?
he,
From our past
we have-
experiences with municipalities is where we got it
and
from.
we also
What I
have,
gave
we also
And it's-
have written job descriptions from the HR person we used to have.
From Catherine Nursery,
Yeah,
from my input too, just, well, not recently, but like a couple months ago.
Okay.
Well, probably 4 months ago.
let me explain why this is so long. This is so long because this is absolutely everything imaginable that they could ever even be involved in.
Right.
Right? So
Yes.
the thought, in my head, what was going on was this is going to be a 90-day process to hire somebody.
Sure.
Right? Because this is an essential position and we got to get it right. So my thought was that we have this, we put it out there. This is not the final job description. This is may, and up here it says may have these
And it says other duties assigned.
and other duties assigned. So
This is just
my
a ballpark of like, this is kind of what this role is gonna require from us.
So
So
my
what-
idea,
Yeah.
when I was thinking through this and what Adam was thinking too, was that we put everything in the kitchen sink in here. And then while we're advertising, while we're getting candidates and stuff, we refine this,
Okay.
which
Yeah,
is what
you
we're
can
doing
do it that
today.
way.
Why would we
Yes.
do that?
Yes.
Now we're asking people to spend time to apply for a job that may or may not exist, and they may or may not get, and they may or may not even come about. Why would we do
Oh,
that?
this
Are we just
position
out
is going to
fishing
come
to see
about.
who's out there?
No,
Just-
William,
No, it's
we
the list-
voted
it's
on
the
it.
list- It's the
We
list of
voted
the
on, this
duties.
is happening.
We
You're
did.
making me really upset.
It's the
You keep
list of
saying
the
that.
duties.
But it's
What she's
true.
I
talking
didn't
about,
vote on that.
Yes, you did.
what she's talking about is the list of the duties.
Okay, let's stop right now.
But
Let's
not
stop
the
it right now.
Here,
This
this
does
is
not
the,
have anything to do with that.
what?
This thing here doesn't have anything to do with anything that's on that board there.
No, this up on the board is
Nobody
refining that.
voted on this.
This is refining.
Nobody voted on this.
The
I
job
moved-
Description and.
This was
Word.
posted without being voted on. It wasn't vetted. It's
William,
nothing.
Which
we
is
don't
what we're
want to go
doing.
there.
We
Well,
don't want to go
he,
there.
what he's
You guys
saying
are
is,
pushing it.
the textual things that you're seeing was not voted on. Proceeding to create this was.
Yes, to
Right.
create-
Yeah, to create it was.
Not
And
to
here's
And
what
push
and
it.
then it did go to you more than once, and it said, please do have
No,
some
we
feedback
don't.
before
We don't
post it."
have meetings in emails.
It's
we
not
have
a meeting in
meetings
email.
here.
It's not a meeting in email. William, we had this. We came out,
Guys,
we motioned
y'all
to
are
create it.
killing me.
It may be a misunderstanding at the time.
I think we're having semantics issues.
It's a
We all
colossal
agree that
overstep is what
we
it was.
agree that we need the position.
Right.
We are divided heavily on whether we
The
agree to
description.
this. I don't agree to this. Essential duties and responsibilities, we just hit the first
That's
one,
why
and
we-
it's not an essential
But let me
duty or
ask you
responsibility.
That's why we're meeting.
Okay,
Then
look,
when Williams
let's
say,
just scrap
alert,
this.
I'm not ready for
Just
this.
scrap this, forget
Via
it.
email?
Act like it
Because I
never
didn't see the
existed,
email.
and
Start
Figure
over.
out what
You
it
just
needs
told
to
me you
be.
have an email problem.
Yes.
I didn't know that. When I thought, when Cindy came out of executive, she literally said that in her motion to move forward.
This is what I
with
said.
advertising.
This is the motion. I move that we establish a position for some, and these are my word for word.
Yes.
I move that we establish a position for something like a city administrator or operations manager or whatever we want to call it, but we establish a position and we go ahead forward with building out the job description and move forward with advertising the position and getting somebody in place.
And I'm totally fine with
Hear
that.
that part at the end.
I'm totally fine with that.
Well, that's,
But I didn't
I'm
agree
not
to
fine with
this.
the last part.
well, that,
But,
I mean,
you voted on it, William. So that's what I'm saying. You probably didn't understand exactly what
I
she said,
did
but
not
you did
understand what
vote
she just
for
read.
it.
She has the benefit of reading it, I did not.
Okay, so
You
let's,
heard
let's bring it
I
down.
didn't
You
now.
heard
hear
it
that
live
last
in
part.
person. You were here live in
Whatever,
person.
whatever, I don't,
Let's bring it down a notch. And so what Cindy's
Okay.
basically said is this is the kitchen sink. We just
It
need to
is.
find out how much silverware we want
Right.
to throw in
no,
it.
we need to
Exactly.
toss
Yes.
this, and we need to figure out what it needs to
But
do.
this is a
and write
good,
that
this
down.
is a good start of a map
No,
in
it's a
case we
horrible
miss
start.
something.
Look, no, look, listen. This person is not going to sustain or improve staff performance by evaluating performance of staff.
Cool,
They're not
cross
gonna
it out.
Exactly.
They're
Cool,
not gonna
discussion,
delegate
cross it out.
authority for pertinent
Then we cross it
administrative
out.
tasks.
Cross it out.
They're not gonna supervise and coordinate all municipal activities. They're not
Then
gonna
we
recommend
cross it-
appointment of department heads.
then we cross it out.
No, you don't need this. We need to figure out what that position needs to do. We keep wanting to make a position without knowing why it needs to exist. What is it
That
gonna
was the
do?
motion, William. She said, we're going to,
What
and
the,
y'all all
it's
saw
right here what
this.
the person's going to do. We just
Not
have to
only
refine
that-
what we want to curtail this
It
to
is
be.
none of this.
But after she made the motion, which I assume you heard everything,
I
you were
didn't hear
here.
the last part about posting,
Okay, but you were here.
okay, which is why I want to
So I'm
talk.
sorry you didn't hear it. But then you made comments that said exactly what we had all talked about.
I said explore.
and
Explore
you
is not posting and asking people
But
to
you
come out and
also
apply for a
said
job.
whether it's in the budget or not.
Yes, ma'am.
It was under, did you think we were removing posting and advertising a position when you left?
Sometimes these.
No, I didn't
Do
think
you
we were
remember?
gonna be posting
Did
it.
you get the
Yeah.
email?
I got an email to look at it and if we wanted to add something to it and what we
Before
thought
it
of it.
posted?
Before it posted,
Okay,
but I didn't know it was getting posted.
And then the second email,
Okay.
he said, I'll let you know before I post this. So any of
And
y'all
nobody
could have
responded.
responded and said,
Again,
we don't want to
again,
post
have
it.
email
We
access.
don't make
I didn't-
decisions
I
through
didn't see the email
emails.
'cause I
Dave
missed
doesn't
the
have
email.
email access, it's a Microsoft problem.
You know what,
And I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
tell
when we get
y'all,
it fixed.
don't email me anything. You got something you want me to know, call me on the phone or give me a piece of paper. I'm
Well,
gonna tell you right now,
well,
I don't want an email from anybody. Do not email me. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Okay,
You email me and you are guaranteed I'm gonna ignore it. You want me to do something, you call me on the phone or you give it to me in a piece of paper.
William,
Or talk
Do
about it.
not
I
ever,
can't call
I'm gonna
you
be
every
on
time
record
you
right
need
now,
something.
do not ever email me. We don't make decisions through emails.
We're
We
not
make
making,
decisions
it's
here
giving
in
you
meetings.
information. It's saying we're about to do something. Do you have any reason that you want something changed? You didn't respond.
But is a no response, is that
Guys, I
an
can't.
affirmative that, okay,
Do
I
I
can
have
go
to
forward?
call y'all before I do something?
If it's
I'm out here.
significant,
If it's
I can
this,
do that. I can
absolutely.
direct Deidre to do that. I can direct her. I don't think she's gonna like it much. Do you wanna do that every time I need something to go to council? Will you
on something
call
like
in and let
this,
us know?
we
I did
didn't-
it?
not
We didn't know it
everything,
was
but
gonna be
something like this, I
posted.
mean, Deidre's called me before.
So we should
hey,
probably
guys,
have talked about this
this
in
we
the
had
council.
DNS
This is
agreement.
not
Not a
trivial
workshop.
day-to-day operations.
William, I've sent, how many times have we sent BNSF agreement revisions? We sent out an email. I can't call you and say there's 100 pages of something you've gotta review. We've had, what, 15?
Okay,
11, 12, 13, 14,
again,
15, are you not checking?
BNS is also not day-to-day operations, but we don't have much control over that because that's litigation and there's very little we can do.
But
This
we-
affects
we
the
had to
city on a
decide
permanent
what
basis.
parameters we wanted, so Courtney sent that to y'all, not for you to communicate and make decisions through email, but here's the litigation, here's the changes I made. Each one of you, because we can't share it with the public, need to read this and then decide and let us know, or come to the executive and tell me what you don't like about it. We've done that 15 times.
Okay, can we come to,
Right.
can we come to an agreement?
That's a one-off that has nothing to do with
But
this.
it's not.
Let's,
I can't
look, we
call
can
y'all
be
and
here
tell
all
you
day
something important.
going
Yeah, you
back and
can.
forth. Can we
Yes,
come
you
to
can.
an, can we
William,
come
I
to an
can't.
agreement
And I'm
that
not going to.
we should have done this differently? Can we agree to that?
I gotta take care of my payroll. And that is, I have to get stuff together and
Can
bring it
we,
to you.
can we come to an agreement that we could have done this differently?
I will
Yes,
say
I-
that,
Okay,
I will,
then let's
yes.
move on.
Okay.
Okay.
We've got
And that's what
a
this is
job
gonna be for.
posting here that is out there that is, excuse my language, it's horseshit today. And anybody that applies to it, I would say you're wasting your time because it's gonna change.
Yeah, my apologies, because sorry you wasted your time applying, because this job doesn't exist.
Yeah. So it has essential duties and responsibilities. To William's point, we're getting ready to spend taxpayer money on a position that right now has a salary of 120 to 140.
I don't know where we're gonna get the money from.
And I can't tell you what it is, but we're gonna have a list of essential duties and responsibilities, and if we're gonna post that, then the essential duties and responsibilities should be what the job is. And any taxpayer out there wants to know, why the hell do we have this chief of staff, this ops manager, whatever we call it? Well, here's what they do. Because right now, the very first one isn't an essential duty. And some of the things that William called out, not essential duties won't ever be a duty. So let's come to, let's get it done and
Let's
get
figure
it
out
done
what the
right.
duties are.
Let's do it. We're gonna have this position, but let's understand what that job
Okay,
does.
so let's go through with what is not getting done, or what is Karen doing that's staff job that she
Let's read
shouldn't
through
be
these and I'm
doing?
gonna tell you.
Let's figure those things out.
Okay, agenda preparation, Deidre and I do that.
Okay,
I
so
have a
we
final
marked that
say.
one off.
But we only care about what you're doing
No,
that you
no,
shouldn't be
because
doing.
that person here day to day, working with Eric and Adam and Deidre and all the departments, that person is their kind of go-to. Eric's gonna say, hey, I need this on the deal. Then I'm gonna sit down with that new person and go, what do we need to take? And then I'm gonna sit down with Deidre, because at the end of the day, I'm not bringing anything that we don't want. Administrator's not gonna know that. That person's job is just gonna bring it to us, do you want it or not?
And this is an essential duty.
Yeah.
If
Don't-
this
yeah,
person is
because-
out, the agenda doesn't get done.
No, because
It
we
may not get done
collaborate.
well, because Eric's gonna bring,
Well, it's getting done today.
it is.
Okay, how's it get done now? Let's start with that.
That's,
How does it get done now?
yeah.
The department heads, I've asked them to go directly to Deidre, to tell her if something needs to go. She collects from Adam, from Eric, and everybody. Then, we sit down and we go over what comes in now. Is it ready? Because Courtney and I may not be ready for what they have. Now, generally, Eric knows and Adam knows whether or not it's ready, but me and Deidre have to make sure, is the ordinance ready for them? Is this ready? There's some things. So, and I have the final say. She won't post an agenda unless I've asked her what to put on it. So the both of us decide, she gathers the documentation.
Okay, so
So this is,
if that's how it gets done now, how would it be done differently if this person existed?
Because I should be oversight only, I shouldn't have to gather it all, because I'm not here every day.
She
You
gets
just
the
said that
final
Deidre
approval
gathers it all.
No,
She gathers a bunch of stuff
from
herself.
everyone. So
Format for it
basically,
to be
the
listed.
operations manager would be talking to Deidre, Eric, Adam, fire and police, saying, okay, what do we need to do? What do we need to put on the, each
Oh,
department?
wait, hang on a minute.
And what do we need to put on the agenda? What needs to be on the agenda?
But this
Right.
guy's going out and polling everybody, "Hey, you got anything to put on the agenda, or is he just taking their requests?
no, he's asking them.
Or
Why?
both.
Or both?
Why?
Why do you think he runs a department? I'm not in his business micromanage him every day. When a project's ready and Eric needs
Why
something,
would he
he
go
lets
around
me
asking
know.
everybody, hey, you got anything to put on the agenda? If he's got something to put on the agenda, he's gonna go to whoever the point
We
person
just
is.
said that.
That's what
we
we're
just
saying.
said Eric. I have directed Eric go straight to Deidre when he has
Yeah.
something. He didn't have to ask me. But
But
at
that's
the
not what
end
y'all
of the
just said.
day,
You just
I said it.
he's
I
going
said
there.
it differently,
Oh.
saying, okay,
I-
they're going there. Switch it all around. Doesn't matter. If Eric has a bucket of things, he's got a list. The operations manager can be like, all right, Eric, that's a lot. how many can we knock down? Let's put 5 on there out of the 10. And then can we address the other ones? Now, if Eric's like, no, because if we do 5 now and we do 5 the next month, I'm going to have another 10 to put in there for the next agenda, and we're always going to be falling behind.
Okay, so,
Okay, great.
so one duty is this guy needs to collect all the items for the
Yes.
agendas.
They all, if you want to put it this way,
Put
Eric
it all,
sends
put
in
it all
his
together
stuff,
for the
Adam,
format, because the
Deetra,
mayor does nothing but
yeah,
reads.
sends it all in, and
Are you
that
good with all that?
operations, that's just
No.
all of what we're talking
No.
I
about.
want to hear from the person that's doing it
Yeah.
today, what it needs to say. What would you like it to say as far as the agenda goes? I mean, because my understanding is,
I want it to
You-
keep going
you
the way
run
it
it.
is. I want it to come to me into my folder. If I have something missing, I contact Courtney directly, or I contact him. Him and I probably have the biggest part because we do P and Z together.
yeah, you
It
don't
goes
want
into
no
one
layer.
folder.
Yeah.
But once I have my whole folder together, then her and I sit down together. I'm not going to waste my time going to a middle person because that middle person is fixing to
No.
jack up the
Deidre,
entire
I'm
agenda
gonna have
How does
process.
it get to
me.
you? How does
I
it
go and get it.
What do you mean you go and get it?
I ask what he
She knows
needs,
where my stuff is
and
for P&Z
I
anyway.
stay ahead. I'm very organized when it comes to the
Okay, and
agenda.
you're good with that? That's not an extra duty that you'd like to get rid of?
No, it's a way for me
Okay,
to
then
keep
we don't
it
need to
organized.
do that.
Take that off of the
Take
list.
that off.
I'd rather for it to just be between
It works now.
me and
Let's
staff,
not
and
fix
then
it.
let
It ain't
her
broken.
come and.
If it's
Well,
been
the part
everything.
that's broken is that,
You're not asking me, I'm the one that fucking does it. I
Well,
do
she
it.
just said she does it.
no,
Okay, she coordinates with department heads. Not everything fits in development or parks and streets or police and fire.
Okay.
Everything else is I have to make sure if I need something on, okay, perfect example. Wade wants a
from
cell
us.
tower, a
The ordinance.
ordinance. I have been the one to coordinate all that. That is not on Adam. Wade wants it. I said, hey, I need an example of something, can you help me? He went and found one, he reviewed it, we brought it back. Now, I have to work with Courtney, which I have been doing, to get an ordinance ready, but there's some land use and some zoning problems. It's gonna have to go to P and Z first. Well, it's been a process. I've been working on this. How long would you ask me?
Probably.
5 months,
Yeah.
4 months, 5 months? It takes time because you have to keep coming back. Well, it's not ready because of this. I'm the one doing that. It's not Eric, it's not Adam, it's not Deidre, it's not Danny, and it's not John. I have to do that. We've almost got it ready. It's going to P and Z. Please tell me it's going to P and Z.
Yes,
Is
this
it not?
month, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, God, okay. Then it will come to us. But that's what I had to do. That's an administrator deal. I don't have time to do that. You asked me for something. I haven't even been, it's not even close.
So is it more
I
of this,
can't do
this
it. I don't
operations
have time.
manager would be a better way of layman's describing it is Eric's got his team, Deidre's got her team, Adam's got his team. You don't have a team as a mayor to
No.
help
I don't
all
have
of us.
anybody
It's
to delegate.
us going to you for the council mayor
Yes.
stuff.
And guess what? I
And we
have
need
to
someone
do it.
to help
That's not my job.
us go to them and
This
then
is
goes
more
to
like an
you.
administrative assistant then. not the
No,
secretary.
It's kind of like an assistant to the city manager, which
Yeah.
is in the city manager's office and understands the
It kinda
dynamics.
is like that.
yeah.
And they're working their way up to become a deputy or assistant city manager, but they know they don't know departmental specific stuff, but they know, okay, this affects public works, so we gotta get public works organized with planning. with-
Exactly. And a lot of
Yeah.
things that come in, I have to pull Adam and Eric together. Now, they are good enough that they do that without me. They come together on a lot of stuff.
All right, but what you're describing is somebody that would do things in place of us going to you. We would go to this person to get stuff.
Correct.
Well, yeah,
to get
because this
stuff.
isn't the mayor's job.
An
Mayor's-
admin
that
and the
is
secretary has to
oversight
put
and
together
vision.
the agenda to where she can get a preview because she's the mayor, but we can't. We gotta wait until it's being
Exactly.
posted. So
These are the things y'all
by
can't
having an
rely on.
admin who actually puts everything together with Deidre, all she has to do is look at it and go, okay, I agree with this, agree with this, done, I'm out.
And there's
I
sometimes
mean,
I've
we're
forgotten
not
stuff
talking
and
about
she's
hours,
come back and
we're
go, we
talking
need to add
about-
it.
She gets a preview of the
Exactly.
So that's
agenda.
clearly a clerical duty.
No.
That is.
No.
No,
not,
because she's
though.
doing
Let me give you an example.
sometimes she's writing ordinances, she's working with Courtney on getting the ordinances.
That's one of the
So are we
biggest
suggesting that
things.
she would stop doing that and this person would
Yes.
do that?
Yes.
Yes.
That would be
because
the
mayor's
biggest-
there
that's
for
the biggest
oversight and
amount of
vision.
time.
There are two things that this position has to have: time and skill. This is not mayor role, because anybody can be elected in this role, they may not have either. I used to have both. I have far less time.
So yes, the admin and Deidre have to put together the agenda packet all the way to the point of presentation, hand it to the mayor, oversight. I like it or I don't like it, make this change, don't make that change, boom. We
The
have-
things that Karen,
we have our
the
posting.
things that Karen presents in meetings, this admin
That's
will
an
now
admin
present.
role. I don't have time to put
She just,
PowerPoint presentations.
she just reads the
together,
script
guys.
at the
We're back
meeting.
to a city administrator.
Yeah,
That's
We're,
what I
we're
think.
talking about the
And we're back
duties.
to being up there between
Not as
city
an officer.
secretary.
that
Not
would
as
be
an
a
officer.
city
Doesn't have to
manager
be.
also.
Just as much as Eric does a presentation at the podium, this person is just putting this together as a presentation before it actually gets posted.
I'll give you another
You know,
example.
if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's a duck.
I can see where, I
You
can
don't
see
keep
where the
trying
need.
to, I don't know
It's
what
an administrator,
what
it
the
just doesn't have the
aversion
power
is to
that the
this.
city manager form of government used to give. It's somebody who answers to
We're
me
not
and then
talking
you
about a
guys.
city manager form.
No,
of
we're just
government.
talking about
I
putting
know.
together the agenda, getting
It's
all
an
of the
administrator.
information to be able to put it into the packet. Deidre can't do it all on
Okay,
her
well,
own.
look, either
But
he's,
she's
either
doing it
he's
all.
making
Not
decisions
all.
or he's just a secretary helping.
No,
me.
he's
And
making
she's a
decisions.
specific-
Receiving
Eric
all
comes
of
to
the
him and he has
information
10
that
things.
two
He's
people
gonna say,
sit down and
Eric,
figure
can
out
we whittle this
1 through
down?
100.
This is too
Just
much.
here's all these pages.
We've got this other thing going on. Do you
Probably
really
don't
want to
need be
bring
like
this?
that. If Eric needs to bring something, it'll be brought. But
Well, I'm saying,
I would keep the roadness out. Like, oh no, that's never gonna. Eric and I had something that came in not that long ago. I was like, hell no, right? Administrator may have said, well, let's put that on the Stewart Council, and I know not to bring that and get people stirred up because it ain't happening. So, and then Eric and I talk about it, and we're like, yeah, that's not coming to the agenda. We're not ready for that. That's not coming. We don't want it. We're not there yet.
right.
And then I push that away. But an administrator's just like, look, I'm bringing what's in and I'm taking it here. I'm the oversight for that. I'm not doing that work anymore. I'm not creating those presentations. Concrete batch
But they
plans
can
are
run,
perfect one.
but they can run interference for you before it even gets to you, once
Well,
they
just-
build up
They're
some
doing the work, gathering the
experience.
stuff.
Right.
So
They're
the very-
gathering
so
the
the-
stuff.
the
And if
very-
they know a policy, they
Or-
implement it.
Yeah, or if we come to them and we say, we want an ordinance that does this, they're gonna be the one that's researching the ordinance and
They're
they're,
Well-
working with Courtney a little bit on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
depending on
depends,
his development. He is.
well, yeah, I mean, it depends
So
on
under
what
this
it
job
is.
description, the very first line, it should be assist the city staff with agenda preparation and review. Mayor and council should
Yeah,
not even
because
be in
that
that.
person's
That's
going
what,
to-
that's
Well,
one
we
of their
also
pieces.
contribute to the agenda though.
We only ask for things to be put on. We don't actually have to do all of the research for it. And it still has to
Yeah.
be approved
Right.
for her and,
Well, for example, look at TCQ, the whole SUP project. I pulled Alan in it, thank God, and thank you for doing this. Alan has been the main, I was able, when he came in, I was able to like not really have to be as engaged in that process because I didn't have time. Alan was doing it, but an administrator would have handled TCQ. Knowing what we needed, would have been doing all that work. Okay, now that we have a decision, they said yes, now you're going back and forth and getting the details of, he'd be the one having to call and figure out the fiber and call and figure out all of this stuff, and then that's the person, because it's not Eric, it's not any other department head that would then bring that back to you guys, report on it, talk about it, answer all your questions. That's the person who would bring it back and say, hey, it needs to be on the agenda. Right now, it's me and Alan and TCQ, and then I bring it through Deidre on the agenda. I would have to do that, to put it on the agenda and get the stuff to her, because she's like, I'm not part of this process. I'm just gonna put it in my little folder, I'm gonna create it all and organize it, and then I'm gonna sit down with the mayor, and the mayor goes, nope, not ready for that, we'll pull it off. Today, perfect example. What are we putting on this week that, now I already forgot. What was it that wasn't, and I said last minute, I'm like, oh crap, we have to have this on now, for this
the
meeting.
creation of the MDD.
Creation of
Yeah.
MDD.
The board.
Right?
But where it's gonna be a
That's what that
discussion.
administrator would be doing, because it wasn't on Deidre's radar, but it was on mine. And I looked at the timeline and went, oh, this has to go right now, because we have to talk about it first Thursday, third Thursday, we have to make decisions.
Mhm.
Because we actually can get money a little sooner, because we've been so on our schedule. And that was incredibly hard for me to do. Someone has to have this timeline. It's really hard for me. That's just one project. On my board back there, how many? 16, 17, 18, and I'm not even done yet with my sticky notes. They're not even all on there. Someone has to be watching this and going, this project, oh, I gotta get this to the commissioner because they're buying the patch truck. Somebody has to go and research, which by the way, I need to know what we paid for it. We gotta research all that. Well, that's somebody sitting down and going through FundView and going, here's everything we paid for it. Get that back to Commissioner Marr. So that the county can help us, help them, and we can create that ILA.
someone needs to be doing these things, these
So
projects.
that's the
I do
kind of
that.
stuff that needs to be in the
And then-
essential duties, because
Right,
there's
so-
too much of this
so-
that's duplicit.
There
Right,
is too
so-
much of
so
this.
That's correct.
Let's
I agree.
carry
I mean,
on.
you've got stuff in here that prepares and comes up with strategies and stuff like, that person isn't gonna do that, they're gonna get that from Eric.
Typically, when
Or
you have,
prepares and submits to the city council by the end of the fiscal year, a complete report of the finances, administrative activities of the city for the preceding year. Does that mean Eddie's gone? And this person takes Eddie's spot?
Sounds like
Because
Well-
Eddie does that.
That's
But
what I'm saying.
Eddie's not gonna
Let's-
be at all of our meetings and.
Let's go through these one at a time. So let's,
Well, hang on.
we've already handled
Let's
number
get
one.
back to
It's
the
no longer the
agenda.
mayor and the council has to
Did
put
we
this.
figure out what this person does for an agenda? I've got 5 different things written down here.
Everything the other department heads do not do.
Well, okay, assist the city council and the staff with agenda items. Does that include research? What does that include?
Mhm. Anything we need.
Okay, collect the agenda items. Get them all together in one place, so they're.
No, that's Deidre.
Well, but Deidre only does part of them. She doesn't
Right,
do
so-
all of them. So we need to have one
Deidre-
person doing
Deidre and
that too.
Deidre and that other person puts together the agenda in an order so that it doesn't stir up shit and actually flows.
Well, but who's gonna collect the agenda items? Deidre or this person?
Deidre will
always
collect them.
collects everything in a folder.
The-
She keeps it all together. Eric brings something to her, she's got
But you
it.
just said that you collect a lot of it.
Everything that's not Eric's, Adam's, Danny's, or John's, I do it.
What she
Cell tower.
collects, what she collects
Cell tower
is
that Wade
requests
brought
from
me, I do it.
council.
TCEQ, they're working with me, I do
So are
it.
we suggesting that this person would do what you've been doing, but not what Deidre's doing?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So two people.
So
are
now,
gonna collect.
if Wade's got a project, he doesn't go to the mayor with it, he goes to the admin with it and says, hey, I want you to look into these cell towers, I'll help you out with it.
Yes.
We need to get this on the agenda. Deidre knows not to put a cell tower on there.
Okay, so if we put a workflow down, data collection for agenda, what's the workflow look like? How do people know whether they should go to this guy or Deidre?
Cause it's like a special projects manager.
I mean, it's not
It's
public, so who would
everything that the
know?
department heads don't do now, which is a
Well, the people
lot.
that are giving the stuff to this guy need to know. So Eric knows, he doesn't ever go to this guy, he goes straight to Deidre. Is that
He's
what
a
we're
department.
saying?
He
Yes,
runs his own
because
department,
he's
he
his
takes
own
it to
department.
But there's a
Here's what
lot
I need.
more than just what they have. We have ordinances, we have resolutions, we have anything that we bring to Karen that we want on the agenda would go to this person, and
Okay,
this
so
person.
anybody on that line up there would go straight to Deidre. Anybody
Correct.
that's not on that line, on that second line, would go straight to this guy.
Or gal.
Person.
Well, there's a lot of
I'm
things
gonna
that,
say guy, 'cause
The
that's.
governing
that's
bodies
the
will go to
determinant gender
Deidre for
in
anything
English.
they want on the agenda. Anybody within the departments below will go with
Let me tell
Deidre.
y'all, here's how we do it right now, and it works. It's what Deidre's been saying, it's what I've been saying. Deidre has everything in a folder, because she's the one that types it up, certifies it. She's the one who says what's actually gonna happen at this meeting. It's my agenda though. If I wanna pull something off, I can do that. It may never come to you. If I wanna rearrange it, I'll tell her I want this at the top and this at the bottom. So we work
I just
together,
wanna correct that. You can't pull it off if we put it on there.
Correct, and I've never tried to do that.
Just wanna be
And I don't make
accurate.
3 of you come together
I
to
just-
get something.
I
You can
just wanna
all
be
come to me,
accurate, yes.
tell me, and I put it on for you. We may talk about it, which we haven't had to do. I
why
did
we're
reach
here.
out to Wade and I said, hey, can you help me? Because do you have an example? He came back and he said, here's an example. I'm like, God, that helps me so much. Thank you. Now I have to take that to Courtney. We have to work on how do we do that within our authority, our scope, how does that conflict with ordinances? It does bring Eric in because it's a zoning, some land use, and it's not land use, it's zoning. So that means that Eric has to be brought in because he's gonna have to explain it to P and Z, that kind of thing.
Okay, so I'm still wanna get my head, so this guy is gonna be an aggregator of agenda requests that don't come from department heads.
right.
Yes.
And he's
He is
also
going
gonna,
to- He's going to feed into Deidre like any other department head.
yes, and he
Yes.
could also originate
He's gonna be
agenda
the
items.
5th one.
Okay, aggregator or
1, 2.
originator.
He could also originate. He could
3, 4.
say, oh, I think we need a thing for
Well,
this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
Look, if
so
there's a problem.
Yes.
how about this?
Look,
as an
either
essential-
he's,
How about this as an essential duty and responsibility? Assist the governing body with projects and or ordinances, ordinance agenda items to deliver to the city secretary.
governing body and public, I guess,
And
because
public.
we're talking about everybody that's not on that second
Yeah.
line is gonna go to this guy for an agenda item.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Then it
that,
all goes to Deetra.
And the two of
then
them
goes
put
to
it all
Karen to get
together.
Reviewed, and then it gets posted.
Right.
because if
Is that
I'm,
the
if I'm
workflow?
this person
Yeah.
and I take this job, I
Deidre
wanna
and
know
sit down
exactly.
together and go through the folder, yes, of everything that everybody's put
Right,
on
but
that.
the admin's going to be taking that. If something happens to
you
you.
okay with what I just
It
said?
has to be
Yes.
able to be,
No.
It should be
Something
something
happens
that
to me,
speaks to you,
he's on
not
that.
that
well,
they
I'm
work
saying is
in
that the agenda itself.
conjunction with you.
Everything has to
You
be
still
brought to
own
you
it.
towards, all you're
I
doing is
agree.
preview. You're no longer doing any more
She
of
can
the.
cut.
Maybe add
let-
stuff to it.
Like, yes, you can.
Right,
Yeah.
she's not the
But let them
aggregator.
bring
This guy is
everything
the
to
same
you.
as your computer.
But I'm gonna work closely with that person. It's not like how Chapin and Gibson did it where they don't, oh, we have a mayor, they
Hopefully
would
he's
drop
got
you.
enough smarts to say, hey, I got something for
I'm-
requesting.
I'll write it down.
You really want to
So,
use it.
and this wording is terrible, and the
He's got enough
but
smarts to say that, but that's
Yeah.
not
If you
part
can
of his
read it.
job
Yeah.
description.
Because the people that are gonna approve the hiring
Yeah.
are a lot different than the last people that approved those people.
Exactly. So everything is, all department heads are gonna take it to Deidre. We're gonna sit down, like we do, and we decide which order and what goes on, and if something's not ready. She may say, hey, Courtney hadn't got me the ordinance yet, and I'll have to reach out to Courtney and just say, hey, where are we on it? She's like,
Would
oh,
you
this
or
has to
would
go
this guy
here.
reach out to Courtney?
That guy would.
Yeah, that's staff
That
work.
person would reach out.
Yeah.
I would
They could.
I
oversee
think
it,
if we're
make
gonna
sure
get
it's
this
getting
guy,
done.
you should stop thinking like a staffer and start thinking like a mayor.
Well, that's what
Everything
allows.
else-
That's what we're trying to
is
do.
what
I've
allows
been
her to
asking
do
you
it,
for
yeah.
5 months. That's exactly what I've said with her.
That's what she's asking us to do, is,
Yeah.
so that she can stop acting and they can read it.
I want to provide oversight and vision, and I'm the link between them and you guys, without violating the law.
That's why you'd have the ability to read the agenda that they prepared prior to.
Yes, because it's my
Anything
agenda.
coming to us.
I don't care who puts something on it, if I say no, it comes off.
Correct. That's the role of the mayor. But
Yes.
you were trying to remove the legwork out of you
Out of
Yes.
doing it.
and just let the
Yes.
brain work.
So it's like a city manager
We come to
slash
a meeting-
assistant to the mayor, but not all the power of the
Right.
city
All right,
manager.
so let's move on to the next
Yeah,
one. That was
next,
pretty clear.
I think we got at least a start on the wording for
That one's
that
pretty
one.
clear.
So we got assisting the city council and staff with agenda items, but not the department heads.
Well, have Cindy read what
That's
we just
staff.
wrote down.
Assist the governing body with projects and ordinance agenda items to deliver to the city secretary.
And he wanted to add public.
Wouldn't the public go there as well?
The
Yeah.
public,
The public doesn't
No.
originate
No.
agenda
The
items.
public cannot call in here and
Acknowledge agenda
public-
items.
The public reaches out to
Just
you,
for
or the
us?
public
Yes.
reaches out to the
Yes.
mayor
So
as.
just
Yes.
like
Or
before,
to Eric.
when we had citizens' comments, I would show up to a meeting, put my citizen comment out there of what I want to have done and changed and what they should be
Could you
looking
put
at.
this on the next city agenda?
Yeah.
Well, you could say that,
Yeah.
but it was up to the city.
it
or
takes
the-
it from
the
us,
council
you guys
members.
telling us, yes,
Yeah,
do
just
this,
because
correct.
somebody tells us.
But
to
it
do
tells the
doesn't
council
have to-
members, like, they obviously didn't put anything that I wanted.
It's really
No,
not
they're
it's
saying here.
city council with
Okay,
agenda items.
governing
That's
body.
really what it is.
Governing body.
Yeah.
Are you good
Governing
with
body.
governing body?
Oh my God, are we still on agenda? Look, it's simple. Assist the council and staff with agenda
But
items.
it's not a staff, because the staff
You
goes
are.
directly to Deidre.
The-
There are some things they have that require ordinances, and he's not gonna research the ordinance that change that he
He's
needs.
gonna do what? I mean,
He's gonna give it to the
he and
admin who's
together
gonna do
to
it.
Say what they need.
And I had my
Eric's-
own that I just
Yeah.
went and had
Yeah.
revised because I'm ordering the election, or y'all are ordering election, I'm preparing it.
Right.
I want Eric's input.
On
On what?
Well, I mean, most of my stuff from the agenda gathering is already in the pipeline because it goes through P and Z first,
Yeah,
right?
You're already taking care of your own stuff. You're folding your own laundry.
It's
and
when it
washing
comes time to
and all that stuff.
presentation.
Yeah.
But there could be a
This person and
case.
Eric have to put it together for
Yeah.
presentation,
Okay,
approved by the mayor at the very end, before it goes out.
Okay, then I want to add a bullet that's not on there. Assist the governing body and staff with any presentation required for us, for
Agenda creation.
Agenda, like, if there needs to be a PowerPoint put together, that person jumps on it. If Deidre needs,
What if people like to do their own? I mean,
Then that's fine.
if they want to do their own, that's
At
fine.
least set the expectation that you might be asked upon to
The mayor doesn't have
create a
time to-
So,
PowerPoint,
let
Excel
me-
spreadsheet, something.
let me
If
say
Deidre
something
doesn't
else
want
from
to,
an
she can't
HR
help him do
standpoint.
that.
This doesn't have to be that granular.
Well, it's pretty goddamn granular now.
I know, it's too granular. So we could say something like, assist the governing body and staff in preparing projects and ordinance agenda items to deliver to the city secretary. With preparing, so preparing would
To
cover.
include PowerPoint, to include.
Yes, it's just.
Preparing could
Yeah.
include PowerPoints, it could include
Dave
presentations.
said, assist governing body with
And I
presentations.
forgot my patch today.
Well, we don't need 2 line items for that.
We just need
Well, we don't know.
Agenda items are not the same thing as presentations.
That could also be,
Nick, Nick?
are they gonna be up here presenting with Eric and stuff, or
Bless you.
just help you prepare?
No, they don't.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not,
Assist.
they're gonna be
Would
doing
mean, like, is he standing
presentations
next to
on
Eric?
like
The only time they
ordinances
would
and stuff
maybe
that they
present is
originate.
if we're doing,
But
we
they're
have
not
PIDs
gonna
and
be-
TERS that we have to administer.
Yeah.
All right, so
That
we,
would
are we good on
know.
number 1? We only got 17 more to go.
Yeah.
Not
Really.
necessarily.
I'm
Some of those are
glad I
easy, you
ate
just need to strike it off.
them.
Yeah, I'm with that. All right,
Advice?
Advise city council and mayor, which should say this.
Yeah, I took that out.
We
Financial
can take that one out
condition and
because
future needs of the city.
Wait, we're going back to this, I thought we were gonna scrap this and come up with something on our own.
That's what we're
This is
doing.
what we're doing,
going
but
through
there
this
are
and
some
deciding
good
what we're
things
gonna
in here.
keep, what we're gonna change.
this
and
this
what we're gonna-
allows us to have the discussion on a certain line item.
Literally the last 20 minutes, we've just talked to that first bullet point. Now the next
Here's
20
what
minutes is gonna
I'm
be this.
gonna
No, it's
take
not
back
gonna-
control for just 1 second. On number 2, even though we'll have somebody running the day-to-day, the finances, like checking the reconciliations and making sure everything's in its place in fund view, which part of that's Deidre, part of that's Eddie and his team. For a while, that's gonna be contracted out. That person is not coming to our meetings though to explain the variances.
Mhm.
An administrator would do that. They would look at everything that Eddie and Deidre have done, run the report. That person's gonna know what happened with this, what happened with that. That person's gonna be here at the meeting every time. They're gonna be able to tell you what just happened this month, why we're over, why we're under.
So they're gonna
So there
review
is a
the,
finance component,
they're gonna review the variance report and present
yes,
on it.
yes.
Okay.
They're gonna
so
give you that
then let's-
snapshot.
That would be,
But they're
that
gonna-
would
they
be
might
great
be
because
more
then
than
we
that,
don't
so we
actually
wanna
have to
keep
have
it
a
live.
finance director on staff because
We
with
don't.
this
They're not
person.
gonna tell
So
Eric
number
that he
two
needs to
is
quit
good.
spending money
No,
on
Except for
of course
the-
not, of course not.
And that's what we're doing.
I've been
Okay.
doing that.
I agree with that.
Teacher's gonna do that.
I agree with that.
Mayor, I think
But
when we're
they
on this
can-
finance part, we might want to add that their responsibility is to track the PIDs and the TERS that we're dealing with. I'm part of it,
Well, that's part of the
But they need to
summary,
look into
to
this.
say, hey, here's where we are.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want council to know we're now administering more PIDs and TERS coming on board, that
So-
this person will be responsible
All
for.
right, how do we word that? Because there's nothing in here about PIDs and TERS, but I like the idea of being,
They have to be knowledgeable
be knowledgeable
of
of PIDs and
TERS.
TERS,
Yes.
but they also need to report on budget variances
Right,
in
so,
coordination with
So
department
they're the
heads.
liaison of between finance.
They're gonna present on it. If-
Right, 'cause
so in the require, or not the requirements, but the desire, it says knowledge of public information, PIDs, TERS, and municipal utility districts.
But are they gonna be responsible for PIDs and TERS?
They're not responsible for administering, we have consultants that do that,
Yeah,
but they
but
give us the
reporting.
schedule of how we need to bring things
But
to
we
you.
want them to be responsible on reporting on that.
Correct.
Right, so that
Because
could be,
they'll-
so that would be
needs
wrapped.
to be, that needs to be an essential duty.
It needs to be
Right, that
moved.
keeps
it-
Peacock from having to show up
That's
to our
right.
meetings. We can
So-
actually allow the
Snapshot.
admin to say, I'm
Of the
taking
monthly
this as
And
the,
the schedule.
So we can just add including PIDs and TERS reporting.
finance
I don't wanna get
reporting.
that specific, look, they're gonna.
I don't want to
they're-
get that, I agree with the
Financial
mayor, I don't want to
reporting.
get that specific, because y'all have to remember, at the end of the day, I'm the city secretary.
Yes.
And there's that, some of that stuff with this PIDs and TERS,
So
or TERS and
assist-
PIDs that's going on, is coming to
So-
me,
Assist
it's my
with financial
responsibility.
reporting.
So Dave, I think this
Just an assist
this
with-
encompasses that. I think that second line is good.
Something, a
The
part
second
of it,
item.
because
Well, it depends.
I
And that-
cannot
that
go
can
to this
encompass
person that's gonna
anything.
tell me
And if you're
when
not
I'm gonna be
following
doing a
that,
public
then
hearing and
there's
all of that.
something
I know this schedule.
That might be one.
That PID schedule is coming to me, like it is, it's already on my desk.
Yeah.
The election schedule,
Okay.
all of this is already on my
So I think
desk.
that,
But the
Number-
administrator
number
will be at
two,
We're gonna
meetings
go
and give
back
a
to this
snapshot of where we are
document
financially.
instead of
Right.
scrapping.
And they need to be a part of
Basically-
those weekly
We're using
meetings
this
that we
now,
have
guys,
with the
we're
city
scrapping
administrators.
this would not
basically
gonna be
be-
what gets
We're just
posted.
using this as a bullet point to stay on task of let's correct
We
this,
wanna-
let's keep
This
that.
We wanna
person's basically
clearly
assisting
define-
the mayor.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
want
And she
clearly
needs to,
define
he or
essential
she
duties
needs
and
to have my cookie
responsibilities.
jar.
When it comes to the finances, they just need to be the spokesperson for the finance. Because
Well,
you can't get
I'm just telling you,
Duties and
the
responsibilities.
essential duties will rewrite.
put you
top
in the
side.
task of having to
Right.
stand
Let's
up
stay
and
on
represent the
the
finance.
The only part on the
Right.
finance I'm going to
Until
keep
we
doing
find
is
out
paying
what our
bills.
duties and
Yeah.
responsibilities
I know
are.
that
But
part
that
of it,
person
but if
needs
she
to
wants
be
to
up
report it,
to
report to council, there's not a problem with that.
That's fine.
So reporting
We need to do the responsibility.
Okay, so
I'm good on number two if everybody else is.
are y'all good on number 2?
Deidre, you good on number two?
I just know how to work these positions, I don't know how to hire them. That's you.
You better get this council mayor out of there.
That's already.
Yeah, number 2 is fine.
Yeah, find and replace.
I'm fine with number
Good,
2.
okay, I'm good with number 3, serves as a liaison between,
Department heads and governing bodies.
totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Number,
Why? No, why?
The liaison between the department heads and
I don't
council.
want to talk to somebody else when I want to go talk to Eric.
Then go talk to
Then
Eric.
you can.
you
I don't
can,
need a liaison.
but
There
there
do-
may
you
be
do-
times that Eric needs to talk to you, but he's too busy or he's got other
What good
stuff
is it going
going.
to do to talk to this guy if he needs to talk to me?
Because he might actually have two things that are merging into one. Cell towers, she was just talking about that very same thing.
You
We're
know
talking about a
people
cell
that-
tower,
There may
who's
be
getting
problems.
together,
You know
but
what
he's gotta
that
involve
means?
Eric.
You know what
You have
that
other people
means?
that work with
The
law cases
liaison
that come up
between
and say,
staff
"Hey,
and
I got this
council?
information from the investigator, here you go, Will, present that in court."
Yeah, I got thousands of
I mean,
people that
if-
come talk to me.
That's what we're talking about right
When
now.
we're able to delegate stuff out
And then
more,
they can help.
it's gonna be good to have someone that can
Keep
like
it together.
flow between everything.
I forget what you,
And what does it hurt?
You
If
make,
you don't, you
a
don't.
project
You
might
do.
take two
If
department
I need to
heads,
call
this
Eric,
person
I'll
has
call
to
Eric.
pull it.
If Eric's busy, I'll call whoever.
Let Karen talk, please. Y'all, wait, let Karen talk.
Okay, whatever. Let's keep going.
Go ahead, Karen. What,
Okay, when you guys have questions about stuff or you have ideas, you absolutely go to that department head. Staff doesn't take direction from you though. So if you need somebody corrected, if you feel like Eric did something wrong, you need to go through me and the admin
Oh, I feel like that all the time.
to have a
Put it on there.
conversation on this end. Because you guys can't start talking and correcting and doing things. You've got to come through here, then out. So that would be coming to that person. We would sit down, possibly, if it affects the overall, and it's not just, it's just development.
But we don't talk to people to correct what they're doing. We talk to people to collect information.
I know, I just said, if you have questions, you can go to anybody.
So like what she's saying is if like you and I really wanted to go and say, hey, we want to do an ordinance on 1 acre plot onlys now from here on out. That affects Eric, so then we have to go talk to Karen, give her the information, and then if it's something that we actually then need to talk to Eric about, then we set up a meeting and we start talking about it. What's the pros, cons, whatever.
Well, you definitely have to bring it to me, because we have to talk about it in a meeting before we
Yeah.
go
So
that
that's
direction.
that's what we're still talking about. And then the
Yeah.
other piece with that operations person right here between Eric and Karen would be
Okay.
Imagine
of help,
if all of
assist.
staff
They would
had
talk
to
to us.
answer to 6 people. Do y'all understand that?
yeah.
One may be saying, you go do this, the other one says, you go do that.
Mhm.
That just happened.
And that was me, and I've apologized
It wasn't
for it, and
just
it
you.
didn't, and I didn't,
No, no, no,
didn't mean it as direction. I was just
I know
speaking
you
in general.
didn't. I
But
know
I
you
understand that you gotta have clear lines and
Damn it, Dave.
I get all
Because
that.
Well, and that's the thing, is
I
if
reprimand
I tell staff to do something and then one of y'all tell them different, puts them in a weird place.
It does. It put us, that whole thing put us in a
It
way.
But we're
did.
past it.
So
Lesson learned.
We know that
Yeah.
now. So
Let's
when
move
I
on.
say a liaison between staff and council, that just means that this is a person that each of y'all could kind of go to and say, somewhere, get with whoever, like if this is Eric or whatever, let's get this done, right? That goes up this chain of command. But if you have questions for Eric, you want to go, hey, what are we doing with land use? And like, can this particular business go over here? Ask him.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's what I've done to Adam. I've come in here, and that's why I haven't come in yet to Eric to ask him questions,
Okay.
because I need to educate
I
myself.
give up on bullet point 3. Let's move on to 4.
Okay.
Okay, this is kind of duplicit from the very first one. I think we've handled it in the first one. I don't know that we need to repeat it in another bullet point.
I don't even know what that word means, but it sounds awesome.
Duplicit?
Duplicit? Is that what you said?
Repetitive.
Okay.
What?
Okay, so remove
Could've
number
just said
4,
repetitive.
coordinate and present, okay.
Implement mayor and city council.
Which one?
Hang
Number
on.
4?
Four,
Hang on.
four's gone.
No,
Okay.
no, number 4 is not the same. It's not duplicative.
Yeah, it
I'll
is.
try another word.
This has actions that he takes afterwards to carry out policy decisions that the council made during a meeting.
Implements the directives and initiatives and policies.
Well, we can just add that
Do
to
they have
number
authority
one.
to implement and direct anybody to do anything? I thought
Well-
we decided that they don't.
Only after we've said yay, nays.
Well, if we give
whatever.
him the authority in a meeting, then he does.
You'd have to
So
do
we can add that to number one and just add and implements city council's directives, initiatives, and
No,
policies.
number one is preparation of agenda items. Number two is do things somebody asked him to do.
This is
Or
all
number
about
four.
the agenda.
Implements the governing body's directives, initiatives, and
Well, you
policies.
can get rid of
You
that first
guys,
sentence, but the rest of it, that is what he's here for, right?
yes, it is actually, because if y'all,
So we just
you
need to get
say
rid of the
this is
first
what we
sentence.
want, that's the person who's gonna go do it.
Yep.
It
Get rid of
just
the
needs
first
to start with
sentence.
Mayor,
follow-up
there's nothing more than
actions.
oversight at
You
the
need to
end.
get rid of everything
gonna
down to
be
the
oversight.
end in that first sentence.
Just go implements
It needs to
mayor and
start with-
council's directives, initiatives, and
And
policies.
policies.
Okay.
Good with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, get everything.
I wasn't there,
first
so I don't
sentence
know what that
goes,
means.
And then
You don't know
implements.
what this means?
No.
And then the next one is, I hit on it. Are we,
And it
Yeah,
has to do with something with him, yes.
that's,
right now, this is an annual fiscal year, no, this is gonna be
It's not,
Eddie,
it's not
just
for
like you
TV,
did
it's
this
not for
time.
TV.
Right.
Rights proposals for new ordinances, resolutions.
So wait, 5 is yes or no?
We're still working on something, just flip to 5.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I thought,
5, we just scratched.
Five
Five
was
is
scratched
scratched.
because
Okay.
that would be Eddie on an annual basis to kind of recap everything, that would be whoever's in that finance
We're
role.
out of ink.
Okay.
The snapshot is on a monthly council basis, hey, here we are.
Okay, well, hang on, let's think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about this. Eddie's contract.
Mhm.
This guy's not gonna be contracted.
Yeah,
Why doesn't Eddie report to this guy? And let this guy do it?
because Deidre has to do all the stuff on the funding. And she has to prepare
Okay,
the
but teacher,
city's
is
budget.
teacher gonna make the
Because the
presentation, or we're gonna make
overall-
the contractor come in and make the presentation?
Until we have a treasurer and we don't have Eddie, I think
Well,
we've
this guy
got,
can wear more than one hat, he can do that too.
But do we want him to?
I'd rather have the
Yeah.
person who's doing the work make the
I
presentation.
don't necessarily think we need to hire an accountant
I'll
for
tell
this
you
job.
one reason we still have to do it this way, why he can't do this, the admin cannot do this, because.
All right, strike it.
Perfect.
All right, rights proposals for new ordinances, resolutions, and policies for city council and staff. I don't like policies,
Yeah,
and I don't think they need to do anything unless directed, so.
Well, these will all come up for our approval, right?
If this person sees a general problem that they have a solution for, you would want them to
Or it's a matter of
bring
adding.
you.
Well, if
the
they have to
problem
rewrite
solution.
an investment policy, they would be, that
The
the
ones that
only
would write it
thing
up.
that I require, or not require, request to add after staff is city attorney final approval.
Yeah.
Well, hang on.
Because the legal terminologies that's in some of our ordinances, the city attorney needs to sit there and have that final
Almost
look.
everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So-
this just says he's doing it for the city council.
Yeah, rights proposals for.
That's what we talked about
Okay.
earlier.
Yeah.
This is someone just saying, look, I see a problem,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you guys a solution, but you get to discuss it, and
We
then
can
you
make the
tell me what to
decision.
do.
Oh, I wasn't reading it that way, I was reading it that
Yeah, I was
we
writing.
want something
If we want
done,
something,
so he
we bring it
writes
to them.
for
So
us.
I don't
See,
go to
that's
the
the way I was
mayor.
reading it too.
Yeah,
That's
so
how
if we,
it's
if we wanted to do the 1 acre plots,
Well,
then
I
we
think
would go to them.
I think it needs to be
give
not
them the
just for us.
information.
I think it needs to be if there's an ordinance that Eric needs fixed.
Right, it says
For
staff.
staff.
It says
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, I
They
mean,
can, but by and large, I'll work on it my own with the city
Okay, so
attorney.
we're good with
He
that.
would go back
I'm
and
not,
forth
I,
with the court.
I think that's the other thing.
It's
We're
just
not
easier.
reading it as they just come up with their own stuff. Like, hey, I was driving around Gunner and I think we should
They
do
can
this.
come up with their own
They
stuff.
can, yes, but they
Yes.
still have to talk to us. But
Right.
it's more if Cindy wants something, if Alan wants something, if Eric needs something, you go to that person, not just the mayor. They go to that person, they get everything, they do whatever.
What
Put
we
your
talked
research together or research for you, with you, whatever, and then take it to the mayor and then take it
Right.
to.
Which we all know now,
So
still
I have-
ultimately have to come to us.
All right,
Right.
well, then I'm,
So we're good with
now
that.
that I don't like the way it's written because it is
Yeah.
confusing.
It is confusing.
So-
Awkward, yes.
But
What's
How
another,
about-
what's another term for like, when approached by?
How about
This-
work with city council and staff on proposals for new ordinances, resolutions, and policies, and work with the city attorney for final approval?
Well,
Just
that's
how
just,
about
that's kind
say
of a given, of
prepare-
course they're working with us. What I'm saying
prepare
is that this
with regards
person
to
can see a
new
problem,
ordinances,
propose a
resolutions,
solution,
policies.
it obviously
Yeah.
has to come to you guys. they would be the one then to go, and if y'all say, yeah, I want you to do this, and we're gonna vote on that, and now we're doing it, that person goes back and communicates back and forth with Courtney to get it back to me to sign, or
Right.
for you guys to
To
look
vote.
at, depending
Right.
on what
So
process.
how about works in concert
Yeah.
with the governing body and staff?
Well, how about
Or
support city
alongside.
council and staff for preparation
I like
of
that
new
even
ordinances?
better.
ready?
I like that.
There you
Even
go.
better.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
Support.
Will you write that down, William? so that we
I'm
can-
writing it down.
Okay.
Assist the city defense against,
Why is that in there?
I have no
Lawsuits, I'll
clue.
tell you why, because when we do have a lawsuit, somebody has to go gathering all the
Information.
background information through emails, the server. It sometimes have to go back and ask Deidre to look for stuff. It shouldn't be back on her,
Well, that's
that
not what it
administrative
says.
person. Assist with the, well,
City defense
defense
against
maybe,
lawsuit. Just change the wording and change the
It's-
sentence.
Just
with
say.
gathering information.
Just say, carry out assigned duties that result from lawsuits
Yes.
as assigned by city attorney.
This makes it sound like they're gonna. be
Assist
sitting
the
in
staff
court.
and city
Yeah.
attorney with any updates on pending lawsuits.
yeah, this is gonna be someone that's constantly talking to the attorney about where we are and what needs to be ready for you guys.
What's the difference with what you just said with what is written here?
Assist the city defense against lawsuits.
Would be assist.
It's like, am I gonna be sitting in court with them?
Might be.
Might be.
I think
Why-
so.
Well, I'll tell
TEC's
you,
involved.
here's one of the things, right now, we have a lawsuit or had a lawsuit, and TML assigned an attorney to it. That person coming back and forth is it's my job to make sure that we're on top of that. We keep it on our project calendar, like, what's up with this? Do I need to take something new to council? That person needs
So
to
then
be
it
able
needs
to
to say
update you
coordinate
guys.
statuses of lawsuits, but that's what he's gonna do. But this sounds like, if we wanna know what's going on with a lawsuit, we gotta go to this guy instead of Courtney.
He could be coordinating depositions, he could be,
Why would he coordinate depositions?
Well,
No, he wouldn't do that.
well, no,
Yeah,
he
the
could
more-
be,
the
he
more
could be
that-
digging
This is
into our
not a
order.
lawyer.
Okay,
No, but the more
He could
that
be
he
digging-
can do the legwork,
Again,
the less
it's a
we're paying
liaison
Courtney to do
between the
legwork.
TML attorney and all of us.
Well, then
It's someone who can
let's
have
say
this
that.
conversation.
Let's say acts as liaison and support function for city
City
secretary and TML and city attorney. I don't know.
In other words, let this person do the legwork so that we're not paying Courtney to do it.
acts as a
But if they're gonna be
liaison.
calling
This
Courtney all the
guy
time,
is
the
not
bill's
an
not going
officer
away.
of the city.
No,
You
but
can't
if
have
Courtney
any
needs
privileged
everything put
information
together,
on a
then this
lawsuit.
person's gonna spend 3 hours to put it together instead of Courtney doing it.
William has a good point.
You guys have made this guy not an officer. He cannot have any privileged information in a lawsuit.
Well, Parks and Rec and Development have that information.
If we're pertinent to it, because we're part of the lawsuit.
I'm
If there
the
was some of
one that
lawsuit,
has
nothing
it all.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
So TML's been contacting me.
So what do you need in this bullet point?
I don't know.
What would this person do for you? And what do you want off your plate that this person will pick up?
There's nothing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm
I
still the
mean, if
city
we can't
secretary.
just
There's
immediately
not.
spit it
So
out,
we can scratch
this is what
that
we
one?
need.
This needs to be.
I
struck.
just feel that the lawsuits, I just don't feel that this
Address it
person would be
as it
addressing
comes.
any of this
Yeah.
because they're gonna
Okay.
come,
Or
if they don't come to
handling
me,
it.
they're going to the mayor and the city
So
attorney.
we can scratch that one.
Okay.
So number 7's gone.
Where's your numbers?
I'm numbering them because nobody numbered them because somebody made bullets. I'm numbering them. So number 5 is the top of the page. We can work the way down.
Prepares reports to the public, negotiates contracts and other agreements with outside agencies as requested by the mayor, analyzes contract proposals and reviews formal bids, and coordinates bid awards with the city council.
I don't like the negotiation part.
Well, you want Karen to do
Negotiates on your
that?
behalf.
No, well, Karen
You can
can do it.
negotiate, but you
Eric
can't
negotiates all the contracts and stuff that's going on.
With
It-
development, but what
Yeah.
if there's something else? What if
Limited
we
to-
get,
you-
what if we're getting a new, let's just say,
William's got a good
what if we're
point.
getting a new
He's-
website? Or
he's
what if we're
limited.
getting the fiber?
Or what if we're
Right,
buying a
well-
parking lot for $5 over the asking
I agree with
price?
William. What needs to be added
That's
is
development.
limited to negotiation.
negotiates.
That's not
that.
this person's role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
I think
this
it's
whole thing-
between them and the
Yeah.
mayor.
That one I'd say you could strike out, prepares reports and negotiation.
Prepares reports to the public, that person's gonna do this. Negotiates contracts and other agreements with outside agencies, that person is going to be a part of that process. If we wanna get our trash back, that person's gonna sit down with Cheryl and do it. and say, hey, what's the best you can give me?
Yeah,
Then,
he needs to negotiate and then bring it to the city council and say, here's what I
Yes.
got, here's the deal that I worked out. And we
That's
say,
right.
we say great or no, go back and get a better deal.
Right.
So then should it
Limited
be-
to negotiate.
should it
To
be-
negotiate.
But no approval.
But as requested by the mayor or the governing body?
Yeah.
Governing body, which is the same thing, on this type of a subject.
the deal is that that person's not talking to you guys on a day-to-day basis. I'm responsible for them on a day-to-day basis, and then we work together, because I can only bring you stuff when we're all together.
Well, so the mayor can say, hey, go get a deal from these guys, see what kind of terms you
Yeah,
can
and
get,
then
right?
I'm gonna say, I don't
Then
think
we
they're
bring
gonna
it-
like that,
Then they
or
bring
I
it
think they're gonna like
back.
this.
But the guy's gonna, and this is how
That's
it
the
would work
labor.
anyway. He's gonna be dealing with these people and say,
Right.
okay, we've got something worked out, let me take it to city council, see if I can get it approved.
Yes.
That's right.
Or they may need to call somebody during the day. It
Yeah.
needs to be that person, not me.
Okay, but this really ought to be 2 bullet points, because this has nothing to do with prepare reports to the public.
No.
No, that's a different bullet point.
Yeah, this is 2 different, I'm gonna just put a paragraph marker in here.
What does that look like?
But preparing, reports to the public, absolutely do that. That means when we come to a meeting, or if we need to put something out to give to our website person to post
So this is 8
a
and
press
9.
release or something, then that person, I can say, hey, I want you to talk about, hey, we've got 2 positions open on our boards. Go ahead and put out something that lets everybody know we actually have open positions.
So Alan, follow along with me. The 4th bullet is now items 8 and 9.
Okay, cool. These
I
are
just put another
combined.
dot next to it.
These are
So I got
combined.
2 dots.
I do want somebody to look at contracts before they bring them to us. And then I will look at them before we
Yeah.
bring them to y'all. And obviously, you're the final say. So, formal bids, coordinates bids, awards with the city. A lot of times you have to do that because if we go out for, like the RFQ for drainage, the only reason it's still sitting there is because we were waiting, we wanted a grant. We were too rich to get the grant. Now we can move forward with choosing somebody. We don't have to wait anymore because if you are waiting on a grant and you might get it, if you move forward, you just lost the grant.
Yeah.
So we just found out that we're not gonna get the grant. And I think Adam told us that at the last meeting before last, that we might be too rich for this. There are a
Yes,
lot of
he did.
other cities that might, well, we know that now, and so now we can move forward.
Gunner is too rich for a
The
grant.
median income is
The median income is very high.
Oh,
$160,000.
the people of Gunner are
The
too
people
rich
are
for a
gonna,
grant.
yeah, I'm gonna. So we don't qualify for that rural grant that somebody else was more qualified for.
Tioga
Now,
would.
we don't have to wait on the grant anymore
Yeah.
because we know the outcome, now we get to move forward with the RFQ
Van Alstyne would.
and choose one. So that's just that is something though that the administrator would stay on top of, always be kept in the loop, would update me on a weekly meeting or something so that I can make sure I have it ready for y'all when it's ready,
Mhm.
right? And that's what I mean by providing the oversight and vision. If somebody gets to sit down with that
What bullet are
person,
you on? Because I'm not reading oversight.
10, 11, and 12.
I'm saying coordinating bid awards is what I was talking about.
We're on 10.
That person does coordinate that stuff. Then we go to investigate the affairs of the city or any department or division of, including all complaints related to matters concerning the administration of the government of the city and public services. The findings reported to the mayor. I mean, that goes back to if we're having problems as a city, or you gotta also think, the citizens, when they call in, they gotta have somebody to go to. That's an administrative position. Otherwise, they come up here looking for Eric and hammering him for something.
Of course they do.
9
Like
times out
happened
of
this
10, they
week.
don't know who they really need. They got a problem. They want
Sometimes they
somebody
just
to
wanna
talk
yell.
to.
I'd rather them yell at this person, because that's the person that's kind of coordinating
So we're
everything.
gonna include a
Then they
PR
come in.
component in the job.
Yeah.
Do what?
Yeah,
Well,
public relations.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Well, yeah, because
You would
that
be the
way,
very first
Yeah.
person they contact.
Like
so
when I
they
had
can
a problem
actually
with
be
the water
directed.
stuff coming in from the meadows, I had to come up here and talk to Chafin and Gallagher to say, you guys are coming through a creek.
right, you want that person who can just
Yeah.
kind of go, and that person may say, oh, okay, that's definitely
Yeah.
Eric's
a land
fine.
use issue.
And
And
then
that
also,
person will
there's
take it
also
to-
an IG
to
component
Eric.
here.
That helps keep people from coming to public comment and airing complaints without actually having any.
Well, and since we
Valid
don't have
information.
public comment anymore, yes, we need that person there to.
That somebody has to be there to answer citizen
Okay,
concerns
but
and
wouldn't
things like that.
wouldn't they make their findings reported to the whole council, not just to the mayor?
So if somebody
Depends on what
calls,
it
if
is.
somebody,
They would
if somebody
come to
has a
me,
problem
and then I
and
would
calls
bring it
me,
to
she can
y'all.
bring it to us.
Mike, you want to hear every time somebody's gutter is
I don't think y'all
full of
wanna-
leaves?
Well, if
Someone's dog's barking and they don't
like their
If
Wi-Fi
somebody wants
service.
to, if somebody has a problem and calls me, then it gives me somebody who I can call
Let me
within the
give you an
city that
example.
actually can handle it from there.
Let me give you a quick
We'll go with-
example.
we'll go with
When you
mayor.
move into a home,
Don't oversell it. Let's go on. Let's take it like it is.
take away from.
I got a hard
Take the
stop
lead.
at one, so.
okay,
Recommend to the mayor measures deemed necessary or expedient for the health, safety, or welfare of the city or for the improvement of public services of the city to achieve greater. So this is if I see something that could be more efficient, I should bring it up.
Yep.
Okay, let's go with that one. Everybody good with that one?
Yep.
Yep.
Assist the mayor and insist the city council in the development of municipal policies and regulations. So-
again, it is the mayor, because we're gonna bring it to you for your discussion. The mayor tells us what to do, and then we're gonna go do it, and then we're gonna bring it back to you.
Once the mayor approves it, and we get it with the public. She's the preview. The mayor's the preview to it.
First door, or the last door.
Well, you're the decision makers.
Yeah.
But that
Last
person
door.
needs to bring it to me, because we have to talk about it. Is it ready to go on the
Right,
agenda? Do
let's
y'all
just
want
say,
us
let's
to
just
waste
say
your time?
assist in the development of municipal policies and regulations and leave out who.
That's fine.
That's fine too.
Okay. Update and standardize policies and procedures to improve efficiency and effective operations.
Great.
Assist with the preparation of the annual budget.
What? No, we're on assist the mayor with, oh yeah,
No.
sorry, I didn't see the mayor. Assist with the preparation. Okay,
Assist the mayor with the preparation of the annual.
okay.
We're just gonna lose the mayor part of it.
Attend.
Could we not add and staff? Because they're
Well,
gonna have to come to the
we're just
gonna
department
take
heads.
out the mayor. We're just gonna say
This
assist.
person will
Assist.
absolutely
Okay.
assist me.
Right,
Okay.
let's just take the mayor out of it, just so that
Okay.
it's.
Are we taking turns reading bullet items, or are we just,
What?
I felt like we were
I know,
taking,
that's what I thought too.
we
like,
were taking turn reading
it's now
bullet
your
items, I
turn
just
to
wanted to know
read.
if I got it.
Oh
in
yeah,
turn.
you
Yeah,
you
when
can
we-
you
when
can
are
do the
you
next one,
here?
Eric.
Yeah.
When
When are you
is
gonna
necessary
participate?
board and commission meetings with Eric?
With
Yes.
Eric, we're gonna add with Eric in there.
No, don't put with Eric, because who knows, it could be someone else.
With appropriate department.
We don't need to
Well,
put
it just-
anything
it
there.
just says necessary, yeah.
Sustains or improves staff performance by evaluating, no.
No.
That's gotta go.
Nope.
It's 15 is the one I circled, sustain and improve staff. Yeah, this would not be this guy's job.
No, it's not.
So
We
just
don't want
strike-
them to have any hire,
so
fire.
Strike 16 completely.
They
And I
would look at me
hate
differently.
the next one. Demonstrates confidence, accessibility, approachableness, and is grounded public servant.
That's
With
That's not a
bullshit.
responsibility, that's a qualification.
So
You
You
guys-
guys
Yeah.
are the opposite of the Snickers guy. I swear to God, we started out like everybody was starving to death, and now everybody's moving and going along.
Delegates,
Well, that one was on the original one, and I didn't like
Okay,
it.
this one
yeah,
I've circled.
delegates authority for pertinent administrative tasks to various departments and resolves conflicts. Acts as a focal point for distribution of information. I'd like that.
I don't, because it
Gives them power.
delegates authority.
Okay.
And as a department head, if him and I are having issues, we have to go to the mayor. I'm not going to this
So
person
how
to
about-
solve our
This person
issue.
is- worried about-
Just
So how about
strike-
just take off the first sentence and say acts as a focal point for distribution of information to applicable staff?
Written or
Yeah,
oral.
acts as a focal point for distribution of
Staff
information.
and-
Strike
written
the
or oral,
first sentence.
Yeah.
to
and
applicable staff and agency volunteers.
Govern, no, we don't have it. Do we have agency volunteer? Oh yeah, I guess we do, the fire department. Okay.
Yeah, if we have any problems with conflicts, that's what we have Danny for.
Yeah, number 19 is a big stickler too.
Yeah.
That one's loaded with explosives.
Supervises
Cut
the
that.
coordination of all municipal activities and the
No.
interpretation
Just
of policy for staff, because
No.
y'all can't understand it.
Recommend appointments, no.
So
So
let's
we're
strike,
striking
let's
those.
strike 19
Represent,
completely.
Are we
strike,
saving $1,000 a
strike 20.
year on each one of these?
Represents
Shit
the
in
city.
120 grand, right?
Strike, recommend,
20.
and
Represent,
then
represent,
the city.
represents the city and conducts meetings with the citizens, private groups, and other members of the community. And just take off that last one, enthusiastically embraces the culture. And
What is
So
that?
is this, is
it
this?
says embraces the residents. Does that mean we have
No,
to
but I
find
mean,
a
the first
hugger?
part, the first part,
21
is
is
this,
good.
is this where we would want them to be
Which one's 21?
required? Represents the city, is this where we want them to be required to show up for county meetings?
This would be county meetings, this person would
No,
be
this
on
would
the
be like-
library.
like
board. This person
town
would be
hall.
on.
This may be something like an HOA says, hey, I'd
Right.
like somebody from the city to come in and talk
Yeah.
about this. That would be the
That's
person
what
we
I'm.
send.
Yeah.
Or the
reading into this.
chamber.
Yeah.
This goes back
Or
to
the
that
chamber, or
TR
something
rule.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
TR.
PR.
Serves the community by presenting programs to civic organizations. Yep, that was
Say
good.
PR.
Also PR.
So
Provide
take that out?
adequate, no, 22 is good, right?
Must create and foster a positive work environment
Nah,
and working
blah,
relationship
blah.
with any organization and entity. That is just.
That's not an
That
essential
doesn't
position.
say anything, so let's strike 23.
What page are we on, William?
We're on
Third.
page 3,
Number one.
first bullet, which is gonna be item number 24.
Prepares
Thank you, sir.
annual budget recommendations based on all data submitted by all department heads, including the capital expenditure items consistent with council-approved short and long-range plan, submits budget recommendations, including justifications, to the council for approval, files appropriate budget with the appropriate authorities and administrators' approved budget.
Okay, so this came from Catherine also, but this was more geared toward a city manager form of government. I'm the budget officer now. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I got back. So I'm responsible for it, but I will have that person
Well,
go
that's
gather
already
stuff.
Covered in the other bullet.
I think it is already covered. This
But
is
I'm
an
the one that has
additional
to
one.
sign and submit
Right,
it
you
to the
don't-
county, not this
Not
person.
Right.
Right. So no,
strike
pull that
this
out.
one.
That should have never been in the first one, honestly.
See,
Because some of
that's,
that was Deidre's.
this was part of my problem with the
Well,
original, when
You
we
got-
talked about it.
This still has to get done. So it could be assist mayor. with-
We already,
already-
it's already in
the-
here.
it's
We
already
did it
voted.
in that first page or second page or something,
Which
yes.
bullet is it in?
It's in, it's one
Assist
of
the
these.
mayor in the development, no,
Which bullet number?
Give us a number.
1, 2,
Assist
3,
the mayor
4,
with
5,
preparation
6,
of the
7,
annual
8.
budget.
It's about
The annual
number
budget.
10 or 11.
Investigate the affairs of the city?
No,
Recommend-
assist with the preparation of the
recommend
annual,
measures deemed necessary?
assist with the preparation of the annual budget.
Where do you see that?
It's like on the
The bullets aren't
second
numbered.
Oh,
page.
right here, number 14.
Yeah.
They are numbered.
You numbered them.
Yeah, I have number 13, but we'll, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay,
Remember-
14.
Remember 8 and 9, there's 2 items.
develops
8 and
and
9 was
and executes
one item
organizational and strategic plans, performs financial analysis of budgets.
Okay, so we got 14 already, so we don't need 24, we can strike 24.
Okay,
So 25, second bullet on this third page.
Okay.
Develops and executes organizational and strategic plans.
no,
That's horseshit.
Performs financial analysis of budget and forecast. Forecast to formulate recommendations.
Did Kamala write this one?
yeah, no.
Courses of, it's
Set-
in my head, it's worse than reading statutes.
Okay.
Directs preparation and release of,
We're gonna scratch that one,
Yeah,
right?
it's just a word salad, the whole entire thing.
Set goals and participate in future planning that will ensure the city's infrastructure is sound and that city finances remain in the black.
Yeah,
Recommend capital
They're not gonna set
improvement.
goals, they're gonna have goals set for them.
yeah.
How about,
They're
So
going
how about
implement
to
just
participate.
How about-
Implement goals.
They're gonna participate, just lose the
implement
first.
goals?
Well,
No,
this
just-
person may set goals based on what y'all told them you want.
Yeah.
But that's our goal that they're going to implement, so it would only be participate in
So
future
they're gonna set a
planning.
goal.
So just
for
put
everything.
goals
Let me give you an
and put that.
example.
Lose
Goals
lose the
Y'all
whole set
say-
goals and just participate.
Recommends capital improvement projects.
yeah, that's
Just
fine.
Get
I'm
rid
cool
of,
with
get rid of
that.
the word set goals
Achieve
and
any
just
goals,
put participate in future planning.
Participate in
When they
future
tell
planning.
somebody, this is what we want, go do it, I expect and I want to see that admin person set goals that we need to achieve to get the project done. That's what I mean by setting goals.
But we're gonna set those goals.
We're gonna set the goals, they're going to execute.
No.
They're gonna execute on those goals.
Here's the other
Okay,
thing.
you're gonna say, we're gonna do.
Think of it
I
like
want the
a
Christmas
so-and-so.
decorations in the.
Well, I think this
in the
goal means
park,
milestones.
And I want it done by
I
the
mean,
23rd.
more like milestones to keep us on
But we
Think of
track.
it like a
just tell him
project
how to
manager.
do his
Dave,
job,
like a
but just need to
project
tell him what
manager.
needs to get done.
Yes, and I expect him to sit down, a timeline of when he's gonna get it done and how,
Okay,
or
so-
she.
Like a project manager.
Okay, but so we can.
Well, that's what
A
this kind of
project
is.
PR,
This is
Honestly,
kind of a
this
project.
administrator,
Yeah.
that's what an administrator
chief of
is a
staff,
project
project
manager.
Not
manager,
chief of-
personal assistant.
Yeah, I don't like chief of staff because it
PR.
suggests that
Grab
they
me a
get to
cup
tell
of
them what to
So
do.
let's, so
I need a cup of coffee, PR person.
So that we can strike those first 3 words and it still has the same effect.
Have some jelly beans.
I don't need a
So we can strike the first 3 words on that bullet and it has the effect that
Participate in
is
future
desired.
planning.
Yes. There you go.
Here's the other thing to some of
I'm
the
glad you
stuff.
guys
Do you guys
finally
still
got
look
me.
at your
just
requirements
showed
when
up.
you got hired someplace?
No.
And say, hey, boss, I'm doing more than this one.
Oh,
Other-
No.
Other
They're
duties
very
is
vague.
assigned.
So they're gonna have to
Sure.
also,
I
just
hate
throwing
the
this
word
out there
boss.
for everyone, and I'm glad because I get to say it now because we're calming down and we're almost to the end.
Yes.
They're gonna have to put on more hats than what's descripted in here,
Absolutely.
and
We're gonna add a
That's
bullet.
called other
know,
duties
That's
as
called other
assigned.
duties as assigned.
team
Yes.
abilities and qualifications, team worker, things like that. So
And again, it does
Okay.
say to complement our staff, not to rule over
yes, we
our
want them to
staff.
walk around and say that is a beautiful purple shirt,
Okay.
periwinkle
So we
shirt.
got the, all right, so now
Lavender.
we're on
She is.
prepares and recommends long-range plans for city services programs and develops specific proposals for action on current and future city
Sounds
needs.
great, somebody's thinking about that, and that's a good thing.
Hang on, but they need to work in concert. They don't need to say, hey, here's what we're gonna do long range and hand that to Eric.
Okay,
They gotta
suggest-
work in concert with the staff on, hey, this is what I'm thinking.
Okay, so we just need to add the word suggestions, prepares and recommends suggestions.
With staff,
long-term
long-range plans.
Yeah.
Just with staff.
Just
It
add
says
those-
recommends, so that implies that
Prepares
it's
and
not. It
prepares
doesn't say
and recommends with
demands, it
staff.
says recommends.
But who are you gonna recommend it to?
Us,
To me.
governing body.
It
they
would come
report
to me and,
Yeah.
and other department heads to bring to y'all.
Do you want them to do that without talking to Eric? Hey, that bum
Well,
in the
that's what I'm
purple
saying
shirt,
is-
I think we ought to do this.
Prepares and
No,
recommends
well, if it
long.
has to do with development, land usage, or zoning, that person would automatically need to go to Eric,
Okay.
as opposed to me, and then.
City service programs.
Okay, guys.
And develop specific proposals for action on current, future city.
Well, a city
needs.
service
So y'all-
program could be Meals on Wheels.
Y'all-
It could be built,
I think we can fix it with just one word.
okay.
Just add facilitates at the beginning. Facilitates preparation and recommendation of long-term plans.
Okay.
That way they're working with and not directing.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll have to-
Manages
you'll have to change
effective-
the form of those other words afterwards, but
Manages effectively and efficiently transition within the departments, i.e.
No.
employee turnover.
I don't even know what that
I didn't
means.
know that you could have like
No,
two words.
it's
with
not a
no Y at the
manager.
end of them in
This
one
isn't a
sentence.
manager. I mean, this
Take
is
that
not.
out.
Strike
If my
it.
court
could
clerk,
say,
if the
I
court
expect
clerk
you to do
quits,
something
it's gonna be
effective
my
and
problem,
efficiently.
not
Right.
hers.
That's right. That's right.
Ensure city compliance with state, federal, local, everybody should have that in their job description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serves as emergency management preparation and implementation.
What does that mean?
It's gonna take over for Karen as the emergency management person.
That would never happen.
Okay.
By
Well,
law,
that's
I
what-
am the emergency.
So
I was
what-
gonna say,
so
that
what
thing
is
can't
it?
happen.
That can't happen.
Yeah.
So what does it
Tim.
mean, Karen?
That's the pro tem that's.
By law, I am the emergency management director.
That is
By
correct.
law, I can either take that on myself, which I would never do. I have assigned and appointed a coordinator, that is Chief John Logan, because if we have an emergency disaster, he's the best person
Right.
to coordinate that.
Okay.
And we are at the mercy, we get to do nothing on our own. Judge Dawsey is my boss. He tells me to do something, I don't
Yeah,
care.
that's a
I
lot
have
of
to do it.
consonants and vowels.
He
That
outranked
should
me.
have never been in this.
So this says serves as
No, that came
required.
from Gibson's
I
last
know.
deal,
No, so
because
we-
he wanted
just
that in
strike
there.
that. Just
Okay.
strike
No, I need-
All right, so now we have a
That
job
was-
Okay, so
description.
how many bullets did we start with, William?
Well, we had a total of 30. We added 31, which was other duties as assigned, and we struck about half of them. So,
What's the count?
let me
Do
count the
attorneys
ones
do
that are
that?
left. Let me go back.
You struck
It's
12.
16. And I want to go
16.
back. I want to go back to the first paragraph real quick too, because
We struck.
Oh, man, that's the one that hung us up for 2
just the
hours.
very first paragraph, general
No, the
purpose.
paragraph, not the first
Oh, the
one.
general
okay.
purpose, okay.
I don't. Could we please change explosive growth to the verge of significant growth?
Yes.
Okay.
Where do you
And
find
then
that?
on
I wrote
administrator,
it.
General purpose, first paragraph.
administrator
it.
to complement our leadership staff.
Oh, yeah, this.
I would
is
just
more-
say anticipating significant growth.
Okay. Well, I'm going to suggest that this paragraph isn't even necessary.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is, to
Why?
complement
Because we
staff.
need to
Directs the
attract
day-to-day
people
operation
to the
of the
job.
city.
You don't, when you put a
boy.
job ad out there, you don't just say, here's what you're gonna do for us. You need to give them a little
Okay,
flavor
then
of
why can't we
things.
just say Gunner is a growing general law city instead of that stupid verge of
That
explosive?
sounds like an
That's what
attorney.
Eric said.
I think that's attractive. I think that's, because we are on the verge of significant growth.
But not
Not
explosive.
explosive.
Okay, we'll change
Explosive
it.
is scary.
Okay, we'll change it to
Explosive
significant.
does sound scary.
But it will attract somebody who's not afraid of that.
Well, significant is the word us planners use. So if you please
Significant
just-
is good.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll change that to significant.
And then I think complement our leadership staff, because they're not there
Can we not
to
use
complement
passive
our
voice in this stuff?
second tier
Can we just-
staff that are
can we
helping us
see-
support staff.
Right.
They're us.
You have to. You can't, you're not supposed to use first person. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're using passive voice, just instead of we are looking, we seek A. We
Dave
seek
doesn't
A.
like this.
Oh, God, see.
How's that?
Hold
Change
on.
it. That, it makes sense. It's okay.
We are
We are,
seeking.
that's what we always say we are looking for.
Why
I use that every
four
day.
words when you can use one?
This
And there's
isn't-
actually about
we
6
don't
more
pay per
letters.
word.
He's trying to save some consonants and vowels.
Oh
We
my
need to
God.
strike city administrator.
We seek a position to
I-
complement our staff. We don't even know what we're gonna call
Let
it.
Vanna go.
I'm
She-
good.
What,
I
what
just
is
wanna-
your thing, Eric?
Mine was, the only thing I had, you know, I don't, seeking, I've seen it both ways lots of times. I've seen it other ways too, but I'm not even bring it up because it doesn't matter. But I just want to change verge of explosive growth to
Got
significant
that.
growth. And then I'd like to see leadership staff, complement our leadership staff.
What, are you gonna say this person is a leader? That's what you're calling this
They
person
better
a
be
leader?
they better be on par with
They're-
me or they're not going to be able to keep up. And I'll
They're
roll
ahead of
them
their own
over, so
department.
whatever.
Okay,
Of one? Okay, leadership staff. In this role, you will direct day-to-day operations of the city, formulate ordinances and regulations, assist the mayor in developing a city budget, and monitor expenditures.
Are they gonna formulate?
they're not
Yeah.
gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Unless you want Courtney to do all of it, yes,
Yes.
because it's kind of a,
Courtney's gonna have to look at any ordinance.
She has to
She
read
does,
it.
but she doesn't build it
You
up.
write it.
She was
I
in
would
the
rather
fire
us
department.
build it and then her say, nope,
Right.
yes, nope, yes, because her time is quite expensive. And ordinances are very similar, it's the whereas, they can put all that together.
If we're gonna
Then
pay
she
this
can go
person,
in
we
and-
need to keep them busy.
It'll never come to
We ain't paying
you
them
without
that.
Courtney's
What I'm saying is-
endorsement.
Okay, but they're not
Courtney's a
gonna
whole lot more
direct the
than that.
day-to-day operations. They're gonna be
But
involved
if
in
this person
them,
is on
but
the
they're not
phone,
gonna direct
if
them.
our bill goes up because this
Well,
person's.
no, they would
We're
only be putting
involved.
everything together.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, I
this
don't
role,
like that.
So, yeah,
Is
so-
the role will
Deidre's
direct the
directing
day-to-day.
day-to-day operations.
That's not Deetra's role, she's her own entity. She does not need everybody else's problems. This person will coordinate and direct. Something comes in, they're gonna say, oh, that's Eric's job. Something comes in, oh, that's our city
Okay,
secretary,
so
I'm not gonna
That's not
overstep my
what-
You
bounds.
change from will direct to will coordinate. You don't
There
put
you go.
direct.
Okay,
That's
right.
coordinate.
Coordinate.
Okay, got it?
Kumbaya.
Okay. Formulate ordinances and assist the manager in developing a city budget and monitor expenses. You will serve as representative of the city of Gunner on city, county, regional, and state boards and professional organizations that will benefit the city in its ongoing development. Other duties as assigned.
Well, he may serve as
May serve,
representative.
because a lot of stuff,
Has to be an elected official.
Yeah, you can get out there and just
Okay.
start spending money on membership
Chapin
licenses.
was doing
Right,
that.
yeah.
He was going all over the place.
Okay.
We save so much money getting out of crap we don't need.
Okay, so y'all good
Box
with
tops.
it? Y'all good with the top
Yes.
paragraph?
Yes.
Chapin's favorite was
We got all
TMS.
those
Too much.
changes.
Okay, let's talk,
Yep.
let's talk about,
Take a position,
I'm gonna type all
leadership.
this up and send it to y'all.
Gibson
Can
did.
we take the other one off of everything else?
We can make an amendment, leave it alone.
I would like to replace it with
No,
something
you have
better.
to, you have to
But
remove
until
it.
we get this done, because what's on there right now is trash. We just went through it.
Was this on TML? Because I looked, I didn't see
It's
all
on
these bullet
TML,
points.
so that's the question, is
It's
it's,
like every piece of spacing and returns and paragraphs got collapsed.
That
into
was
one
because when
big
Deetra
block.
loaded it, it was an issue with TML. That's not on her
That's not on.
or
yeah.
us.
It's
No.
their
That is
format.
TML's platform.
I'm talking about the content.
That-
Well, we should have uploaded a PDF. Did we upload a Word doc?
That's
It would
how
not
they-
let
they don't
me-
let
it
you do
won't
that.
let it.
That's
1,000
how it
times
works.
before, she knows what she's doing. It's a TML issue, not a Deetra issue. It
and
looks terrible.
Okay.
Mayor and I were talking, so just let you know that there's applications that's already come in. I think we have 9.
It would be worth us
Well,
sending.
and they
And-
may still be interested. They
Right,
may
but the
not.
deadline is the February the 21st.
So
I'm
let's,
closing it on the 21st.
Can we
So
not,
let's
so
do
we
this.
can't do anything in
legal,
between?
so.
The only thing I can do is I can go on to TML, make y'all's revisions,
Yeah.
and then,
And those-
Upload it again?
Do we
And
have
what-
to?
no, it's
No,
gonna let me
wait,
go
hold
in there,
on,
it's all in Word, it's
hold
gonna
on.
let me
Those
back
who-
it
Do we
out.
have to
on,
notify the
hold
people
on.
that have already
Yes.
said their
Hold
I'll
on.
put in a call or
Hold
something,
on.
just to say, hey, we
Hold on.
restructured.
Well, if I
Hold
do,
on.
then it goes back
No,
30 more days.
Stop. You cannot post a job and then change it in the middle of the posting. You have to close it and reopen it.
Absolutely.
You absolutely cannot do that.
No, we'll shut it down.
So we'll shut it down,
And
we'll
what I said,
contact.
I'll contact the
That's
people
what
that
I
are there,
said
I'll
we need to
explain
happen on
this,
Tuesday,
so that at least
and all
it comes
these
from
can come
me,
down, because it was a
that we
cluster.
made some changes as a governing body.
Right,
I
and we'll
apologize
post
for the
it soon.
confusion,
Send it to
but
those
we
9
will be
people.
putting this back up. If you're still interested, apply again. Not a big deal. I've
Right.
saved your application. If you're still interested, let me know.
Right.
There's like 8 or 9. 8. I think one came straight to me, which I don't like at all.
It might change
Go
when we
through
change the
process.
salary.
Really
Right.
makes me mad when
Yeah.
people try to go
Now
around
we'll
it.
take this,
Yeah,
put
don't
in
like
the
that.
employee manual, the actual position descriptions,
Okay.
right?
Okay,
Let's-
we're not done with the first paragraph, because that last sentence needs to go, because we added that as a job duty. It's not.
I think it's okay to come,
It doesn't go under general
reiterate it?
purpose.
I agree, it doesn't go under general purpose. It's
all
just-
right, take it off. Okay, now, let's talk about the qualifications, and let me explain to
Hang on,
you.
What about supervision received? Are we gonna do this one at a time?
All right,
We're gonna go through the whole thing, let's do it. in
supervision
order.
received, this position reports directly to the governing body.
Well, city council and
City
everybody, the
council?
same thing, whichever
Okay.
one you wanna say.
You just can't say mayor and.
Let's just
Governing
consistently
body.
say the same thing.
Supervision exercise, can we just X that whole chapter out there, Deidre?
Well, is that where we're putting it?
They're not reporting, they're not gonna have anybody reporting to them, can we just scratch
What am I
that?
looking at?
Supervisor.
No, what
We're
we
back
would
to
do
page
is,
one.
if you wanna scratch it, we'll just put
No,
none.
I do.
Wait a minute.
Because
You
it'll
can't
be,
just take off this whole thing?
no, because they're gonna wanna know, you have to leave that on there.
Just
And,
change.
and
city
you put
council
the,
to
and you just,
governing
if you're
body.
not gonna give them the supervisor, you mark it
Okay,
out, and
just
you
put
literally
none.
put none.
None.
As long as we use them consistently.
I know. So we just use, and you wanted governing body, not mayor, not city council.
No, I wanted to not say city council and mayor.
Right.
It's redundant.
Okay, are we good done with that?
Yes,
No, which do you want? City council, is that what you're saying? 'Cause
Y'all
I
want
gotta-
city council or governing body?
I like governing body.
Y'all
I
been
like
putting
that.
governing body down here in the
Governing body?
And
bottom.
we'll go
Is
with
everybody
I
that.
make a
good with
motion for
governing body?
governing body.
Okay,
Second.
governing body. Everywhere it says city council, say governing body.
Okay.
Because it's known per law that there's that mayor, alderman, executive branch, legislative. That's common knowledge. As a whole, that person reports to all of us.
Okay, let's-
Governing body.
Okay, let's talk about the qualifications, and let me explain to you why they are like they are. Because originally, the required was all of this was required, and you're not gonna find anybody like that. So, this gives us more freedom to hire who we want.
And you can do that
What page are
anyway.
you on?
There, now we're on the back.
Page 3.
Can we please go through this line by?
We
line?
did,
We
we already did.
We went through,
Essential duties and responsibilities,
We
there's a
just-
bunch of italics here.
Okay.
Y'all skipped right over that.
Okay, the duties listed below are intended only as an illustration of the various types of work that may be performed. The omission of specific statements or
Hang on, what does
duties.
that mean? That means that this could be completely nothing and you're reading all this for no purpose because we don't actually mean any of it?
how about we just get rid of the
Teacher.
italics?
This is standard language,
This
isn't
is
it?
standard, and this is standard.
Well, I'm good with the omission of specific statements or duties doesn't exclude them from the position. But I don't like the if the work is similar, related to, or illogical. Who decides that?
Might be me. I might ask them to do something.
Just
They go,
strike
"This
that
is
last
not-"
line.
But then
Well,
again,
we
you're
have
saying
to
other
leave it
duties is
open.
assigned, so you're already covering
No,
that.
strike
What is
that
this?
last line. Of those 3 lines, strike that last line and just put a period after position.
Position?
Yeah,
After
so that it no
performed.
longer says if.
Because
And so on.
if the work is similar, related, or logical assignments to
Okay.
the position, you're already saying other duties
Yeah,
is assigned.
okay.
so it
Yeah.
says-
All right,
Yeah.
now can we
I agree
go?
with that.
Well, do we want to, are we going to come back to their
Can I
salary
ask
then?
you,
After we
because
get done
you
doing
have a
this?
hard leave at one, a
Yeah.
hard leave.
Yeah.
Is there something you want to go over on this before we, on those last couple pages, we can skip around?
Well, we need to talk about requirements.
I'm asking Dave what's most important to him.
Okay.
The most important thing to me, we tackled, which was the puke and spaghetti of all these essential duties that we've got. watered
Okay,
down now.
do you want to scan through this just in case we get hung up? That took forever. There's two more
Minimum of 2 years.
pages, really,
Qualifications.
one and two
Qualifications.
halves that, do you
The
want to talk about some?
the qualifications are good. I'm glad that you changed, making it you've got to have a
Right.
bachelor's degree. That's
Right.
good. But as far as the desired qualifications, knowledge of, as long as all that was coordinated with Eric and Deidre on what they see this person being able to.
These are not something we have.
Well, we just
It's
struck-
desired means maybe, maybe not.
Yeah,
Right.
but I mean, but this
At the
person
end of
is
the day,
gonna
y'all can
act
hire
as.
who you want.
It's just knowledge
It
of
is,
these things.
right, but if we're looking for someone that has a certain, it's whoever we want, but we want them to have a certain skill
Well, it's
set.
good to tell them
That's
what
what
you're
I'm-
looking for so that you
Yeah.
can, you know.
Under required qualifications, do we really want to hold to 2 years? Because we just took out
At least.
35 or 40%
Yes.
of what a city administrator would do.
I feel like they need to, what do you think, Eric?
If
We
we
need to
put,
have
if we put,
at least 2 years of
I would leave
experience.
it, I absolutely leave it.
Just so they know how the minutia works, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Because it's a lot, especially if you, I mean, because
if-
they gotta know
Okay.
Toma, all that stuff.
Okay.
You can always override that. You get somebody that's great, you go, I don't care, this person's a rock star.
But it, they have to have, you
It's
can't
required.
override required qualifications. You can't override that. The person, we can't hire anybody who does not have at
Okay,
least
so
2
let's
years of
say,
municipal
let's
experience.
say a
What I'm saying
retired
is, why not
IBM
put it
exec
in as
comes
just
in and he says,
experience
I'll
in.
apply for this position. And we're gonna say no because you haven't worked at a
Yep.
city for 2 years?
I
Yep,
would say
Why would
no
we do
because corporate and municipalities is very, very
I
different.
don't
that's why
believe
I'm
that.
just saying is let's scratch a minimum of 2 years and just put experience in city.
Eric, will you please speak up?
You could get somebody.
They have to
who's
have
been-
municipal experience to be successful with us.
You're gonna have to have municipal experience. I'm
Now,
telling you.
maybe they have private public like I do,
Okay,
and they've
where do
been,
they get, somebody starts somewhere with no municipal
They
experience.
could be, they
Yeah, then
could,
you start
Everybody
you
starts
start
somewhere
as
with
a,
no
Start
municipal
somewhere.
a
experience.
secretary,
How
a
can you
clerk.
insist on that?
This could be
Because-
a,
you don't
Rebecca
start in a
could apply
position
for the
of kind
position.
of managing the overall day-to-day of the
What were they
city.
doing, taking the trash out?
Maybe
They
you
could
were
have
Public
been.
Works, or you were an EDC director for 10 years.
How does
or
that
maybe
make
you
them
did-
qualified to be a city manager?
Well,
That's right.
What?
It
What?
says,
How does how does
it
that
says
qualify
experience
them?
in city management.
manager administration.
In administration, can you imagine the learning curve of all of, well, maybe, I'm telling you, somebody needs to have a little bit of experience in this before you,
the people who,
okay, well,
You
here's an
started as a
example.
mud.
Municipality could be, if somebody was in, a mud district president for a couple of years, they're
What
gonna
about HOA?
understand this.
What
No.
about a HOA?
No, because they're actually function a little bit different, quite a bit different.
They do need to have some city management experience, but maybe it's that
Or
person
city
that,
You need to
administrator.
understand how it
experience in a
works.
political subdivision, so it could be a MUD, it could be a.
Thing is by
So-
leaving city management in there, you're going to get someone that's going to come here thinking that that's automatically I'm coming in as
Okay,
a boss.
what if a
Yeah,
county,
that's
And
right.
they're
what
not.
if a retired county judge comes in and says, I'd like to take the position, I moved to Gunner, I'm retired.
That's municipal experience.
No, it's county experience. This says
Okay, so
municipal,
we're back to
preferably in a
work. So what
growing
would you
city.
like to do? Political experience?
How about strike that?
no,
we can't strike it. You
Why
have to
can't
change
you
the
strike
word.
it?
you have to have a requirement
I
Why?
guess you can
You
strike
have to
it.
have
to
a
filter
requirement.
out all the hoo-ha.
You've already, what do you mean the hoo-has?
The me's.
Let's
Well,
change that word.
Honestly, I think if it's this
Honestly.
big of a deal, then I would take out required and put preferred.
There you go.
If that's the
No,
way you
we-
want to do it.
You know what? I think, Eric, the people who are on our city staff who have a lot of city experience have both said that this needs to be a requirement.
Yeah.
They have to have experience running or working in a city environment so they understand things like PIDs
Where
and
do you get your
TERS and
experience
stuff like
from?
that.
But,
You
but,
can get your
here's the
experience from being the city secretary.
But hang on, what if they work for a contractor and they have experience with PIDs and TERS by working with people
But
like
it's not
Eric?
just PIDs and TERS, it's writing ordinances,
That's fine.
it's,
That's fine.
The person, in all honesty, the
'Cause
person
I-
the way I've seen that's gonna won't even apply for this job is someone that's like, I want to be a city manager, but I work for
Right.
my city manager and
Yeah.
he ain't gonna quit or get
Right.
right now,
So
you're,
I'm gonna go work for this littler
You're
town,
gonna
get my
end up
experience,
with a
and then great,
Right.
I have something to
Oh,
prove.
most of the ones
We're
that
not
come
gonna
in,
end up
we
I would-
can't
I would
even,
want
even when
somebody
we
with a
give them
lot,
to you
because
to
this person will
review,
end up
you can't
becoming
contact
just a
them, you'll have to
assistant.
facilitate through me
That's
It's
because
all about my pay rate.
they're
Yeah.
probably still working for another
That's
That's what
city.
I'm saying, like, that's the person I see that's
We're
gonna
not
take
gonna hire
this job
a
is
builder.
that's trying to
No,
get
no,
their
it would be
stepping
easier
stone
for us to
up,
find
someone. As
not
we're
on
growing.
their way
That
out
doesn't
of their
have
current
that
town because they
Right.
effed it up.
Well,
They're
yeah,
gonna
I think
collapse.
about Josh.
And
Yes.
follow
Josh
the
Fuller.
directions of that.
Mhm.
Grew up in contracts.
Mhm.
His dad is an amazing carpenter, but
Mhm.
they did municipal development projects.
Mhm.
I think in Sherman and Dorchester.
You wanna
Josh,
say-
I mean, you guys know Josh. He knows
you wanna say,
ordinances. He knows PIDs, TERS. He understands that. I think there are people in that space of the contractor that it may have been in a corporate type environment.
That kind of.
But it was job duties and tasks, so how do you word that?
But we're-
How about this? How about,
We're eliminating-
Instead of required.
I would-
because
I would
today
just
y'all
leave it as
asked
that.
for
Yes.
interview on
How about
I
this?
stood as preferred and
Just
not
do-
required.
how about this? A minimum of 2 years experience within a municipality environment. So that could be
That
a
eliminates anybody
contractor.
private sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
No, I just
I mean, this is
strike
how
Well,
it.
why would we not want
Also
somebody in
just-
private sector?
If Josh Fuller
Strikes
wanted
the
this
county.
job, I'd hire him today.
Okay, how about just a
But he's not
minimum?
qualified.
Okay,
But why
Then,
would,
then
why-
that's fine. If we get those, you guys, if we get the applicants, we're still sorting through them.
these are
So
all
you'd
the
be like,
applicants
Okay.
coming from a
Yeah.
municipality.
My
No, we
suggestion
wanna get
is a
more-
minimum of 2 years experience, comma, preferred.
Yes.
How about a
That
minimum?
goes under desired qualifications.
We
Yeah.
have to have some requirement.
Okay, then
We
let's
We don't
do
want
it-
somebody
let's
out
do
of
it
high
like
school
this.
applying for
Let's
the
do it
job.
like the
Minimum
bachelor's.
education and certification, that's your.
Let's say required qualifications, minimum of 2 years experience, or whatever the word is, compensate,
Combination of.
a combination of, because you could
Education.
have a contractor that has never worked for a municipality.
How about
that did
just-
this
a
job.
private
how about
sector
just-
person could do this
Hey.
job?
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Or
How about
relevant
just say a
experience.
minimum?
Relevant.
How about
Relevant
just say a
experience.
minimum of 2 years professional experience?
Because
Period.
that opens the door to everything.
What,
It does.
cowboy experience, bull
You can be
riding?
a professional
Pole
anything.
dancing.
Football player. You
Pole
can be a
dancing.
professional anything.
Just put
A
myself through
minimum
school.
of 2 years
That's what- that's what the
municipal
way it is.
experience preferred.
Well,
Or just
Well, that wouldn't be
strike the
required.
whole
what's
thing.
odd is the problem I have with this is
Process.
city management administration. Well, I was never technically in city management administration. I came up through
Strike
planning
the
and
whole thing
development
and let it become
and
part
had
of the
much more
interview
better
process.
experience in the
That's a
administrative.
good idea.
So we're not gonna have
I'm
any
okay with that too.
qualifications?
I'm okay with that too. 'Cause
You're
at the
gonna
end
have
of the day, we
We
qualifications.
gotta have, okay, well.
But you don't
we
have to have required.
We have to have something
You
to
don't
fill.
have to have
Look,
required
what if she
anyway.
gets 50 applicants? That means we're gonna have to interview
Great.
every
No,
single.
you
No,
do
no,
not.
they don't have to.
No, it doesn't work.
40,
Y'all, the process does not work like that.
We do
So let's
not-
just start over. If
we
we
don't
end
have to
up with
interview them.
20 applications,
We can get down
I'm
to
going to
3.
take those 20 applications and the mayor and I are going to sit there and cipher through them all. And then y'all are going to
Yeah.
probably end up with the top 5.
Yeah,
Every
just-
job I applied for, I did not get an
Yeah,
interview.
just
for.
because you
I got
applied,
an email
doesn't
that
mean you
said,
didn't interview.
you know,
Guys,
Lose the required.
from years of being a manager in a big company, I hated it when HR went through my applications and they decided what pile to give me.
Yeah, I
Because
hate it.
invariably, they took somebody out that I liked.
I wanna see
No,
all
I
of
do
them.
not want you two going through them and then giving us the selection
No.
you pick. I want to see all of them.
I think that
Okay.
I want to see every one of them.
y'all need to see every one of them.
You're gonna have to
So
read
let's
your email
lose,
then.
let's lose the
But you're
required.
gonna all
They're
get
gonna
it.
email it to you.
You're,
gonna
well,
have
you
to
will
look
get
at
them
your
through
emails.
emails. Everybody will get to see everything, but staff is going to, and I said this, each of you,
Recommendation.
Eric's gonna say his top 5, like he really wants to talk to these people. It might be that all the department heads have the same 3, but maybe each of the couple of them have the same 2. Whatever their top 5 is, that's a pile, but you, as a decision maker, get to see everything. You may say, I don't care if anybody don't like this person. Edward is coming in for an interview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Because
That's
So-
okay.
I
So-
might see something
Required
on the resume
qualifications
that
are
nobody
getting
else
scratched.
sees, and
So-
I'll
That's
be
what we're all
tossing
up here
out
for.
because-
Different industry, different backgrounds, different life,
Absolutely.
different.
So we're gonna
all of
scratch
it.
all
But we gotta
required
remember-
qualifications.
No,
So
no, no,
a
no,
high
just
school-
required.
Just the word
just
required.
required.
Required, we're gonna scratch required qualifications and make this preferred.
Nope, just
We're gonna make the word
qualification.
required preferred.
Okay.
Well, what's the difference between preferred
No,
and desired?
preferred and desired
Right.
is the same thing,
So why
so
don't
I'll
we
just
just-
move it.
Why don't we
Desired.
just move?
Because preferred is what we normally do. It's consistent with all of the other job descriptions
Well,
that
then
we
we'll put
have.
preferred down here instead of desired.
Does it matter if it's
Well-
consistent with all the other job positions?
No.
Yes,
I mean, I like
desire,
what-
that to me is-
Okay, so that means that somebody graduating
I
from
just-
high
that's
school
why I
can
recommend
apply for
what I
this job.
desire of it.
What's that?
Somebody, if you take out a required qualification here, that means that people who are applying, who just graduated from high school can apply.
Anyone can apply for this job. That
Because
does
you've
not
gotta-
mean they
you've
get
gotta
an interview.
require-
Yeah, then you've got the
Bachelor's degree.
You're not gonna interview them all.
qualifications. You've got the qualifications
It's
still here.
preferred but not required.
Minimum education and certification, that's not a desired, that's a minimum education, you're done.
No, that's just addressing education. It says a bachelor's
But You
degree
just said you could have a high school
is
student apply.
preferred.
You
A
can't.
candidate may
She's
be,
trying to
Sometimes you
keep
can't
from
take
having a high
everyone
school
literally.
student, and I don't have
You
a
can't,
problem.
because it says it requires a
You never know who
bachelor's
the rock
degree.
star is that's gonna come in to make the difference.
well, I don't like the header, but
I mean,
it should just say education and certifications.
There you go. Just
Well,
take
it says
minimum.
Okay. All right, so we'll move the 2 years down to the preferred qualifications,
Desire.
What are we
or
calling it?
whatever, preferred, because
Preferred.
teacher likes
Preferred
preferred.
So we're changing desired to preferred?
Yes.
And then on the next page, and I don't think we need to go through all the preferred qualifications.
The ability to.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go through that. Do y'all?
I got a problem with provide stewardship oversight of meaningful projects and delegation of responsibilities to staff. They're not gonna be delegating
Yeah.
stuff to staff.
All right.
Let's
No,
strike that
you can
one.
remove that.
Nothing on that is gonna be lining up with what's gonna be done.
You weren't changing
Establish
that,
and
are
maintain
you?
effective work
You're still leaving the
relationships with
header,
city
aren't you?
employees.
Was we just gonna say none?
What, are you talking about on the required qualifications?
I was gonna change this to preferred. Isn't that what you wanted?
No.
Well, if it's required, we can't put preferred there, 'cause that's preferred, not required.
No, no, what I'm saying is the required qualifications is a minimum of 2 years
What?
of municipality experience.
Right, the 2 years is moving
But
down to
did you say
desire.
preferred? Or a minimum?
No, right
It-
here
it-
is where I was
but,
saying,
operate
take out the
technological
required and put
computer
preferred here.
You
programs
can't put
such as
preferred under required
Microsoft
because it's
Office
preferred, not required.
applications.
Required
How about you
is
just
straight
say
down, if they
proficient
don't
with
have it, you don't
Microsoft
consider them.
Or-
And preferred is, you'd
Or-
rather them have that. So a preferred is more than the
It's a lot of
minimum.
words.
This is the minimum.
Yeah, I don't either.
qualification. Do you understand?
I don't
Just
like-
say
Yeah.
proficient in modern
I just think it
technology.
needs to be a minimum of
Boom.
2 years of municipality
Write
experience.
that down.
I agree.
Discern emerging technology
So, how do we
solutions
get
that-
that
You guys have to
across the
wait. Deidre needs to be able to listen to you and write this down so she has the correct
Well,
one.
and Cindy.
Well, y'all gotta talk, because I've already talked. I mean, I've already.
Okay, so on required qualifications, it really needs to be a minimum of 2 years municipality experience.
And if you just put municipality experience, then that would include somebody maybe who works with the city through a contract, or, you know, somebody like that. It doesn't, if we take
I'm
out.
good with municipal experience. I don't
Yes.
like the management administration because
Yeah.
you
I'm good
Okay.
with
can
that.
get department experience great like
Are you
I
good
have.
with
You're
that,
not able to be
William?
administrator.
Right, I agree.
I'm good.
Minimum of 2 years experience in
Are we,
municipality.
wait. We're back to saying it's required qualification.
We're getting
Yes.
clarification.
The required qualifications is a minimum of 2 years
The
of
thing that we're gonna
municipality
move to
experience.
preferred, we're now moving back to
No,
required.
preferred, the preferred qualifications underneath. Required qualifications is
You
that
can't leave it blank.
a minimum of 2 years experience in
Municipal.
municipality.
We can't use that blank.
You can't leave required qualifications blank.
Who says?
It's an
The
HR
world?
thing. I don't know. We hired someone
Show me the
that's,
law that says we
20
have to have required qualifications.
Well,
okay.
We're going.
I'm not aware of it.
Well,
We're gonna
you
do it.
have to have a cutoff point, because you have somebody suing. Can you turn off the camera?
No, we're not turning off.
Okay, all right, let's say you have 2 candidates. You hire one candidate who's totally qualified, you have another candidate who there's no requirements, okay? So you got, let's say you have a new grad out of school, and then you have somebody with 5
Tons of
years of
experience.
municipal experience. So you hire the guy with 5 years municipal experience. The person who just graduated from college can then sue you because they can say they met the requirements as well. Why didn't you
If
hire
they
them?
get an interview,
They can't
that's
sue you
assuming
for
that
that.
everyone
Sure they
that
can.
applies.
That's insane.
No.
I know it's
that-
insane, but-
That is not.
Okay, well, first, let's get to the semantics.
There are
out of the way.
50
Anybody
people that
can sue
apply to
anybody
jobs
for
I
anything.
post
Right.
all
They
the
can't
time. I don't
successfully sue
interview
you
all
for
that.
that.
It doesn't matter if it's successful or not, it still costs the city.
If you go look at Hooters
Putting it in is not gonna
application,
prevent that.
it says female. I
Just
can't go apply
because
because then I
you
can
have
sue because I didn't get the
an
job within
applicant
10
does
years
not
waiting.
guarantee them an interview.
That's so
There
true.
is no law that
I
says
tried.
this.
They don't have
Can we just please leave it in there, William?
My question was.
After high school.
It'll help
Is
narrow
that
down
my
a few
personal
things.
No,
experience?
because if the problem shows up, what if a guy
Criminal
comes in
offense.
that we really like, and he doesn't
I don't
have
agree with
city
that.
experience?
There would be lawsuits
Now we
every
say it's
Well,
required.
no, we changed it to municipal experience, so it doesn't have to be within a city, it has to be municipal contract or municipal within a
And
city.
when
Like
not
Deidre-
It's the type of work.
Yeah, municipal
Why would we
experience,
give it a
I
city?
agree, keep it the way Deidre just explained it, that's fine. Like I said, if, just because you apply does not mean you're gonna get an interview.
No, I
You
agree.
can't sue someone for not getting
So
an
we're scratching
interview because
minimum.
the excuse, and I've got a couple of them, I can find them from HR, that says, oh, we went to a different direction.
Right.
Great,
Okay.
you know, you didn't get an interview.
All right.
So we're
keep it.
scratching minimum and
No.
we're putting 2 years experience in
Minimum
municipal.
2 years
Yeah.
municipality experience required.
Because if you get someone in
Because
private
that opens it
sector or
up to,
whatever,
if
they
you're
might
municipal
have a
experience,
little
I
bit
could be a
different-
contractor and got the municipal experience,
I
I
could
don't
be a
have to be
city
hired by the
council
city.
member.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
All
We got
right.
16 minutes.
Okay.
Minimum education, or are we still in the bullet points on
Minimum ed-
ability to?
Well, does anybody have any concerns about the desired qualifications?
Well,
I think we went through those bullet points.
Well, we ignored them because they're preferred, so who cares?
Okay.
Research and
Instead
reporting
of
methods,
desire,
yeah, those.
preferred.
And then ability to, we started working on that one. I think. flip the
Hang on, I
page.
scratched one of the ability to.
Yeah, so
Provide
now-
stewardship.
second bullet
Yeah.
point,
Was it
and
the second
then,
one, delegation of responsibilities to staff? This person won't do that.
Yeah.
and then you change the second to the last bullet point on operate technological computer developer.
To just being
Be
proficient.
proficient in modern office technology.
Yeah, utilize variety, okay, and then minimum education and certifications, bachelor's degree, okay, I mean, that's fine.
But it's bachelor's degree or field related.
To a major function of local government is
Yeah,
preferred.
Right, this one.
But-
A related field
Change it
is
to
preferred but not required.
Proficient in modern.
Candidate may
office
meet these
technologies
requirements with a
and
combination of
crap.
related education, experience, certification, blah, blah, blah.
Nice, yeah, I like that.
And then the
It's
rest of it is
proficient in
required.
modern
Tools and
office
equipment.
technology.
All that we can't
Okay,
change.
physical demands,
Nope, can't change
Nope,
it.
gotta have that.
there's nothing underneath it.
Then there's
On the
no.
next page, just
Oh,
demands.
because I put arm
Office
wrestle Eric
technologies.
Corley. On
Okay.
physical demands.
One more thing I want to talk about.
Physical.
That'll
being.
weed them out.
Okay,
Yeah, that'll weed them out like.
Okay.
We'll have like 30
Quarterly,
people
not
left, maybe.
weekly.
The
Quarterly,
last
so give them
thing
an
I want to
opportunity.
talk about is the salary. So for this position, it's going to be at least 100.
No,
Yep.
I say 90 to 100.
Hey,
But
how much do our clerks make?
We just
Our clerks make
eliminated
60 to 80,
40%
right?
of this.
Wait,
Are you-
wait. We have not identified any essential functions.
What?
Being able to walk upright.
We just went through
speak
this whole
English.
thing.
Work
we went through the
environment.
essential duties.
The last page.
There's not
Just
identified
jumped off of
any
that one.
essential functions. It says that we're gonna make
We did
reasonable
this at our last
accommodations
council meeting.
to an
We just got to the
individual
very end
to
of it.
perform the essential functions. We've not identified what those are.
This,
You mean like
Essential
a
functions, your
wheelchair
bullet
ramp?
points, isn't it?
No,
It's the
essential
job-
functions that
essential-
We're gonna make the accommodations for.
The physical demands describe
William,
your representation.
essential functions are the duties and responsibilities.
Right, but we need,
Doesn't say
to
that.
lose city
So
administrator.
we just need to
here.
change it to essential duties.
Duties and responsibilities, I guess.
Oh,
Where?
Essential duties
We
and
are.
responsibilities?
Yes.
Because it says essential functions.
Okay, so we just need to change that to duties and responsibilities instead
Okay.
of functions.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now let's talk about compensation.
Before you
If-
do that,
What?
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about it, but I'm gonna open this to what Courtney sent me yesterday. Some salary info. Whitesboro, 160. These are for administrative positions. Just let me finish real
Okay.
quick, and then I'm gonna want you to speak first. 160, Lake Dallas, 175, Everman, 158. These are within her realm of what her firm has, maybe not her city.
Are they
but her
managers
firm.
or administrators?
These are administrators, not city managers, administrators. And these cities are a little bit larger than us, but they are not on the growth trajectory of Gunner. So the reason that ours is a little bit more, we have to have better is because of where we're sitting, the amount of what is about to come, and it is coming, a lot of it. A lot of moving parts. It got super big, way more busier for me and Eric in the last 3 months. It's coming. This person is not in Whitesboro or Tioga or even Howe. We are in the middle of, we span both corridors. We've got Preston and the Dallas-Fort Tollway. We are the third largest city in Grayson County. Our fire district is huge. There's so many things to coordinate. And I'll tell you, I've done a lot of coordination with Captain Kramer and other cities with ESD in our fire district. We got a problem that we got to solve. This person is going to be that liaison between doing those meetings, having those conversations with Captain Kramer. Of course, I'm overseeing it, but those conversations are going to be, it's going to be a lot. That person has to kind of, with me, but do more of it than me to get it ready to bring to you guys. It's a lot coming. This person, I agree, and Courtney has said, you're going to have to pay somebody well, because otherwise you're going to get the newbie, and
the one that's come through to me in my email is making 60,000 a year and was like, this is great. This is not a person who can do this. They're not ready. They think they are, but they're not ready. If you go on the higher end, these city managers or administrations are wanting to just like, see you later, I'm coming over. We have to be very careful to pay well, not too ambitious, obviously, and we can't afford to be too ambitious. But I don't even know that we can get somebody good for 100.
I disagree.
Let's see what they
No,
say.
I agree with her. I mean, I've done these salary
Because of everything
studies.
around us.
We just eliminated the entire administrator position.
No.
This is a public relations officer / admin.
This
liaison.
person has no
No,
supervisory.
they're not managing anybody.
And you just said 2 years minimum. I mean, that's
I
not
mean,
I mean,
this one's going to be making more money than me.
yeah.
And they don't even do half of what I
that's
do.
ridiculous that we would even
Why don't we,
consider.
I would think the 120 should be your high range.
why don't we put,
I'm thinking 90 to 110, if anything.
That's
I would start at
we're
85.
Yeah.
I don't.
85 to 120?
I've got 2 kids that just finished college in the last 2 years. They're coming out of college with a 4-year degree, a very high requirement of what they have to do, working hours that are much, much different than a municipality hour schedule, making not anywhere close to this. There are good people that we
Wanna
need to
grow
talk
with the
to.
city.
It's gonna be hard. It's 1,000% gonna be hard to get the right person. But you're gonna get people that are making 60 doing twice the work now to come over and get
all right, I
130.
have a suggestion. On the range, we can make it as broad as we want. So
80
why don't we make it
80 to 120.
80 to 120,
80 to
or
120?
80 to 130,
We're gonna have this person make more than Deidre.
and then we
And
can
the
just.
job duties that we just went through isn't a third of what she does.
Remember, we did not put them up on that first
No,
line. They're
that's
down
true.
on the second line.
Karen, what are you thinking?
This
Eric,
job
what do
is.
you think?
Like I said, we just gutted
I
city
want to hear, Eric's
administrator.
been quiet. He's been in
Well,
this field for 30 years. I want to hear what he has to say.
There's a reason I'm quiet because, you know,
Don't blame
there's an
him.
edge I feel like I'm on looking over. I got 30 years experience, I do. And I feel like I'm totally giving you guys, you know, what I'm asking for, what my salary is right now. You're getting what it's worth, okay?
Right.
Yeah,
So I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody else around here. And whoever you hire for this position, you know, it still isn't going to be me at this point in time. It might be in a year or two, maybe. But I'll do whatever I can to make them successful and take all my experience and train them up to be a
That's-
city administrator. Because it's just never been on my radar to want to be a city administrator. Because there's just certain things I like being in the lane I'm in.
you're the only
Work with people and
person
doing it.
that we've got that's even remotely qualified for a city manager.
But we can't
slash-
hold him, Dave.
But you need to keep me where I am. I mean, I'm in an important role. I feel like I can really fulfill it. It's kind of my comfort zone. It's somewhat, you know, it takes me out of my comfort zone sometimes, but I think I know you guys well enough to understand where we're going with it. So I would think, you know, I know what Courtney was talking about, but I also know a lot of people that have been shifting around, and I've been approached by other places too, right? So
Yeah.
I know what the salaries are out there for younger people, not just me.
Yeah,
And I think, you know, 80 to 120 will get you decent applicants, and then we can go from there. Do I want to make more than Deidre? No. I want everybody here to make more. That's why I'm trying to get development so we can get some,
yeah.
you know, fees and get fire department, everybody taken care of. And that's why I'm not looking to have more, be greedy or whatever. So I'm comfortable with 80 to 120 personally.
I mean,
But it's, huh?
I'm not.
So if
I'm good with 80
but
to 120.
You want to move
I'm
to
just whatever
120
anybody
higher?
wants. It just, you know, it's not something I'm hung up on. Because I don't know, I think we're going to get a lot of applicants. When you say 2 years and then the qualifications put out there, you're going to get assistant to city managers are going to be the ones that are kind of applying. I haven't even seen the ones that have applied so far, but you're not going to get some of the city managers that have been interim like I've worked with in Bartonville or Justin and Aurora and places like that, because they're definitely already at the 150 range if they've had that
I'm gonna say
position
this,
before. So.
If we go low, we're gonna get those who don't have as much experience. They might be ambitious, but they're gonna make a lot of mistakes. We can't afford any more mistakes.
If you're doing that, then you need to change it from a minimum of 2 years experience to
If
5.
you're worried about experience and mistakes, then.
We gotta interview.
You can't have 2 years experience.
We gotta
You need to put 5 years minimum, and then if you don't want, if you're
I'm
gonna
telling
We
bump
don't
it
have
up.
anything left. If we make
Noah
another
and
mistake,
Chapin
we're in
looked
trouble.
incredible on paper. Gibson looked
Well, I
incredible on paper,
But nobody checked their background.
but nobody checked their background.
Nobody also
Because
supervised
they
them.
didn't, but they also supervise people. This role doesn't supervise anybody. There is no management going on with this role. This is not this is not a management role.
Yeah, this is a sole contributor role. It doesn't have anybody working under it.
I need somebody here that we can apply all these duties, but that I can push toward doing more, learning more, being more involved with oversight, of course, because in probably 2 to 3 years, we're gonna have to put somebody in a position to run it all under a charter.
And if this person
And it
can
might
grow
be
in
this
that 3
person might
years,
not.
I
They
think
have
it's
5
gonna
years
take 2 or
experience.
3 years to
I know.
mold this person.
Right.
And we may find out that after 60, 90 days, we thought somebody was great. That happens all the time,
It
right?
happens everywhere.
Then if
It
that's
does.
the case, then let's just hire Deidre to do this job and then hire someone cheaper than what she's getting paid right now to do her job.
Deidre, you want this job?
I mean, that's the way it is. It's like we're rewarding a new membership into the cable company, but we're still screwing over the people that have been paying for 5 years
Because
into
this
the
isn't
cable
what
thing.
Deidre does,
So-
that's not her role.
I know, but if they're getting
Could
paid
she do
more
it?
than what she's making,
What
and
I
she's
just read,
doing
yeah, you could do every bit of this.
85% of this,
You're
let's
doing a
hire
lot of it
her
now.
and find a new person to take over as city secretary.
Yeah,
At
I'd rather do that.
Probably $10,000-$15,000 less because they're new to the job.
And I've
here
said it
in Gunner.
before, if we're gonna add headcount
I
right
mean-
now with our budget, we should be adding a street crew. Because right now, we have a street department that doesn't have a street
Well,
department.
that's on the back of the agenda.
And
here.
Deidre, you can hire and fire your team, right?
I can.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I don't even know where you're at,
We should-
Deidre, but I mean, I'd be at like 70 to 100,000 if that.
We should hard press try to figure out how we can, instead of adding to the organization, go through a
I'm
reorganization.
gonna say something real quick.
Promote within.
Yeah.
We have
Absolutely.
a bus, and for the first time probably in Gunner's history, the right people are in the right seats of the bus. I really don't want to pluck one out and put them somewhere else. I do not. We are growing. I don't want one person who's excellent in their role being pulled over or split. I want Eric in development. What's going to happen the next couple of years? We're going to hire people for Eric besides just Bethany. Eric cannot be running this part over here and then being fully focused on development. As great as he is, that's not fair to him. I want him focused on development. Deidre is a certified city secretary. If it does not go through her, we're going to have issues. She's the one who knows the law, knows what the state requires, knows the schedules, knows everything. She works for the county. She knows how to do it. I'm not going to pull her out of her city secretary's seat and put her in managing all the other crap that has to be done.
Well, we should give her an opportunity for that career.
Well,
path,
then the
if that's
pay
what
should
she
be
wants.
under what she's making then.
That can't,
No,
Or be
can't.
Well, let me ask you, Deidre, would you like to be pulled out of city secretary and
Would
be
you
in
like the
charge of the
opportunity
entire
of
city?
growth
Well, that's not
opportunity?
fair
I mean,
to
it
put
shouldn't be
her on the spot
like
either.
set in stone that she can't. It
let
should be
her
up to
think
Deidre.
about it.
I mean,
The idea's there, but let's
I just, I
not
don't
put her
know.
on the spot to actually
Yeah, I
answer
mean-
that question.
well,
I
you're
really
also,
do.
now also think
I
of
mean,
this,
we're
you're
flipping
hiring,
ideas, but we're expecting answers.
we're looking for somebody who's gonna be the face of
I
Gunner.
want someone who's going to mold into the city manager position in 2 to 3 years. They need 2 to 3 years to get ready for this.
Well, I mean, if it was up to me, in a perfect world, this person would have to live here.
Yeah, that's what I would.
That's gonna be really difficult.
I know it's gonna be really difficult unless we promote from within.
If they can move here, they can move
That might be
here.
really hard, but here's the thing too, though. Eric doesn't live here.
And you know what?
He's got his tail ripped today, or this week, for not living
I worry
here.
about a lot of things. Eric ain't one of them. Eric, he can stand on what he's doing. He is executing on objectives. That's an easy thing to do. This role right here, if you're gonna be the public face to Gunner, you should have someone from Gunner that's doing it.
Or used to
That would be a nice
used to
prefer.
live here.
I mean, I
Most of the
struggle.
time, administrators and managers do move
to where they're going. That's why they all want contracts, because they don't want to move their family here and then everybody, oh my gosh, new council comes in, they don't like me and I'm out again. That's the whole purpose.
Well, some of the charters
Do you
require
want to
it too.
pay
Eric
up to
didn't start
$50,000 for a reload for somebody?
But he
That's
wants
not a
to,
requirement.
well, he did want to
If you want
relocate.
somebody to live
That's
here,
not a requirement that you have to have a 50,000. Good Lord.
how are you gonna get somebody to move here?
You know what my reload package was when I went to Swift?
Well, I'm just saying,
50 grand is ridiculous.
I'm just saying,
Mine was
20 at
8,000, and that
least.
paid
When
for
we
just
lived
mine
in
was
Houston,
like
they just
10.
paid for our stuff to end up in the right place.
I haven't
That's
worked
all
for
they paid
years.
for. But,
Couldn't pass the drug test?
Exactly.
but I don't necessarily think somebody has to, well, where are they gonna live anyways? We don't have enough yet to require that.
Right.
We just don't have enough places to live to require that.
Yeah, I said if it was
In a perfect world, I
that's
got
what we
you,
want.
I understand that.
But I understand we're gonna look much different in 4 years, but we've got we've got a window here and an opportunity based on these requirements. Listen, I'm not knocking city work, but there's not a lot of places that shut down at 1 o'clock on Fridays or show up to the office at 8 or 9 in a salaried role. I mean, and I'm not knocking it. I mean, I'm not in municipality, so I know there's a
Well,
lot
they
more.
work
that goes on.
9-hour days,
They're-
that's why
And they show up to
drop off.
meetings
They
and
show
stuff
up-
like
there's a lot
that,
of
like
stuff
this
going
on
on.
a Saturday.
I'd like to see somebody grow with the city.
I'd like to see, I mean, this is a unique opportunity for us to, we got some, it would be totally different if we still had the coals that we had prior. And we didn't have anybody we can lean on, but we get someone that's fresh, young, and new that can,
You mean inexperienced, not young, right?
yeah,
New to us,
new
new
to,
to us.
new
Okay.
to this.
fresh and young and new to
Not young.
us. Young
Doesn't
to
know all the
Gunner's
ins and outs of
history.
how to
Got it.
screw over a
That's
city.
what we need.
I'm not in HR,
25,
but
that's
what I'm
what
trying to say is, this is a unique opportunity for somebody that has aspirations to being a city
You
manager.
want an ambitious person.
You want somebody that's ambitious.
But not a
I don't
kingdom builder.
want another
Right.
kingdom builder or somebody that's
Right.
gonna go piss money away.
Right.
Or 8 months from now saying, you know what, I need an assistant now.
Yeah.
I'm the assistant to the assistant.
Right, I don't want somebody delegating stuff.
And every
Right.
time they go out to get their
Want to do
box
the work.
tops,
We don't want people that are more interested in the municipality than they are the city. We need somebody that's in it to win it for the city.
exactly. Grow an intern into an attorney.
Listen, if this is just how I'm seeing it, based on what I saw in the job description, essential duties, this is not $120,000 a year job.
No.
No, it's a.
There's
I'm
nothing
telling you all it
about
is.
this.
I'm gonna tell you
Well, then-
straight up,
Then let's put
That's okay.
what's missing from the essential duties that's justifying that for you, put it down. It can't be fluffy. It's gotta be, this is what is required. What's required essentially
We have it.
is not a $120,000 job.
What we've designed here is a sole contributor that's effectively an assistant to the mayor.
Yes.
And we
So
should
what are you
title
gonna-
it that,
PR
assistant to
manager.
the mayor,
Well-
and that's
I
what
don't want
it
to
is.
do PR manager.
So what do you want to call this position?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't know anything about Gunner and you're on the outside and you work in municipalities, who are you gonna call when you wanna connect with us? When developers wanna connect with us, not necessarily, they most of the time they come to Eric. But if somebody wants to connect with us as a governing body,
Yeah,
they go to the city, they're kinda looking to see, well, who's the administrator or who's the manager?
They
They're
call
not
it
gonna
the
understand they're not looking for a PR person.
They go to the chamber.
Operations manager?
They call Tim Richards.
This is the
There you go.
person who is administrating our business. I don't know why we don't just call him the administrator.
Because you won't put them up on the line where administrators go.
You want
It
to make him an
doesn't-
officer
it doesn't
and
matter
pay
where
bonds
they
and all
go.
that kind of
But like I
stuff?
said,
Let's
if you
do
call
it.
him
Let's
an
put an
administrator-
You're wanting
administrator
to
up
give them a
there.
salary that puts them up there, but you
The
don't. have-
salary is the work, and this person, I want 2 years or so under their belt here, learning our history, seeing what we've been through, working through the cleanup process with us, so that we create a charter. We have somebody who knows all that and has melded into us, has been through it with us, has part of this transition with us.
Huh?
So why don't we call them assistant to the
I
mayor?
don't want them going away somewhere.
How much experience does
I
Rosa
want them
have?
here long after me.
Y'all aren't getting rid
I don't want them.
I've worked my
No,
butt
no,
off.
no, no.
It's about the same as me.
The assistant to the mayor.
Oh,
And then
years?
describe what the
Many
potential
years?
growth
Okay.
is.
I don't want it to be
I'm gonna
my
say
assistant,
she's
because
probably
that's
been in
what
it
I have to
probably
train
about
somebody.
5. I'm going on
Because
8.
that
No,
five
I
Eric
want
was
somebody
talking
coming
about.
in with a little bit of experience.
That's the
that I
five
can
that Eric
say,
was
"Go
talking
do
about."
this."
Look, either they're independent and they can do things without being your assistant, or they're not. You can't have it both ways.
William, I do it right now without y'all's permission assistance.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
because
We
the
saw what
policy's
happened when that
already,
happens.
8120.
oh, let's not go there because y'all voted on it. You want me to unsign the BNSF deal too, because you voted on that right after this. So,
I don't know how those two are aligned.
I'm just saying, well, he's going back to the beginning where we started, saying, I didn't vote on this, but you did, you were there, you heard the same thing we did.
Well, it's semantics.
It's a
We
misunderstanding.
We didn't vote on
It's a
the job
misunderstanding.
description that we just butchered because
Right.
it's trash.
So I just
That's what
told
we didn't
him
vote on.
that I have to go and do things that I don't come back to y'all at every meeting to be able to, and you have to be able to work on a day-to-day basis.
We-
What needs to be
we-
voted on comes to you.
We've cut this description down to a sole contributor with no staff on the second line,
No
but
authority.
you wanna pay them like they're on the first line.
I personally want this person to have a little bit more. But
Who else
let's-
is on the
let's-
second
let's
line and how
change
much
it.
are they
Let's go
making?
with this, what did y'all say, 80 to
Adam-
120 or 80
Adam's
to
in the
1?
80s, right?
80 to 120.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm
Adam's
telling you
above
right
the
now,
Yeah, it's
if
about
we
the-
hire somebody at 120, it's gonna be my
Development?
last day on this because this is
Wow.
ridiculous.
Okay, where do you want it? 80 to
What's
what?
Adam's salary?
I want to put out what you want.
89 is Adam's salary.
Is Adam
according to the
89?
city government.
Okay, what do you want to limit it to, Dave? I'm totally okay with putting this out there, let's see what we get. 80 to what?
80 to 100 at
Yeah.
most.
Okay?
I mean, and at 100, there better be like a different list of essential duties that magically appear because this.
What are the salary requirements of the people who've applied?
We're getting
Do you
people
have
that are
any
probably
idea?
making
We-
70.
I haven't even
Be
looked
my
at
guess.
it.
Okay.
I've just been collecting them.
I gotta
So are
go.
you at 80 or 70?
Okay.
He's at 80, I'm at 70.
So Dave, I'm gonna type this,
Okay, we're going 70 to 100?
Dave,
70 to
70,
100.
are you good with 70 to 100?
Dave.
And you just said
I'm gonna type
70 to
this out and I'm
100?
gonna email it to everybody.
Dave said 80.
My email's
so
good
I'm-
stuff.
Oh, that's right.
They're
Should
gonna
we
be
send it to
amazing.
work or something?
Dave's good to the 100.
Okay. So we're 70s low end, we're good with that?
Yeah.
Does anybody want to lower below 100?
No.
Okay, we're
And if
70
we
to
get
100.
people coming in that their qualifications are just dog water, then sure, let's go
We
back
can
and
have
look at
another
We
the.
can start.
conversation. If we
Okay.
get
Yeah.
a rock star that we
Yeah.
gotta get 124 and we all agree, then great, but
If we go any higher, what about getting those people like, that were already on their way out of their old city jobs?
How do you
And
want
they're,
me
hey,
to
we're
send
gonna
this
come
to
over
you?
here and I'm only taking a 30,000 pay cut, but I still got a job.
You need X?
When they're not doing very good at their current one.
That's
Stealthy.
the only way you find out is going through the process.
Well, we're at
Like you
70
said,
to
you can
100,
interview,
so
you
we'll
still don't have to
go through
hire.
the process.
You don't even have to
We'll see what
interview, right?
happens.
So,
at
Right,
gmail.com.
we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I don't see the
Look at
position
weekend.
being sedentary after all the stuff we discussed. They're gonna be all over the place, going in and out, going places, seeing people, traveling, going to meetings,
are you on the last page on functions?
going out and looking at stuff. It says this position is sedentary, requiring the individual to sit. But they may sit down when they do some work, but it sounds like they're gonna
Do
be
you
all
have
over
something
the
else you can
place.
plug in there, teacher?
Well, it's just,
Well,
that-
she-
it's,
Where are we at?
that is language
The
that
physical
came
demands.
straight from HR, and I was told it had to be there, not.
Yeah. It's one of those monetary.
I mean, nobody applying reads that crap anyways.
Yeah.
No,
That's
it
just to
doesn't.
cover that they may have to sit, stand, walk, use fingers, use hands, all of that is like coming straight out of like all the,
Yeah, but this is really stupid. We don't ever put
Crap.
these in ours.
take it out. I honestly
Honestly, the
don't
first
care.
thing I look at is the salary, and if it's more than what I make.
Is this
Well,
maybe
first thing I look at
required
is
to
what
lift
is the
and carry
year's
up to 15
qualifications or
pounds? They could be
whatever.
carrying 20 or 15 pounds or more. Who knows what?
Yeah,
gear
let's just
they're
take-
going
can we
into
just
their
take all
truck.
that
I mean, they
out?
might have to carry me out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just
just,
take-
yeah, just mark
285,
out what
that's-
you want.
Heavy.
Okay, and what are we gonna call it?
I don't know.
Operations manager is what I was saying, but I didn't say it to make it that way.
It's not a city administrator, that's for sure.
Governing body assistant.
Want to call it Boy Friday? Because that's what it sounds like. It just kind of.
Just as we have a secretary assistant, we have a
Boyfriend.
governing
You
body
could do
assistant.
operations assistant. You
There you
just
go.
can't use
How about
manager or
operations assistant?
supervisor
I like
because
that.
then that puts them into a salary different bracket.
Yeah, in control of people.
Operations
not.
assistant?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound too, okay.
Y'all are cheap.
What?
I mean, to me, that sounds the
That's
same as a
what he
city
says.
administrator, an operations assistant.
But an operations assistant doesn't give you the salary.
How about operations administrator?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's more better, yeah, I think that sounds more professional.
Sounds like nothing.
I
It does
know.
sound like.
If you heard the
We're
name,
paying
it's like, what does that
nothing, you
mean?
get nothing.
It's just fluff. What is an operations administrator?
I think you can stop it now, Dawn.
No, actually, she's got to
We
call
have a
it.
couple more
We have a
agenda
couple.
items.
Not
in
till
there.
we're finished, not till we're finished. Dave
Okay.
said no, and I'm,
All right,
not till we're done. Whatever we gotta say, it's there, we'll decide if we're gonna publish it.
I would vote no right now.
We're not voting because there's no actions taken from a workshop.
What is,
So who's gonna draft all of this? You?
I'm gonna draft all this out. I took all the notes, I wrote down what
Great.
everybody said. So I'm gonna put this together and I'll email it to everybody except William, who will have to come by my house and pick it up.
We'll email it to Deidre to put it out.
What, I can email it to y'all. What do you mean? That's not deliberating. That's just
Okay.
information. So William, how would you like to receive
I
this?
just want her, I want her to proof
I would like
what you
to
wrote so
take
that,
the-
so
Take the redrafted version of this and take it up at the next city council meeting. I would
Which is
like
next
to do
week.
Nothing outside of a meeting.
I do not wanna keep having
Nothing
meeting after
outside
meeting
of a
after meeting
That's what
to
we
get
do, that's our
something
job, have
done.
meeting after meeting after meeting.
draft
We're gonna
it,
have-
send it to
we're gonna
Deidre.
have
Deidre will confirm that with
20 or
her
30
notes. She
meetings.
Okay.
can put it out to us.
I need it by, or you want to vote on this, or you want to
Yeah.
come back and vote
Yeah.
Thursday? I need it by 10 o'clock Monday.
Okay,
That's what we do, we have meetings.
it's fine.
We're gonna have 30 of them this year. I mean,
That's fine.
take it up at the next meeting.
It's not like we
That's
have
how
30
we do
more to
things.
go
That's
in
the
December.
only way we do things is at meetings.
That's fine.
There is no such thing as doing stuff outside of a meeting.
We weren't doing anything, we were just sharing information with you.
That's doing stuff.
We just said what we want. Now we go type it up. I don't see what's wrong with sending it, go everybody good, before we bring it back in to vote on it.
Yep.
Because I don't want to be going
just
through
wanna
this
make sure-
process
I
and
don't
then have
wanna
to pick it
keep
up in
having
Deidre's
another 2
taking notes
weeks.
and Cindy's
That's
taking notes, and
how
let's
it
make sure that
works.
those
But
two
did
have
we
got the
not
same
just do
notes.
it, William? If we type everything
Yeah,
up,
we just
everybody
did.
should be good?
It's
We
a
just
final
go, hey,
draft
let's
to be
make
placed on the
sure.
agenda.
No, there is no such thing as it's all good, we're done. No,
To bring it
comes
back to a
back and you
meeting.
look at it again.
We're not going to drag on with this job description for 2 months.
If it takes us 2 months, we will.
No, we're
Are
not.
we not done with it?
We don't have time.
No, y'all haven't decided what you want to title it.
Operations admin
Okay.
for now.
Like I
But
said,
can you take the other one down, please?
send your draft to Deidre, make sure that Deidre's
Take
got
the
the
other
same
down.
notes, have her go ahead.
Is that what
and put
everybody
together-
wants me to do, is remove it from
Send it to
PML?
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not
Step
voting
one.
in here.
We can renew pull back the one from TML.
Yes, we have.
Cindy's gonna revise.
Is that the only place
Don't
to do
do,
that?
don't do,
Don't
don't
say
do
no.
anything until I talk to Courtney. We know what they want us to do. We're not voting in here.
Okay.
We're not making that decision. I wanna talk to Courtney first and just tell her what we're doing, so that we're not messing things up further.
Okay.
I wanna explain everything today, here's what we wanna do, we wanna take it down, we wanna bring it back at the next meeting, make sure everybody's good with it, then put it back up. I want to hear her give us advice.
Okay.
It's what we pay her for. So.
Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Okay, preliminary budget amendment discussions, we went over most of it, staffing, in a sense. Planning, I'm not real sure, did we cover what you want, William?
No, the budgeting, we gotta figure out how we're gonna pay for this, no matter what salary we agree on. I think we've agreed on 70 to 100, but now how are we gonna pay for it?
We are coming to have a budget discussion for, amendments in March.
It gives us 2 months to be able to get this nailed down as far as the position, duties, responsibilities, and go through applicants to find out where we gotta find the money.
Okay, so we're gonna make up a position and then figure out how to pay for it.
We just made
later.
a position.
simultaneously.
But we gotta have applicants that's gonna tell us, are we at 70 or are we at 100?
We know we need it. We know we're going to get it. We just have to find the money for it. We can be doing that while we're interviewing.
Yeah.
How many
We
times
have
when most,
budget reserves to take care of this year. We do have the ability to do this. It's just ongoing. That's the question you better answer, is ongoing. You're gonna need this person in this position. You
Yeah.
don't know in the future who's gonna be mayor. You don't know if this person's gonna even work out. And if they don't, and then you've got two people who aren't working out or not doing this work, it's not fair to the city. This position is necessary. We have to make it work. We have to.
So let's start there.
Yeah, because there's a possibility our form of government will change in the next 3 years.
Yep.
Well, it absolutely will, because we'll have a charter.
Oh, we're
And
gonna
we
hit
will
5,000
have that.
soon.
Yeah.
Well, not unless we get rooftops.
And I want to say on the record, I've asked repeatedly, and I want this brought back up, that TERS contract that was forced on the TERS number 1, I want it brought back up and reviewed, so I'd like to have that on the next agenda. Or whenever the next one available, that we don't have 1,000 other things on it. Because
October.
the TERS needs to be put back together, unemasculated, and actually start doing its job instead of having that contract that takes all the power away from the TERS and gives it to the city council.
Okay, so wait, let me ask you something. Just briefly, because we can't deep dive into this, but it is budget related. The TERS 1 was the deal in 2011. By the city council, it was bifurcated.
No, I'm talking about the contract that was done in May of last year. Actually, that it was the day you came in as mayor. They had a
Yes.
vote 25 minutes before, when I said I can't make that meeting, and they had it anyway, and they voted to make that contract that took all the power away from the TERS and gave it to the city council. They shoved it down everybody's throat after Cheryl and Connie sat
Well,
there in
but-
the TERS board meeting, told them, it's a done deal, William, just vote for it.
It was wrong,
It was wrong, and it needs to be undone.
but a quorum of that body did do it. I was not one of those, I was opposed, but a
Doesn't matter,
quorum did
it's
vote
wrong,
for
and it
that.
needs to be undone. That TERS board needs to be put back in place, and it needs to be.
The
needs to be
TERS
doing
one
its
is still, we're actually still on the board
Yeah, but
of
it
TERS
doesn't do
1,
anything,
but it
because
doesn't
all
have
of
any
its powers
power.
were ceded to the city council.
Well, do you know
Who was
why?
on the TERS board originally?
Here's why we don't have power as a TERS board anymore. Me, not here, you and I as the TERS board. It is still our board. We will never have another meeting because the city council here at this dais at the time bifurcated it. Meaning, it's over here, they split that and formed the PID or the TERS 2. The TERS 2 now it supersedes that. I don't think there's anything we can do with that because it's already been bifurcated,
Okay.
right? You're the attorney. If you find a way we can unbifurcate
Well, I
that,
don't know what you mean by bifurcated.
the TERS 2, okay, the TERS 2,
redo.
okay, bifurcated the TERS 1, it used to be 100% to the developer, okay?
Okay, that was
TERS
just,
1.
that was a deal they made to collect less taxes and extend it out further. TERS number 2, I don't even know how that came into existence. It just
They
showed
got
it
TERS
appeared
2.
like a mushroom overnight.
They got TERS 2, and then that bifurcated TERS 1. We get 50% back instead of losing 100%, right? So because we agreed to create TERS 2, they came over and bifurcated 1. So instead of us getting
They
0%,
agreed to adjust the amount of revenue that goes to general versus back to the, it's not bifurcated.
it's literally written in the language that her TERS 1 has been bifurcated.
I didn't see that language. Where is it?
I can send you the agreement.
That'd be
But what
great.
the agreement did was bifurcate,
Just don't email
meaning
it.
the developer,
I know
because
it's
you
coming.
can't
I know
change a
it's coming.
TERS.
Now I'll go look for it.
You can't change a TERS once it's in place. It was agreed to in 2011. 100% goes back to the developer. Now, they bifurcated it. Only the developer can do that. He has to agree to do that. He agreed to do it because they gave him a TERS number 2 over here. He said, if you give me this over here, I'm going to come back. I'm going to bifurcate that account, and I'm going to give you half of it back. So we do now get half back. We used to get 0. We get half of our taxes back. Bifurcated, we get this half, developer keeps this half. That's where we are on TERS 1. That's where it sits. They created this over here. We only get 50%.
TERS
Moving-
2 is the bridges phase
TERS
2A.
2
2A.
is the Bridges Phase 2.
Right.
Yes. And that's all the TERSs that we have. But I don't think that there's you're the attorney, I don't think there's a way to open that back. There might be a way, but do we want to, even if there is a way? Because we were getting 0, now we get 50.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with that contract that ceded all the TERS board's authority to the city council.
No, the TERS 1 was a developer contract, and it went to the city council. It absolutely, because it was developer-led. It wasn't us creating it, the developer petitioned to create it.
No, I'm not talking about that.
That's why there's a board that had to be in the district, that had to be living the bridges.
Yes.
The board has to be in there, right?
I understand.
So that was the district, it was a district creation. The next one, TERS 2, was a council creation. That's why now we are the board for the TERS 2, not homeowners in the district, not district landowners.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because they made it differently.
It was made different, so it's the creation. The good thing is instead of getting 0, we get 50. It's a tough pill to swallow. We don't like this, but now we get 50% of it instead of 0, and we have a 50-50 TERS on 2. Moving forward, thank God we only have 2. Moving forward, we get to negotiate for future TERS.
I guess, William, what's the
Right?
thought process of it not being okay for the city council to be the board, but you wanting it to be a TERS board of homeowners?
Well,
I mean, I don't.
so second TERS, I'm not even sure it qualified for the way they made it because there's some specific requirements and the type of TERS that was made for TERS 1 is basically developer generated TERS. It's very different from the other kind of TERS.
It is
that you can
different.
make.
Yeah.
The other kind of TERS you can make is for renovation or revitalization, which does not have anything to do with phase 2.
Yeah.
If there's a TERS for phase 2, it should have been made the exact same way TERS 1 was made because it's the only way it would qualify.
For infrastructure improvement and costs.
Well,
I mean, I don't understand the reason for the TERS 2 in the first place because it's a smaller subdivision, but it
Yeah.
is. And it's a PID as well, so.
but there was a contract that I at the one and only TERS meeting we ever had, there was a contract presented that I didn't like, and I tried to get it to not be taken up. All we managed to do is get it tabled until the next meeting. And the contract didn't have anything to do with the bifurcating the taxes. The contract just ceded all of the TERS board's authority to the city council.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it did. It emasculated the TERS board. The TERS board had no authority anymore to do anything. That was a fight I had with Julie Fort.
It was a fight I had with Julie Fort.
And we locked horns on that the first day, after I said she shouldn't be running the TERS board meeting because she has
Because she
no
was controlling the
business.
TERS board
She
meeting.
has no business being the
Right.
chair for the TERS board meeting.
Right.
After it was stacked with a
romance
bunch
is
of
strong.
Cheryl's
With
picks,
Cheryl and Connor's
so that they
picks.
would vote exactly the way they wanted.
I don't
And they
know
went
about
ahead
that.
and voted that
Make
contract
sure that gets
that
posted.
made that TERS board essentially has no business to do
Yeah,
anything.
we don't need that.
It's completely ineffective now.
All right.
And they gave all that authority to the
Because
city
everybody
council.
saw the
The whole
will.
purpose of having
Yeah.
residents on the TERS board is so they have
This
some
is
say
nothing
over
more
how
than
it's
just another
managed.
marriage.
And that whole new
Yeah, it's a
management
relationship.
agreement got shoved down everybody's throat.
It's okay.
And
Did?
can't do anything about the management agreement, but we can certainly do something about letting the TERS board go back into existence and not have the city council running it, because the residents are supposed to be on that board. And the board's supposed to be able to do something. There may not be anything left to
The
do,
TERS 1 is still, we still are on that board. You and I are still
but
on that
it
board.
doesn't have any power. All the authority of that board was ceded to the city council in that contract.
We could argue to get the power back, but the board,
We just
nothing's
need
ever
to
gonna
rescind
come
the
to it because
contract.
it's finished.
Well, there may not be anything left to do. but
Right.
it's just-
I know it's a principle
principle.
issue and I get it because I'm not happy about it,
It
but I don't know that it's a
contract
fight we
should have
wanna
never
take up.
been done. So
So is there,
I don't know about that.
that's all I had. Everything else can wait.
well, what I'm asking is, you said you wanted to be on the next month's agenda or the next agenda. If I do, and we're coming to talk about it, are you going to bring us something that we could possibly even take action on? Do you wanna research that first and have me put it
I gotta go
on?
back and find the contract. It's my TERS binder, which is stacked in all my other office equipment that I've pulled out of Munson and
Okay,
stacked in
so
my
let me
dining
ask you
room. I
this.
have no idea where it is.
She has to post the agenda that we just went over yesterday, Monday morning.
Yeah.
can we think about putting it on the third Thursday of February?
Yeah, let's move it down somewhere.
And then if you, can I put that on you to let me know when you're ready?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
because I'll forget. I mean, I won't forget, but I won't know when to put it on. I won't know when you've had time to look at it, so I can put it on.
It's easy to forget, because there's 1,000 things.
There's a
going on.
gazillion things, so,
I'll make a note, and I'll put on there, see you.
That is true.
yes.
And then when we start coming back on the Thursday prior, I'll reach out to you and go, hey, this is on here, do you still want it?
Yes.
And then you can reach out to him,
There's
see if he
another
wants to
list
do it.
of things from that, I don't know when it was.
We were
It was-
saying
It was
50
early
million
spring,
dollars.
way before the
2,000
elections.
Okay,
When none of us were in office,
That's why
okay.
he shut down all
that we
this.
had put together, and I think I sent it to you, and I can't find it now.
What was
I
it
went
about?
back and- It was all the stuff that we had gone through at that, in those early meetings to go through and start doing, and I don't know that we've done most of it.
List of
so-
ordinances, things that we want to try to accomplish.
Yeah, so I wanna go back.
We
and
called it
find that.
Williams
It was
list.
before you oathed in though?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, way before.
Okay.
We haven't done anything
I'll
except
go
for now
look
we're
at your
finally
old email, I'll go
starting
through
to
my
do
emails. I only go back 6
ordinances.
months on my phone, but on my
Yeah.
computer, I go through the browser,
Well,
and I can
I
go
was
back to
trying
the
to
end of
find it,
time.
and I could not.
So we were talking about going
Okay.
through ordinances, cleaning it up, and we've been saying
Yeah.
that since we got in, but we've had to deal with a lot of other fires.
So many other things.
So hopefully now that's what we
Yeah,
can start
so
doing,
that's-
is going through the ordinance, because there's some that are duplicated and some that are out of
Like
date.
dumpster ordinances.
And that's what we're working on. We have a committee put together now that we've already started working on the permanent land use table, for instance.
Yeah.
Because
I'll talk to you about it, in the, I have a director's report at the next council meeting.
Because the ordinances, that's what's gonna help us, like you keep on saying, which I think you know more than I do, and maybe William, we know the growth is coming, we've been told that since we moved here.
Yeah.
We still, and correct me if I'm wrong, we still have control of how that growth goes.
What size
right?
sidewalks are we
A little
doing?
bit, a little bit. So like, what would you
That's
say
some of
right
this.
now?
Minus,
Looking-
minus the muds and
3,
pids
4.
and stuff. that
Well, we have
been out
some,
there.
we have over 4,000 acres that already has entitlements. Now, some of it's coming back, portion
Right.
of it, ownership's coming back.
Yeah.
To want to rework some things because of their infrastructure and whatnot.
And a lot of
So,
them are
yeah.
happening at the same time. It's not like we're going, let's go 5,000 homes.
No, I know
No,
that,
no,
yeah.
it's different developers going, here's where we're moving.
I get
And
that.
I'm
They're
like,
gonna be
oh,
coming
no.
to us just like that map
That's right.
back there, and I know that there's, ETJ and city limits, and right now, we can only control what's in the city
What's
limits, the
inside.
property. We can't
Right.
ask these people to annex into it, which would help our budget.
No, we ask them, we just can't make.
Yeah, we can
Right.
ask them and then talk about the ordinances to say, okay, like I was saying, and I wanna come down and just, talk to you about it and see what we can.
And speaking of that.
And one-on-one, y'all can do that.
Yeah.
One-on-one, just don't talk to each other about it, but one-on-one, you could go to Eric, because you're trying to plan for the city and make decisions, right? So any one of you can go to Eric and just your conversation, just don't come out of that conversation and start asking Alan and William what they
Yeah,
think. If
I
you
just
go-
wanna know, cause like the ordinances, if we start putting ordinances and correcting them up right now, then
Right,
we don't have to, I'd rather be reactive than proactive, or no, rather be
Proactive.
reactive than reactive.
Yeah.
You're coming to us saying, hey, here's a developer wants to do 2,000 rooftops,
yeah,
this and that, come take a look at it. Well, how are they even able to do that and buy that piece of property and already say that they want to put it there?
Yeah.
Well, if it's in the ETJ, okay, we don't got our say, but like I said, how
just
can
so
we
y'all
figure
know,
it
there's
out?
a lot of Gunner that already has old,
That's what I'm saying, there's already
EVs
entitlements
on
in
it?
4,000
Yes.
acres
and
that,
they won't change whether the
Yeah.
agreement expires, all of that is already existing in place.
Exactly.
Which is actually a good thing. Some of these in-city muds, we have some power.
Yes, I get
Because
it,
they're
especially
there.
from the last people,
Yeah.
that was
Gave the
doing
keys
things.
to
Right.
decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, is like, I wanna control the growth, that's why I did this, is I wanna control the growth to what the citizens want, not what the developers wanna do to
Yeah.
come in. Cause like someone's even said, I forget what it was, that's great, we got 2,000 homes coming in, perfect, that's tax revenue, ooh, we can do something with our fire department, do something with our police department.
Yeah.
We can't do anything with the departments until we get at least 500 people in there, and that's already then gonna overstress our fire and police and won't retain people. I'd rather do it slowly and, as we need it, towards like, okay, hey,
Right.
this year we got enough to hire another officer, great. We didn't add 1,000
We
homes
kind
to
of have to
stress
do
our
our
officers out.
projections based on what they're doing, because if somebody buys the
Mhm.
land, they can do what they want.
Yep.
We want them to come to us, right? So that
Yeah.
we can coordinate and go, here's what we'd like to partner with you, here's what we'd like to do, here's what you're gonna give, here's what we're gonna give, that's all that negotiation, and you work on development for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if they own the land, we better figure out how to work with them,
They can
because
do
they
something.
might do
Now,
what
if
they
they're-
want.
Annexed in, if they decide to annex
Yeah.
in, then that's a little bit different, right? Whoever buys that property from that owner.
Sorta.
Well, they're not gonna annex in unless you're already in negotiations with them to do a
Right.
developer agreement so
Right.
that they know what you're gonna support or not support
It's the-
before they buy it, before they
It's
do
doing the
it.
I'll give you an
concessions.
example that y'all probably won't like, but it is what it is.
We're recording.
A planned development, let's say from 20 years ago, it also had an agreement with it. The agreement's expired, but the development is already planned, and if the development says, and this is an example, don't panic, because this isn't real numbers, but it is a real situation, and you'll see that later, pretty soon actually. Let's just say that it says you can, the planned development says we're gonna do 50s, 60s, 70s lots, maybe even up to 90s. But we can put 6 on 1 acre. We can. Well, it's a dumb thing, because now it may say that they plan to do 50, 60, 70, 80s, and 90s, but if it says they can put 6 on 1 acre, you think you're gonna get some 90s?
Mm-mm.
No. So is it in our interest to
It's
maybe,
illusory.
it's in our interest to work with that
There's
developer
another
and go,
illusory.
and they're like, well, if I'm bound by that then, and you won't give me this, then I'm just gonna do that. See you later. I'm gonna give you a
It
whole
was too
bunch of
open,
50s.
it's like the
It's too
notorious
open
over the
because it
years,
wasn't good
mixed
to begin
use.
with.
Yes.
Yes.
What's
And
that
that's our shit
freaking
show to
mean?
deal with,
That's
right?
what we need to look at to keep that from happening here in the future. I
But
know
a
it's
lot
already
of
been.
land-
But we are, but now, like, what the mayor's alluding to is we have an opportunity to revisit some
We do.
entitlements already.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to negotiate and work, and we keep
It's tough.
pushing them, and they have responded and pushed up some of it to do it, but they can always revert back and go, the language in the PD ordinance told me dwelling units per acre,
Mm-hmm.
but it also said here, I mean, why would you say, here's all your different residential
Yeah.
development standards, but then you're only tied to the density?
And in the
That makes
past,
sense.
that was, let's say that's a
So-
20-year-old deal that the city didn't represent us well.
So when
We're stuck.
when you construe contracts, if there's a list of restrictions, and then later on, there's some clause that makes all of that invalid or pointless, there's a good argument that that second clause is struck.
Right.
But this isn't a
That's
contract
not
though,
one of
it's,
those
it's
things.
zoning,
It's
it's a
a
planned
contract.
development. Well,
It's still a contract.
but it doesn't say anything, the only thing that it has in there in that contract would be only, amendments to the attached site plan exhibit of less than 10% can be negotiated between city staff and the developer or whatever, anything excessive to that, but that still doesn't, but there's nothing saying that they have to do 90 to 80 foot
Right.
lots.
Well,
And a lot of it comes from the
document's
site-
badly drafted.
The concept,
Exactly.
like, here's what this is what we want to do and all the agreement, but the entitlement itself, they can still throw all that away as a concept plan. What they have to do, what they're bound by, is they have the authority to put 6 on an acre.
Yeah, but we're talking about something that already exists and we inherited.
Yeah, I'm talking about
We
the new
inherited
stuff.
it.
We inherited, but
There's a
they're
lot
coming
we
back to the
inherited.
well, and so they're wanting to buy a portion of that PD
Yeah.
and combine it with another one and relook at it together, so it opens up the door for us to push to make sure that they don't
Yeah.
do just
To
50
get a
foot lots.
win-win.
If I had my
Yeah.
brothers, we wouldn't have anything less than a half acre.
Well, I know.
And I'm getting you so many half acres and acres right there right now on a couple of
We
developments.
had the thoroughfare tour.
That big map in my
Okay.
office that has all little sticky notes, those
You know.
are a ton of in-city mutts.
What was it?
They all have zoning plans. Those people are gonna come to us eventually, and somebody's gonna wanna develop it.
So how did we end up with?
And we're
in-city
stuck with what it
lots?
is.
I don't know, I hate them.
One's actually a water district, not a mud. And I don't know when we're gonna have to deal with that mess, but it's coming. We don't have water anymore.
Okay, but I
So-
just wanna tell y'all, developers are outside the county looking at Grayson slobbering because it's wild, wild west. They don't care about us. They're gonna come in here and do what they want, and they're gonna leave a mess after they've sucked out all the profit they can get. And
Right.
just be prepared for that.
Well, that's what Eric and I deal with.
A little bit of influence in our APJ, and outside of it, we got nothing. And they are
Right.
coming, and they don't care.
That's exactly what is
They're
it,
creating
Sunset
muds.
Ridge or whatever.
Sunset,
I mean,
they're creating muds.
they're just in the middle of the county.
One between Fox and Block?
Yes.
Yes.
They're.
But they're gonna impact us because they're gonna think they're in the city because they say Gunner.
Well, they're gonna
Because
need
they're
to
in the
contract
city, they're right there in
services,
that little county tooth.
And we're gonna have a policy about how we deal with these, because if we are not required to provide services, and neither is the county.
too. But we do have to provide mutual aid, so it's in our best
Which is why
interest.
we've got to look really carefully at our ILAs with the county.
Exactly. And so we have to talk to them and try to work out something. We're not gonna get what we want. We're gonna have to give a little, but we can definitely get it better than what we would have been left with.
We have
Hopefully, we have to negotiate with
We have
them.
a petition for a mud right now that we have to take action on within, I think we have like a month left now. Or
We
60
still have
days.
time.
It's due the,
It's 90 days from
the March
whatever it
meeting.
was. Yeah.
It is, and I'm working on, another thing an administrator would be doing is working on, I talked to you a little bit about it, is contesting it based on certain things in that, just pulling together all the information so we can sit down and go, is this what we want to do? Yes, this is what we want to do. But somebody else is doing that legwork for me without pulling all that together. So that's just a perfect example. Every time a MUD comes in, when we get served with those petitions, their TCQs approving them now, it doesn't go to the legislature anymore. So we have to be active in either allowing it or contesting it. Nobody's ever contested them here. But the law says we can, that's what's in statute, we can contest them. I don't know why nobody was ever here trying to protect Gunner.
No, because they wanted tax revenue, and that's what I'm talking about, is if we change
Yeah.
the ordinances, would that help?
But they're in the
our line
ETJ,
of
they're in
fencing and some of this stuff?
Yeah.
they're not necessarily in city. Sometimes they're in
I
the
know.
ETJ and they're still coming petitioning
Yes,
for the
but if we have
Some of
some,
them are
if we have
exercise,
some
but-
landowners, and like I said, that furrow through, whatever, I can't.
Thoroughfare.
There you go, that one.
Thoroughfare,
You
yeah.
know, some of those property owners that come in and we say, would you like to annex in? And they say yes, well, if we have ordinances in places, then that'll help protect Gunner and be in the best interest for Gunner and potentially be a good interest for the homeowner or property owner then. You know, if we look at that border, like that one gentleman that was here and he said, hey, can we just have that road go this way instead of cutting through my property? You
Well,
know?
and we have, I think this is still on topic, planning was on the agenda,
Mhm,
right?
yeah, it
So,
is.
Yeah.
you know, we have someone that's used to be a county commissioner that's representing property owners now that have like 700 acres, and it kind of bisects the way the Grayson County Thoroughfare Master Plan did. And he's asking me, you know, they're not in they're in the ETJ, right? So I'm trying to look at any way that we could manipulate it to get them to annex in because well, we're going to do half-acre lots and 1 acre lots, and they're going to be $1 million homes and yada yada. But the Thoroughfare Master Plan kind of cuts through their property right now. Well, why did it do that? Well, I'm not going to take his word for it because I've met with TxDOT, I've met with the MPO. I understand sometimes why those lines were done where they were, and you didn't just take it on track lines. And I'm not going to shove it from them over to this person and it's kind of domino. I'm going to have to deal with everybody every
Yeah.
time. As long as you're still getting from point A to point B, I don't have a problem with the line shifting as long as it makes sense. Well, he just wanted to know whether we would support it. I said, yeah, because it still meets it, but I need to talk to, who's the MPU?
Clay.
Clay, and just make sure why that line was shown there, because on our on the old Thoroughfare Master Plan that was on our future land use plan for Gunner, it shows it where he wants it,
Yeah.
as opposed to being over. But I need to talk to them and find out why, and if it's going to negative affect anything.
I mean, I get
But
it.
he wanted to know if we support it, because he's going to go talk to those, because he knows a lot of those landowners. Are you guys okay if we moved it on your track line right here? Because then it wouldn't bisect this guy. Yeah, because I'm looking at the Thoroughfare Master Plan from a land use standpoint. Where does it make the hard corners? Does it give us more land use opportunity over here to do a mixed use development or better commercial if we did this? But if Clay goes, well, the reason we did that is because the radius is here and this and the topography there and whatever.
Yeah.
Because they do look at that, even though it's a very high level master plan, they are down looking at that kind of thing. Because some of the thoroughfares going to Tioga are done like that because you have those hard curves in 121 already that just don't work.
Yeah, they don't work, yeah.
But
Those are
But-
plans, and they don't investigate every single
they don't.
foot of an arterial. Those are an idea. Really, the endpoints are what's important, not the path.
Not the midpoints always,
Because they-
unless there's another arterial connecting
When push comes to
east-west.
shove, they gotta figure out where to actually put the asphalt. But
And how
there's
much
an
work it's gonna
MPO
take.
meeting next week, and
Wednesday morning today.
Carla's taking the small city seat this year, so
Yes, I think we're up the next year though.
we are.
So I think,
But we're still invited to attend even though we don't have a seat, but of
right.
course Carla can.
Which was my question,
Yeah.
who was gonna attend that?
Well, and that's what I had asked Clay a while back. Please, 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 we are engaged. We want to show up for things. We want to be involved. We want our say. We want our seat. And he does. He keeps me in touch, and he copies you. And I think he copies a couple of, well, Deidre too.
Same as
To
me,
make
Adam,
sure.
and you,
So
so.
it's 8 o'clock on Wednesday. I can't be there, but Eric offered if do y'all want him to go? Do you? I mean, I just feel bad because you're coming from
Yeah, it'd be
Calvert.
brutal.
8 o'clock in Sherman is really hard. I don't want to have to say thank you.
I
for
get dibs
offering.
for you on Wednesday, so
Let's see.
you're out on that one.
Wednesdays are.
It's
I
at
can't.
9 o'clock.
I mean, I literally have to take a
It's at
vacation
9
day.
o'clock, not at 8, I think.
And
it's
that,
at
if I
9.
did that, it'd be all the time.
No,
All
I
these
got
meetings.
dibs for you this
9 would be
Wednesday.
better, but I thought
You
said
do,
that
and
would
that's
be
one of the
better.
reasons I told him
Yeah.
I can't do it Wednesday because I have to be here at her function. So
But I'm attending on.
you're
Wednesday.
attending, right?
Yes.
So
Okay, so you can just do it for us
Yes.
then.
yeah, I mean, he's mayor pro tem, so I
But
think
I just want to back up just real quick on the Thoroughfare Master Plan. I'll utilize that if they want to get our support, and I bring that to y'all to adjust that line on our Thoroughfare Master Plan, and that gets them to annex in, then I'm going to do it. Especially when it's half acre, $1 million home lots. Even though I told him, I said, I can't get into that because I can't hold you down to that at this point anyway. But if it makes sense from a land use standpoint, and you can get these other property owners where we're shifting that line and they're okay with it, and they give you letters saying that they're, because it actually helps their property too.
Yeah.
Then I could get city council probably support it. So he's, bird dog and all
And that's
that.
where it comes
so-
back to the ordinances, to where if we can change things, then we can actually get it to where then it starts protecting as we start bringing people.
And we have a lot of good ordinances that do protect this. I mean, you still have to have your zoning classification. You still have to offer R1, R2, SFE. Now, the problem with SFE is you end up with the meadows and you have 22-foot wide concrete streets that suck.
Yeah.
So those types of
they
things
have to
we've
maintain
cleaned up.
through their HOA.
Yeah, which good luck with that. With
And that's
terrible.
fine. Like I was saying at the start, it was like, we don't need a quick trip and like 4 gas stations, 5 gas stations in here. So what if we just limit it to where, you get certain things that way you'll have 7-Eleven, Quick Trip.
And that's what we're bringing to y'all for the Permanent Land Use Table, is the
That's
first
what they're
place to
working on.
start on that.
And I think William's on that board,
Let's
right?
do that.
Or not board, but that,
Which board?
you're on land use with Eric?
And no, he wasn't there. It was
And-
Jerry.
and Jerry.
And,
I thought we assigned William that.
oh,
Oh,
he
you're on
I
land
didn't know
use.
about it if I got assigned to it.
Who did we on council assign to land use?
It was William and I were doing residential and land.
No,
stuff,
this was
but-
the
No, this is the
specific to
permanent
go
land use
over the
table.
schedule.
I don't know, maybe he
One
just
from
couldn't make that
council,
particular day or
Eric,
something.
Jerry from P and Z,
And then
Courtney. I thought it was you,
Janie.
William.
I didn't know about it. The only thing I knew about was residential planning.
Well, it was, we're gonna have another one this month, so
So if
I'll
we're gonna
invite
nip
you.
these things in the bud a little at a time, do we wanna bring up sidewalks and just
Okay,
get that
land
over with
use.
now?
We did this at our last meeting. We assigned one council, one
No,
P
no,
and
not
Z.
today. Isn't it?
It's
Council
Eric,
meeting.
Jerry, Courtney, William, Bethany's included in the group, and then Jeannie Anderson was also in the group.
All right. So when
I'll
do
give you the
meet
date.
on
We haven't set up
land
the
use?
next meeting yet.
Do you want me to raise the board, Karen?
Call Eric, call
Okay,
William,
right.
just don't send him an email when it is.
I'll definitely call him. I like calling and talking
Yeah,
to him,
just leave it
'cause
until we're done.
I record it, because he's gonna claim I didn't call him. Anyway, but wait, if you see stuff, if you have a running list of your ordinance
Yeah.
that you're talking about, because I look at it so much that I don't see that there's an error, because I have ways of,
Yeah. I haven't
Working it.
looked into all the ordinances yet. I just know that there's a ton of them, and I'm wondering if they're even
they're not that horrible. There are some
realistic
things that
now,
could be
or
worked.
if we've grown out of it, or if we need to actually add more ordinances, like what I was proposing is with the cell phone stuff. Things like
Cell
that.
towers, yeah.
What we need to,
I
to
mean-
then help to when developers come in here. Oh, well, they've got this ordinance. Okay, well,
Right. It's
I
not
can't
gonna
do
work
anything.
today.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Not
Define
deter
it all,
them, but-
define it all in the very beginning.
Yeah, kind of deter, but yet more guidelines. It's not the wild, wild west out here in Governor.
And it's not like that. Our ordinances are enough to where it's not the wild,
They're
wild
not-
west,
they're not
but it's a
terrible,
living,
but
breathing
there's some
document.
cleanup.
So you can't always be proactive. Sometimes you are reactive, because
Yeah.
you just can't cover all the bases.
And I think
But there's
land
lots of
use
times
is
we'll
good.
manipulate and go, this is how I interpret the ordinance, because this is how council wants it.
Yeah.
You might not be reading it that way, but guess what? You're not the keeper of the ordinance, I
I
am.
love mixed use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mixed use means that we
Mixed
can
use is
actually-
kind of like temporary. What is temporary?
Well, that's so that we can put a church and a Hooters right next door to
So-
each other.
So William,
That's
because
obese,
it's so
man.
crazy with your new role, and I know they're just piling everything on you, are you good with staying on this land use thing with Eric?
Yeah, as long as I know I'm on it, now I know.
Okay, going over the.
You probably
town.
didn't hear that
I'm just saying, if
during the
it's too much,
discussions.
I
I
get
can't,
it.
I,
No, I'm just saying, if it's too much, they're
hey,
piling
he's
on him in
at,
the county.
he's asking me to come up to county and I've offered myself up several times.
I know.
And he never
I
gets
know.
back with me,
I
so.
want him to feel comfortable when I'm crushing him with it.
Okay.
I mean, that's
I'm
not
here.
fair. I know the
I'll
feeling.
go up there. I'd love to work with them on some stuff.
Right. So, okay. But they send those invites through email.
That's,
All those are ready for a nap, say aye.
I have the receipts that he was invited. It's okay. He'll be at the next one. That's
Do you want
fine.
Eric to call you when they have a meeting?
Yeah, that'd be great.
More.
Eric?
It's on that blue
Just get a homing pigeon
sticky.
from
She's got tape.
I'll just stop by his house.
He's contacting the meeting, so
No, this one is gonna go
you're
on the
gonna have to
blue.
let him know.
I got it all taped off.
I have 5 emails.
And mine was probably one of them. It was a meeting invited.
Was it
Yeah,
all
see,
land use?
my emails are only, I can't even get it in my laptop, so my
Oh,
emails are on my
For some
iPad.
reason, all of your emails are going to junk.
Guys,
'Cause you told it to
if
me,
you
John.
have a problem with email, please call IT.
Yeah, apparently.
I suffered for a little bit, but like, it'll take you 15 minutes, he'll get it fixed for you.
I'm hungry.
Get in.
Well, I just,
Nobody cares.
I don't know why, I don't use the laptop, but I
Well,
also,
put it
so I
on your
don't.
other one. You can do that.
Well, I have, no, I have email on my iPad and everything, and I'm looking at, I just don't go and use the
We forgot to do a pledge of allegiance
It's
to
gay
Donald
balls,
Trump.
which means
I
I
know,
don't get
they're
to
not.
look into
They're
old
not great.
emails and all that.
Okay, so on that
But
case,
that's-
To be
you
careful
can
with
go to
that.
Outlook,
Hang on. I
go
can't
to
pick
the
it up.
browser and go into
This
Outlook.
one's
It'll go
broke.
back
Can we
to
just slide it?
I can do that. Tim Slattery can do
See, I only have
Thank you.
We'll see who was
For that
actually
reason.
flying.
and deleted stuff.
and I can't find anything.
Okay, so
Yeah, we were one person
are
short.
we done?
I think so.
Are we ready to adjourn? mean,
Oh, I think we already
deny
did.
them.
You
No, I haven't
guys just
officially
kept
adjourned.
talking. Cindy
Well,
and
we
I
were
have
still-
adjourned a long time
We were
ago.
still with
Planning
budget, staffing, and planning discussions. We're within what we can talk about, but are we done?
Yes.
Good? All right, we're adjourning at 1:45. All right, now you can turn.